Press start.
We got to start right away. There's a lot to get through. Episode 150. Guys, we made it. 150. That's the
We're
goal.
halfway there.
Halfway there.
Yep.
Halfway there.
Halfway home.
Sparta.
What?
Halfway to
Halfway
Sparta.
there to what?
And to honor episode 150, it is we're wrapping up some of our favorite conversations on our podcast, and that is to debate our favorites from the year. There's actually 3 categories that we're doing this week that are just personal picks, so we're going to keep it mostly positive this episode. And then
keeping it
I think you got a
P.
pretty good idea of what our favorite games are already this year, but we'll still do the official overall game list. I don't think it's going to
very
surprise
secretive of what my favorite game is.
Yeah, Derek, what's your fave?
Secret.
The giant
Stray?
lion behind
Stray?
you.
I don't recognize the lions.
That's
Narnia?
from it's Monster Hunter.
Narnia,
It's Monster
obviously.
Hunter.
Oh,
Narnia.
okay.
Narnia.
It's that's Aslan. Yeah.
I'm inside of a closet.
That's the Jesus lion, yeah.
But then if we have time at the end, we'll see how quickly this goes. But if we have time at the end, there's some shows and games and stuff that we've been playing that we might at least just kind of wrap up with that. And then we'll hop into new stuff next week, new headlines and games and shows and movies and all the good stuff. But this is one last look back at 2022 before we move ahead. So bear with us. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it too. You who are listening.
Yeah, so next week is new jokes, new year.
New jokes, new year, that's right.
This last
Nope.
episode, we can do all the old jokes we want.
Oh,
That's
those are
what
back
she
on the
said.
table?
Yeah. This is the
Hold on
last
there,
one.
no, man.
All right.
Oh.
I'll give you this
Have you
one last
seen
episode.
Avatar? She said that's what she said.
She said, "Have you seen it? Have you seen the Avatar?" She wanted that blue
Wait,
guy
does
all
that
up
mean
inside of her.
Derek
That's what she
can't
said.
communicate in all caps anymore?
Yeah.
I don't know.
New me. New year, new me.
Everything's all lower caps now, like he's emo.
Exactly.
now he's
Smaller
in-
font, like small.
now he types like he's in Gen Z, basically.
I'm just really excited to talk about Dragon Age Fallen Order. That's what
Yeah,
I'm
just
excited
a
for.
lot of Dragon Age, a lot of Dragon.
Like, I'm not saying I'm as talented as that guy at all, but like as I was watching that comedian, I was like, that is literally exactly every joke I would write.
Yeah, say
Everything
for the
he
listeners,
said, I was
what's
like-
his name for listeners? From the channel? He was funny.
Jeffrey something.
Armis or something like that.
Jeffrey Teague.
Armis.
Is it Jeffrey Teague?
He should change his last name. If he wants to be Alpha, he needs
Yeah.
to change his last name.
Okay.
I did like how many times he said, "If you don't get that, you're not alpha," or like you're only the beta virgins won't laugh at that one. I was like, dude. But it was funny. Like he was clearly he found a line that worked and it was working. So anyway.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, let's jump right into some of our favorites from 2022. We'll start off with our favorite remaster or re-release. Could be a compilation of games, like whatever it is that jumped out at you this year. Anything old you went back to, specifically if it re-released this year is what we're looking at. But it's fine if you went back and played an old game that wasn't recently remastered. Whatever.
I
The
just
rules
want
aren't
to say
that.
this real quick.
Yeah.
His last name is very alpha. It's Asmus. Jeffrey Asmus. Very alpha. Very alpha.
Mary Asmus. All right.
Mary Asmus.
Shouldn't we
You never
call
go
this?
ask to miss. You know?
I think that's what the expression is. Yeah. Shouldn't we call this category best waste of resources?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Best
Yeah,
resource waste.
1000%,
Thank you, Jeff.
yeah.
Because it's
I'm
the
gonna-
same team. They only have one
Last
team.
time you could
All
make
these
that
big
joke too,
corporations
FYI.
only yeah.
Yeah. You can't look back if you're looking
It's the
forward,
last time.
fellas. Right? Can't do it.
They only have one team. That they don't have multiple teams working on different things. They only have
Yeah.
one team.
Exactly.
Resources. All right. So I'll give you my top 3 that jumped out to me for this year. I did play several different old games, but the only 3 that I think technically re-released this year that I wanted to count for my list was God of War, the 2018 version on PC, dropped at the beginning of 2022. So almost exactly a year ago, it hit Steam, and revisiting that on PC and a little bit on Steam Deck has been really cool. That's just.
Can't imagine what that game looks like on Steam Deck. Something I still want to check out.
I mean, you have to do a little tweaking to the settings to make sure the battery doesn't die in like 40 minutes. But once you do that, you can get a good balance of visuals and performance and battery life. I got it to last just under 2 hours with one playthrough, which isn't bad for one sitting with a game that high powered. So, that's just such a good game. Such a good game. So that's number 3. Number 2 for me was Chrono Cross, the Radical Dreamers Edition. Think someone else on this call might talk about that one. So I won't say too much about it other than to say what a really fun, nostalgic blast from the past and a great reminder of how good that music is in that game. I had kind of forgotten excellent that music was. And then by far, favorite was Spider-Man Remastered on PC. I played it start to finish, like did every single thing I could do in that game. And I'm going to do the same with Miles Morales, actually, probably this month. I think this is my Spider-Man month. So yeah, there you go. Those are my favorites. Anybody else? What are some of your favorite remasters re-releases this year?
I'll go with God of War on PC as well. I finished it. I think it was my 4th playthrough, but first on PC. And then Fire Emblem. Final Fantasy. What is it called?
12?
Crisis Core?
Crisis Core. I am enjoying 12 more, but
Okay.
Final Fantasy, Crisis Core, and then my favorite is definitely The Last of Us Part 1.
Nice.
I enjoyed it on PS5.
Yep.
I know, wasted resources, too much money, but
It's fine.
I enjoyed it.
Corporate shill Derek Teague has spoken.
I
Dan,
have
what
no
about
problems.
What
Yeah,
about
the game
Data
looks
Mail?
so realistic and so good, and I just hate it. Ugh,
I know,
right,
too.
guys? Why would they make
the
that
timing
game look
makes
better?
no sense with a TV show dropping a few months later. Dan, what was your favorite remasters re-releases?
I wish I have grabbed Last of Us because I haven't grabbed it yet. But I mean, that's like one of my favorite games of all time, so I know I'll enjoy that.
It's a no-brainer that you will get it and play it again at some point.
Yes.
Yeah, you just wait for it to come down to a decent price.
Yeah.
I like throwing away my money, obviously, on games that they are wasting resources on or whatever. But yeah, Crisis Core Reunion, on mainly for the visual upgrade is like crazy. Like it to me, visually, it's more of a remake, like of like that kind of jump in quality.
I'd say so. Yeah.
And then gameplay wise, like more like remaster, but still like really
The
like
music got like updates, right? Didn't it?
yeah. The music is updated as well. It's just got a huge overhaul.
Basically
then,
a hybrid of a remake remaster.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm playing that still at the moment. Live Alive I put down also just because the visual aesthetic. I really enjoy Live Alive.
And we never really got that here in the States, so that's worth celebrating. Yeah.
Exactly. And yeah, I love that the visual compared to what is it, Octopath Traveler, like that 2D HD sort of thing it's got going on. I do want to go back to that because I did play just like that one story. But yeah, I just really enjoyed the visuals of that. And then Chrono Cross. I mean, I hadn't played that game in so many years, and I'm really glad that got a chance to sort of come back out because I feel like a lot of people didn't necessarily try that one, or maybe it's just it had been so long since they played it.
I thought I saw kind of like a switch in like temperature of it too, because I remember people being like, "Oh, Chrono Cross isn't as good as Chrono Trigger," so there was a lot of baggage there. But now people kind of got to play it without all that baggage, and I think people ended up really liking it.
It's an excellent game. It's very It's just exactly. It's that. Oh, it's not Trigger. It's like, well, no, it's not.
Nothing is on Earth.
Yeah,
I mean, seriously, like everyone's tried and no one's ever recaptured that.
To its credit, it's not trying to be, and I like that. I like that.
Yeah, I think people built that narrative for themselves rather than the game doing it for them. So yeah, I agree with that.
I think it's a really fun game. I love the mechanics of recruiting members in that. Very Suikoden. And the music is phenomenal.
Totally missable characters that are awesome that you have to follow. You probably have to look up a guide, which is to me brings back really nostalgic feelings of going on the game facts and trying to find like the steps to follow to get. So I dig that stuff big time. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's pretty much what I had down.
Kyle, what are some of your faves that were re-released or remastered this year?
I had 3 as well. FF Crisis Core, really cool. I guess I was playing that game at a time where I was bound to forget everything because as I'm replaying it, I'm like, "Ooh, yeah, I don't remember any of this." Like, oh man, like Angeal and Genesis fighting like Sephiroth like cutscene like towards the beginning of the game.
That I did remember, but it's amazing.
How did I forget that? That's not something you forget. It's super awesome. Really enjoying that game. Really enjoying the updates to the music and stuff like that as well. I kind of went the same kind of route that Derek and Tim went with, kind of like a re-release on a new generation of consoles. So Cyberpunk 2077, I played 1.5 times last year. Really just enjoyed replaying that game on PS5. Competent hardware makes that game just very good. And then to be able to go back and play GTA 5 for the upteenth time, I didn't need to do it. It didn't have to happen. Maybe the graphics don't even look good enough to be like, yeah, this makes sense to re-release again. But you know what? Really enjoyed getting back into that game. Really enjoyed like driving around cars and listening to those tunes again. Really enjoyed jumping online for a little bit, So Just a lot of feel good replay games this year. So those are
coming up on the 10th anniversary of GTA 5, I think, this fall.
God, 10 years.
I think it was
that game
September
releasing every year.
2013. Does that sound right?
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
Shout out to The Witcher 3 too. I mean, I didn't. Do
that snuck in.
Play through. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually might put that on
is...
instead of GTA 5, to be honest, because there is some major updates in that game that are very obvious.
That definitely feels like remaster material.
Even the new camera angle that they added in.
Good use of resources.
Really amazing. No, it's a bad use. These are all bad use of resources.
Okay, all right, my bad.
Free. They should charge us money.
Come on,
my bad.
It's the name of the cat.
You know what?
And that's the thing. I would have paid money for Witcher 3's update. It's so good. I would have paid.
You know what I love?
Like you do for
is the ball busting. Is the ball busting of like Skyrim, for example, but then like GTA is re-released how many times?
Resident Evil 4 is actually
Resident Evil 4
has been really re-released the most. Skyrim's like not even top 2. I think GTA
just think it's
5,
funny.
Man.
Just think it's funny.
I
do see people
officially renamed this
GTA
best waste of resources, by the way. It's officially renamed in the show notes, which means it's official.
I'm going to tell you Persona 5 is probably going to start reaching Skyrim numbers very soon as well. With their re-release every 5
when it comes out on mobile next year, it's going to be up there for sure.
Never saw that coming. Never saw that.
For sure. All right. Sticking with some of our favorite personal picks.
Yeah, Jeff, you don't get the pick.
All right, go ahead, Jeff.
So I only put an hour into Crisis Core. I really liked it. I'm glad it got a remaster, of re-release, whatever you want to call it, of sorts. So people like me, noobs, can experience it. Mm-hmm. God of War PC and Spider-Man Remastered and Miles Morales PC, just godsends. It's amazing. It looks incredible on in 4K. And two that weren't mentioned, I don't think. I don't know if you guys remember this. Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection came out PS5 last year, and that feels like forever ago. But that was incredible.
It was on my list until someone said Crisis Core. So.
Oh yeah.
Also, another game that wow, I can actually see where the resources went. Even though they're wasted, I can see.
They're still wasted.
That game looks very good compared to its PS4 version.
It's insane how good it looks now.
Looks good on PC too, because I bought it on PC.
See, that I haven't tried yet because I just did the playthrough of both of them earlier in the year. So I was like, I don't want to do it again.
I started on PS5, and then I know Sony's doing this intentionally. Like they're never going to launch these their PC ports day one. They're always going to wait because they want you to buy it on the PS5, and then for people like me, and I'll admit I'm an idiot, I rebuy it. So they get double. They get a dip for me.
Yeah, they know what they're doing.
But you get that. You're buying it again, but you're buying it in a looking better fashion and a playing better fashion. So it's like, I don't know. It doesn't feel like a waste of money.
And also, they're not charging Last of Us Part 1 prices for it. So it's not...
Yeah, Uncharted was just a $10 upgrade. I did not care. I was like, I'll pay $10.
See, I'm happy to do that in any game.
And then I bought it. I paid $40 for it on PC, and it looks great and runs great on PC, of course. Sure.
The only other one I had was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Cowabunga collection. It was just a hell of a library of games all in one package.
Damn, I forgot about that one.
So, man, it's just incredible how you can just swap from game to game, like Game Boy games on there that still look exactly like they did when I played on my Game Boy. It's a really cool emulator, man. It's good for I don't even know if it's a full price game. It could be 60 or 50, but
I think it's only 40.
I thought it was cheaper.
I thought it was 40 or 50.
Yeah, the fact that it's like, okay, if it is 40, that's a steal. Like, seriously, there's like 10 games in there, and they're full games. So, I mean,
and this is not a criticism. My favorite part about that game is going back and playing like the Nintendo games and going like, oh yeah, these games were incredibly hard.
Yeah, they were.
Yes.
They're near impossible. That's right.
And also the presentation is phenomenal. Like you could go into, like, I usually don't go into like the extras of games just because I'm like, you know what, I'm playing the game, I beat it, I'm done.
They do have a lot of those.
Yeah. But like it literally has like, it's like the way that it's presented too is like you're opening like the old manuals, or like it has the cover art, like in the actual box of what the games look like, and you can take out the manual and look at the art and like what it was written inside of it and all that. Like it's really cool.
So cool.
It's a $40 collection.
40, yeah.
40.
Okay. Honestly, really to me, that even full price, that's a steal. It doesn't like. There's so much stuff in that.
And I think it was on sale for like $20.
Yeah, Steam I think had it on sale this past.
It's worth it. I got it on Switch because it feels like a no-brainer because I played those games on Nintendo consoles before as a kid, so it just felt like, okay, I gotta keep it on Nintendo, you know.
Nintendo
Yeah, I
One
almost
was, yeah.
put. There's a couple games I had on here that I realized those were released at the end of last year. The Castlevania Advance Collection, which I still recommend. It's a pretty good collection.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about
And
that.
then ActRaiser Renaissance, which some people I realize don't like the art style. I totally understand it. It does kind of have a weird mobile game look to it, but it looks really sharp. I don't know. Some people don't like the art style. I totally understand that, but I still think it's a really great version.
Totally forgot about ActRaiser.
Yeah, but those were both the end of last
the art
year.
style looks like Contra, like old Contra, to me.
The old ActRaiser does, but like the Renaissance one looks different. But anyway. Alrighty. Best exploration or open world. You can the reason we didn't do this as a shared list is because this is very nebulous. So you define however you want, whatever you like about exploring in a game, whether it's the world itself, the feeling of exploring, whatever it is you want to describe as your favorite feelings of exploration this year in games. So if you don't have that list ready, or if you do, I guess maybe hop on first. If not, I will share mine.
I have mine.
All right, Derek, what are your favorite moments of exploration?
I just did the top 4 are Horizon Forbidden West. I thought the original game was a good open world as well. It just wasn't as fun to explore. This one felt like an open world game. Tons of things to do. Lots of reasons to do it, like with actual good side quests and reasons to hunt and to level up your character and things of that nature. Another one, while I did play it more linear, I still explored outside it. And again, I've talked about how much I love the worlds or universe of this game, and that's Xenoblade Chronicles 3. And then my top 2 are pretty easy. God of War Ragnarok. I think they really nailed the semi, like, hey, we're a linear game, but we're really not. And a lot of games lose their identity when they try to do that. Like, for instance, I love Gears of War 5, but the open areas aren't done very well, that you kind of like, well, I wish you kind of didn't do that, especially if you go back and play the game and try to replay it. Same thing even with The Last of Us Part 2. I'm not saying I didn't like the open areas, but they were like certain areas, and it was just like, when you go back and replay it, I'm like, I don't really want to do this. I want to kind of stick to the linear portion of it. God of War, I felt like they did a really good job because they were like, hey, we're going to open it up, but it's completely optional. You don't have to do this. You can just stay on the beaten path. You don't have to explore all this. So I thought they didn't lose their identity while still giving you options. And then, of course, Elden Ring. It's the best open world exploration game in all of video games, in my opinion. I don't think anybody's done it better. I would say Breath of the Wild is semi close, but I care more about Elden Ring than I do Breath of the Wild.
Witcher 3? Is it up there? Is it surpass Witcher 3 for you? Because I know you love that game too.
Yes.
Just in terms of exploring, like just
exploration. No game has ever captivated me more to go, I kind of just want to see what that is. I don't normally play games like that. That's why when people are like, I love Skyrim, I'm like, what? Skyrim has shitty combat. It's dumb, but I was kind of missing the point. Yeah. They didn't love it because they were like, I played the story from A to Z. Like, they were just like, I never beat the game. I just played for a gazillion hours. So I kind of get that mindset, why they would love it, and that's what Elden Ring was. Yes, I did beat it twice, but I wasn't always playing it just to beat it. I was playing it just to explore and then eventually beat it. So to me, it does it best.
Dan, what were some of your favorite exploration open world experiences this year?
Definitely the ones that Derek mentioned, Horizon, Ragamuffin, aka God of War Ragnarok. Elden Ring, the exploration of Elden Ring reminded me of like old JRPGs of like say in Final Fantasy VII, finding a certain summon that you have to do this whole quest line with. Like you have to go.
I follow you there. Yeah.
That quest line and get the golden chocobo, and then you get to this. Like that's what that game reminded me of, but like modern day and in like an actual like full 3D open world. Like that's what those vibes gave me, and it's definitely excellent. I really loved Pokemon Violet. Exploration.
Nice.
To me, like, and I know there are a lot of the fans are like, oh man, I wish this was like the old games. I'm like, I'm sorry, but like this is what I've always wanted with the Pokemon game. Like, I just want to go into the world and I want to see the Pokemon and be like, holy shit, like it's that, like, what is that thing over there? Like, I haven't seen that, like, that sensation.
Well, things are where they're supposed to be. It's like snow Pokemon are in snowy areas, and like we're just like old games used to do that too. But to be able to see them and they're like habitats walking around and stuff like that, I don't know. It really sold the world.
Like, also the surprise of, like, say, because like shiny Pokemon's a thing, right? So before you'd have to just run in the grass, and it was random, and like you would have to run around like 30 times and hope that one. In this game, like, you could see it off in the distance, like, oh shit, I know what that normally looks like. That looks different to me. That's wild. I'm going over there. Like,
That's cool.
it's just really fun. I super enjoyed it.
Had it looked and performed better, it could have been like Game of the Year contender. Sounds like.
Yeah.
Way
Could
you
have been
guys
for some
describe
people.
it. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah.
And then obviously our
Could have been.
probably will be Game of the Year is Stray.
Yeah.
No, but
exploring in that game was really good,
Yeah.
like interesting.
But the world is the most interesting thing to me. Is the world, like,
Yeah.
what's going on in it, what the deal is, and being
The
a cat.
world is a vampire.
It's a vampire cat, is what it is.
It's a kitty
But
cat.
yeah, it's just, I think it's unique, and then you're jumping around as a cat and you're doing cat things, and it's a really interesting world to look at, and I think it's fun to explore. So
I still want to play that game. I just, for some reason, I'm like, I won't pay for it. I have to figure out how to get it either extremely cheap or
You don't have
wait
PS
for it
Plus,
to be free.
whatever.
Not the
mean,
upgraded version.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
you're not
Jeff,
a pony.
Jeff, what about you?
I mean, other than Horizon and God of War Ragnarok, which, I mean, yeah, I totally agree on those for sure. I actually put Tinykin on here. For some reason, I felt like exploring every nook and cranny of that game, because there are collectibles in some regions and stuff, and I don't even remember if there's like a reward system where you can get a new cosmetic or whatever. But I felt the need to explore every nook and cranny because it was fun. And then Sifu had a really unique exploration system where you could find a key somewhere, and then when you replay that level, you can take a shortcut next time or whatever. So like they gave you a reason to explore because it would give you a different run basically each time you replayed a level. And then
Also, Tinykin, you can surf on soap. We got to make sure.
Yeah, you can surf on soap. Yeah, exactly.
All right, well, that's, yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah.
The one that's in the bathroom, that was like one of the coolest exploration levels like of the year for me. Like it was just so cool. Because it's like 16 levels or whatever. Like it just goes way high up, and then like there's several stuff down on the floor that's really cool. Anyway,
and for a little game, it does reward you for exploring. We talk about these big, giant AAA games that reward you, and like this little game that has no business being as good as it is. And I still haven't finished. I played like an hour and a half or so of it. I probably could finish it with another sitting or two. But yeah, it really rewards you for exploring, right? I mean, everything there's like little things to collect everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and then the other one I had, which is kind of not what you think of for exploration, but Neon White. I mean, it's a different kind of exploration because it's, you know, it's obviously it's timed. You want to finish a level fast as you can, but there are different shortcuts one could take. Like even the developer, when they watch a speed run of it, and I watched it because it's like 38 minutes. It's not that long. The developer doing commentary were like, "Oh, I never thought to do it that way." Like they're even surprised at different ways players are exploring the level to get it beaten faster, or I don't know, just so you can find different cards in a certain area or whatever. Like I when I think of exploring with Neon White, it's more to do with the first time you play the level, and you're like, oh, this is where it wants me to go and stuff like that. So there's something gratifying about the exploration in that game.
I agree. That's a good pick. Kyle, what about you?
Kind of a lot of the same ones that people have already said. God of War, Xenoblade. The top two I do want to say a couple things about before we move on. My number 2 was Horizon. Something about like you're going west. Mm-hmm. So it's like something about like the journey of that game, even though you're exploring, that makes sense because you're always making some sort of progress to the area, your destination that you're trying to go to. Whereas like, you know, The Witcher 3, love to explore that world or whatever. Really just kind of throw you up into that world and you're just supposed to go take care of whatever, and you're like finding missing pots for people while like, you know, the wild hunt's like taking over the world. So it's like they're you know, sometimes the exploration doesn't make sense of the story, and in Horizon it kind of always made sense because you're always moving forward to the west. So I just really enjoyed kind of how you know, your exploration, your journey was baked into the story itself. My number 1 is Elden Ring. I don't know if there's been any game ever that I've ever played where when I found something alone, I was like, boy, I can't wait till the boys get on the night because I'm going to show them this when they get on. And then just to like guide them there and run them there, and it being kind of like this journey just to get there, and then us finally getting to this mine or this mountain or this thing that had kind of like cool stuff in it or around it or near it or a mini boss or something like that, really turned the game into a show and tell every time you got with your buddies online, at least with my group, where it's just like, hey, did y'all find anything cool? And it's like, yeah, man, I found this mini boss over on this area. And I'm like, well, I don't go to this area very often. So it became this really interesting communal exploration experience that I don't think I've ever had with any game ever. So
Nice.
definitely my number one for this year.
Sweet. Yeah, you guys mentioned pretty much all of them. I'll throw out there, because I don't really have them ranked. I just kind of listed, like, here are some of my faves. But a couple that weren't mentioned, Gotham Knights. I think Gotham Knights has a really great, but not, like, it's not an overly sized open world that overwhelms you. I know that people whine about not getting not fast travel, even fast travel too, but
That's unlockable though, so
the gliding abilities of each character, like the ability to travel farther. But it's actually not that hard to unlock those. So
yeah, it's really not.
There's nothing wrong with just jumping on your bike and riding it. Like,
I really liked riding the bike.
And the zip line worked really well too. Like the zip line with the jump feature actually worked to get around, and then you can.
And I love the song every time you jump on your bike.
Yes.
I think I said it reminds me of Deus Ex: Mankind Divided. So every time I would jump on my bike, and it would kick in with that boom, 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 like techno, like, I don't know, cyberpunkish.
We'll definitely be talking about that score, hopefully. In a minute.
Score's good. Another one I wanted to shout out is V Rising. It is a pretty difficult game, but it's very well worth exploring. There's lots of new areas to unlock, and they're still working on that game. That game's similar to Valheim. It is an early access, although a chunky slice of that game is available and ready to play if you buy it now, and they're just still adding on to it. So it's similar to Valheim in that. But super fun to explore. I think I've talked about that one before. But the other three that I had on my short list were God of War, Horizon, and Elden Ring. All just super fun, super satisfying exploring experiences with beautifully designed worlds and characters I cared about and lore that I just wanted to find out about more. That's for all three of those games. I really, like, all three of them give me very similar feelings of what's around this corner. And they did it in different ways, right? Horizon and Elden Ring was more of a sprawling map with tons to go find. Horizon guided you there. Elden Ring didn't. And then God of War was kind of that, like you guys have already mentioned, that linear yet still feeling open and massive. It did a really good job of somehow feeling like a huge open game without truly giving you the reins to go anywhere you wanted. And I think they just did a really good job of that too. So yeah, there you go. Some fun exploring to be had this year in gaming.
And if you don't agree with our opinions, you're a cuck.
And you're beta. You're beta too.
You're a beta cuck.
Beta cuck. Wow.
Hold on. Can we absolutely
form of
leave
humanity.
all of that in 2022? I'll stop that's what she said. If we stop this beta alpha nonsense.
No, you don't get to shut me down, bitch.
Okay. We'll see. We'll see.
This is who I am.
Okay. Well, it's terrible.
Derek is convinced that was an alpha response, but
jury's out. Jury's out.
Jury's still out on that one. Jury's still out. All right. Well, I will share my screen. We're going to talk about our favorite music. And yes, this can include soundtrack. If you're like, hey, I just love the soundtrack they had. So a good example, of course, the most prominent one is going to be something like Metal Hellsinger, where it's got a great soundtrack and then some songs specifically tailored for that game. And then also score and so like any use of music in the game. And you can make a case for it with how it's used or just how it sounds or the feelings. Any way you want to make the case for it is totally fair. And I do have Spotify open. I could pull up YouTube as well if we needed to listen to some samples of some. We won't do that at the jump, though. We're going to wait to listen to samples till we narrow it down some, just for the sake of time. Otherwise, I could sit here and listen to like 20-second clips of like every song if you wanted me to, but we don't have time for that tonight.
Top 10 then?
Maybe
for like the
maybe
top
once
10
we get to like once we're trying to order the top 10, maybe we're like, you know what? Before I try to make my case, let me just play a clip of this song.
Yeah. Sometimes the song needs to speak for itself more than our, mouths.
So we'll wait till we get it narrowed down to that less than 20 for sure, and then we can start calling out for a sample of it. So, Kyle, I am getting a lot of glitchiness on your video and audio, and I only say that because I want you to be able to hear, and we want to hear you too. I don't know if it's just
reset real quick.
I think the Matrix is trying to absorb Kyle.
All right, we'll just do our consideration column. And so that way, when Kyle comes back on, we'll still be doing that. All right. And now, by the way, that'll probably be me. We're moving next week. And so I'll probably have the same issues when I get that internet transition happening. You know, it's always super smooth when they do that.
Transitioning.
Yeah,
you know?
every single time, right? Yeah.
Every time they do it.
I definitely didn't have my internet go down 30 days after, like it was completely dead, and they were like, "Oh, you don't have internet with us," and I was like, "Bull crap!" Like, yeah, it was a whole thing.
Like, this bill would say otherwise.
Yeah, exactly. Who am I paying then? Yeah.
Who am I giving $100+?
All right, let me pull Spotify open over here for when we need that. Okay, so this is the first phase of this. By the way, if you're just joining us, if for some reason you haven't heard the first two parts, the idea here is we have a list of all the games that released this year, new game releases from 2022. Actually, that's technically last year. And then we are going to just go through and we're going to move things over to a consideration column. Basically, one of us on the show is saying, I want to have this one considered for the top 10, or at least say something about it. And then we'll narrow it down to 10 and then rank those together as best we can. This never ends up being our personal top 10 list. It's more of our shared list based on all of our opinions together. That's the whole point. So, all right, let's just get it kicked off here. I'm going to move Plague Tale over to the consideration column.
Easy. Easy.
I won't like call out your names. You guys just shout out the ones you want me to bring over here.
Oh, God of War for sure. And,
if it can be ones that I'm looking at, that'd be
Knight.
better. There we go.
Is Elden Ring score good?
Yes.
I'm relying on y'all for that. So okay.
It is
I really
amazing.
Sonic Frontiers, please. Sonic Frontiers.
Sonic. Okay.
Sonic.
Got a lot of games on here I've never heard of and will never play. Okay. Ninja Turtles. I'll move that one over. Shredder's Revenge.
Good call.
How is the Callisto Protocol music?
I don't remember it, to be honest with you.
Okay. Not notable for our.
Excellent.
Okay, but not the Callisto Protocol is not notable for our purposes.
I mean, it's just kind of like fits for what a horror game is. Yeah, it's just
So just ambient noises, like like kind of like what they make fun of in Forgetting Sarah Marshall, where he's like, "Oh, you want dark and ominous." Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty
much,
Dan, what about Anno Mutationum? However you say this game.
Yeah, definitely great cyberpunk vibes.
I like the main theme, which I've been listening to on my little playlist.
Yeah.
I would throw in Arcade Paradise personally.
Paradise. Okay.
It has many genres going on at the same time. It's really kind of amazing.
Bringing over Beacon Pines.
Beacon Pines is a great score.
I still don't know if I'll play that game because the genre is not something I'm currently really wanting to play, like a very text-heavy narrative game.
You have to be
and the anthropomorphic thing has just never been my favorite. It really needs to be a game style I'm super into at the moment. But I'll tell you, the soundtrack alone is enough that I'm like, I like this game. This game is great, even though I've never played it.
Yeah.
The music's awesome.
Card Shark for sure. It's one of the best like orchestral like scores. Period.
Okay.
Crisis Core.
Crisis Core.
Because obviously there's different iterations of some classics in there that are. Yeah.
I don't think Cult of Lamb will make top 10, you guys, but it's got a really cool like steel drum themed score. We might play a sample of it if it happens to get pushed over, but it's a really interesting score, if nothing else. Okay, what else we got? Call them out as you see them. How's the Ghostwire Tokyo soundtrack? Notable enough to bring?
I mean, I don't remember it.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing.
Okay.
Horizon for sure.
Horizon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kirby.
I don't remember the score.
It's good. It's good music, but it's not like memorable.
They definitely went the orchestral route.
Okay.
They did. I would go Lego Star Wars for sure because it sounds like something John Williams did, but he didn't. It's kind of crazy how good it is, actually.
Oh. How about that?
It's kind of dumb, actually, how good it is. It's like you guys didn't need to spend so much money on this.
Yeah, they don't need Williams.
Mario.
That's what you're saying.
Kyle's anything jumped out to you that we haven't brought over yet?
Midnight Fight Express.
Midnight Fight Express has some great.
It's the best
tunes.
one. That's one of the best ones for sure. Metal Hellsinger, for soundtrack use, absolutely. Mm-hmm. I like Midnight Suns a lot. Yeah, that's a great superhero theme.
It does sound really heavily inspired by like the MCU music, and that's not a bad thing.
Yes,
it's just very
Well,
that's why it's
MCU is inspired by generic like action movie music too. So
that's
it's like
why,
okay, fair. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Midnight Suns is not in my personal top 10 because the themes are so derivative of like
a little derivative.
All these other like Spider-Man the game.
It actually sounded like the Spider-Man first movie. When I heard part of the theme, I was like, that kind of.
No, there's a lot of like borrowed like those 3 notes in a row were.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's good, but it's still like it's a little too derivative. Neon White's incredible. Yeah.
I love. Is that Machine Girl? Right? Is that the?
I think so. I think you're right.
So good. How's the Need for Speed Unbound music? Is it notable enough to highlight here?
No.
It's really good,
Not
been
much.
fitting, but like it's just like music from the real world. So I don't. It's
Okay.
not my.
Just
It's
just
not
like
what
a-
I'm interested in whenever I want to like
Okay.
listen to music on my off time.
I'm going to bring this over just real briefly. Don't know if we'll talk about it again, but Nobody Saves the World has surprisingly good music. None of us played it long enough for it to really stick, but if you go back and listen to any of their tunes, you're going to be like, hey, this is really good. Like, this music is actually really, really well done. All right, we're down into Pokemon land and
Pentiment.
Pentiment. Yeah.
You don't have to bring it over, but I just want to point out for Pokemon's Violet, there's a song that plays in the background like late game in a certain area that is like basically ripped out of Nier Automata. Like it's shocking. Like it sounds like something that would be from Nier, and Nier has like amazing music. Like
that's a compliment to it, right? You're not saying it ripped it off. You're
yeah,
saying
no,
it
yeah,
sounded
it's a
really
compliment.
good.
Like
All
I
right,
was
move it
shocked.
over
I was like, whoa, what's going on here? Like what is
There's a
this?
lot of really good music in that game, honestly.
Let's move it over.
A lot of really good jazzy songs and stuff like that.
I really liked the Return to Monkey Island score.
All right, yeah.
And Roller Drome is incredible.
Roller
Drum's
got
got
a cool
good
score.
music.
My
Yeah.
God, such cool music, dude.
Scorn's got some squelches going on.
Yeah.
Good sound design.
Well, that's
got
gotta be
good
number
music.
That's gonna be
There you
number
go.
one, right?
Okay.
Sifu. I think Sifu's got some good
Sifu's
music.
great.
Interesting
Yeah,
music,
Sifu's in my top 10. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else that we're missing?
How does Soundfall not get moved over?
Oh,
None of us played it.
I don't even know what that is. Yeah.
I know it feels made up.
We fell flat on that one, guys.
So Stray, I think the score, actually listening to it by itself, is really good. It's one of those scores that in the game, it's like I don't even notice it or pay attention to it. But by itself, I'm like, oh, this is actually like thought out and interesting and playing with a lot of futuristic sounds, but like lightly. It's not aggressive like Roller Drome or something.
Yeah, it's not enough to like make you stand up out of your chair, but it works really well for the for the game.
Maybe get up slightly, but then fall back down.
Yeah, just kind of lift a little bit. And like,
you might lean forward a little. I don't know.
Yeah.
You don't need to bring it over, but King of the Fighters 15's got some good music.
Oh, does it?
Good
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I haven't played the Night Witch yet. It looks like a cool game that I would like. I need to try it, but the music is it slaps pretty good on that song. I haven't played it, so I've just listened to some of the songs from it. What about the Quarry soundtrack? I thought the main theme was pretty good, but otherwise kind of forgettable.
I don't remember it. It's
I don't remember it either. Yeah.
Okay. Tiny Tina actually has some pretty great music in it. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands.
Oh, interesting. I didn't notice it.
But
I didn't go back to listen to
it.
it.
Might be like Borderlands music that since I'm not a mega fan of Borderlands, I've played all of them. A handful of hours for each. I've finished 2, but it might be more Borderlands music. I don't know, but it sounded good to me. The music did.
Trek to Yomi and Tunic has pretty good music. I don't know if it's worth bringing them over, but it's worth at least saying something.
Tunic's got a really cool sound to it. Matches the visuals really well. Xenoblade?
Yeah, Xenoblade. I heard about that.
Number 1 of the year. So yeah, absolutely.
It's got the flutes, right? It's got all the flutes.
It's mechanics and
by the way,
sound
maybe one of you
find
find a good example song of that one, because I think we might need to listen to a sample at some point, and send me the YouTube link in our chat here. That way I can bring it up if it's time, if we need to play a clip, because that's not on Spotify that I could find. If it is on Spotify, I couldn't find it. So
that's disappointing.
I just want to say, for You Suck at Parking, the music itself is fine. It works for the game. But they literally kick in singing the phrase "You suck at parking" at these key times, and it's really funny that they do that after you've died for like the 20th time. It made me mad, but then I had to laugh about it because it was just
it made me mad.
It was
like
that game can be frustrating. So
that's all of for me personally. That's all of the ones I had in my list are already on the consideration column.
Okay. Anybody else missing one? And I know I'll scroll up so you can look and see what we've got moved over kind of alphabetically here. Anything that you feel like might be missing from this middle column so far? Plague Tale, Anno, Arcade Paradise, Beacon Pines, Card Shark. I won't read all of them. Anything jump out at you? Derek, any that jump out to you that?
No.
Okay. Kyle?
Mm-mm.
Dan?
Oh, Babylon's fun. No, I'm just kidding.
I did on my. It didn't end up being in my top, but I do have Eiyuden Chronicles Rising as one that I liked, but it didn't end up making my top 10. But I did like the music a lot. It's very kind of endearing. It works well for that game. I think that's it. think that's all of mine. All right, guys. So here we have
About
31 games.
Oh, good.
That's
listed here. Yeah. Quick question, and maybe this is way too early to ask this question. To what degree do you guys, and I thought this with Ori too, to what degree do you continue to give a sequel credit for a score that is really just revamping and reusing an amazing score that was already written for the original game? And I thought that with Ori and Will of the Wisps, where I like that soundtrack. It's also beautiful, but the first game hit me hard because that was Gareth Coker just knocked it out of the park. And the second one was like more really good. That I don't know if that makes any sense, but to what
I mean,
does
it
that ever
depends, like,
affect your enjoyment of it?
If you're referring to God of War Ragnarok, that's not how that went down at all. So that's not true to me at all.
Oh, don't be so
I mean,
defensive. I was actually
It's
thinking
not defensive. It's just I'm just saying, like, he invented so many other character themes that were not in the first game.
Sure.
So like,
yeah, that was what I was gonna say.
I feel like there's way more new stuff in the soundtrack.
If you're only voting for it because it's the same song, like you only care about one song, it's literally the same song, I think you should be honest and say that's it, and I don't think it should count. But if you're like, no, I like multiple songs that weren't in the original game or whatever, then like I personally wouldn't vote for Ori twice. There was only one song I really cared about, but I would only vote for the original.
Yeah, because they usually are trying to make, even if it's like kind of like, I don't know, like there's like a DNA there that's similar to a previous song. They make it different enough where it's also attached.
Usually they'll change it a little bit.
Yeah, it's attached to whatever new moment is happening in that new game, you know, like it's fitting that situation specifically. And that's for me what connects me with like songs is like, all right, so I'm playing this, maybe a sequel, but this specific song and this specific moment is like hitting me a certain way, and that's why I really like it. So
yeah, because I thought that I wouldn't rank, as I was going through these and listening to the music for a long time and kind of doing my own personal rankings. I honestly did not think Horizon or God of War would land super high on my list, but they did. Like they're right at the top.
Same here, yeah.
And it's one of those things where I'm like, why didn't I? And I think it's because they just handled these familiar themes so well and worked in so much amazing original music and took you on a totally new journey. So I brought that question up just to say, like, does that affect your thoughts on this at all? It doesn't sound like it does, as long as it's handled well, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, placement of song too, and how it drives the emotion of a scene is definitely
totally
considered for sure. But listening to, in the case of God of War specifically, I didn't do a lot of research on Horizon, but listening to Bear talk about his choices behind like Atreus's theme and Freya's theme. I don't know. I feel like a lot more went into that score than I had thought. Like when I heard it, like as I was playing the game, I was like, this is a great score and everything, but how much is really new? And then when he explained it, I was like, oh, a lot. Like actually a lot is new in this theme. Like he had to do an Odin theme, a Thor theme. Like it's kind of impressive.
That's awesome.
Very
love it. All right. So Derek, what are some of give me one or two ones that you are like, these are darlings of mine that I knew I really want them on the best music of the year list.
Well, I just sent one in the chat. Xenoblade Chronicles 3, the main theme. Okay. It's a mellow piano piece, and it's absolutely gorgeous.
Okay. Kyle, what's a darling of yours that you'd love to see move over? This isn't a lock, but probably a lock.
Probably a lock. Probably Midnight Fight Express.
Oh yeah, dude. Nice. I'll be right there with you, championing that one for sure.
I feel like it's a no-doubt one, but I don't know.
Dan, what's your what's a darling for you that you would love to see as a lock if possible?
Too many darlings, Tim. It's too many darlings.
Too many, right? Yeah.
It's like kill your own. What's that game? Kill your babies. That's what this is.
I think it's just kill your darling. I think that's just the
on mutation them.
No, honestly, it's Sonic. I'm fighting hard for Sonic.
Yeah, I'm actually with you on that too. That's
unbelievable. Yeah. It's unbelievable.
Did you bought Sonic?
I bought it on sale. It was $30.
Oh, okay.
So.
Okay.
Yeah. Jeff, what about you? What's one that you're like, dude, I gotta have this on here?
This is one that's probably only on my list. It's Card Shark, and I just shared a song for it. So
all right, we'll check that out too. I'm gonna move over Plague Tale, I think. Yeah. Because there's others that we have mutual love for across this group. That'll probably gonna be on that are really high on my list. But for me, a Plague Tale. So I was listening to this again, and it gets to the song called Brother, and I won't spoil the story. We did a spoiler cast already. There's a song called Brother that really harkens back to certain moments, especially the final, like it's really the penultimate chapter of that game when big things are happening. And it kind of gave me like the guitar work, and it's not perfect. That's what I love about it. It sounds like someone truly is sitting in a studio plucking the guitar, and the transitions between chords aren't even perfect, but it adds to that sadness. It just works really, really well.
I think that's the point, right? Is
actually,
yeah.
Yeah, I think you're going to find a lot of us in agreement with you on Plague Tale for sure.
Oh yeah,
I
maybe
think
I
it's
didn't
a top
need to waste
3
it.
contender for sure.
All right, cool. All right. What are some obvious ones? I feel like we just mentioned, right? God of War and Horizon are probably no-brainers on our shared list. Does anyone like no, these aren't the best soundtracks of the year?
I mean, it gets tough because like music is like super important to me in games. And there are some that I would actually put ahead of that, but again, these are a collective thing where we are collectively wanting to say, well, this is for sure, and that's
you also have to think of like I already mentioned this, but how the music can like enhance like a big epic moment. And I feel like Horizon nails that completely, where it's like big sweeping blockbuster movie score during a big action moment in a cinematic, and I'm like, oh, how is this a video game? Like it's just what I mean? Kyle, you're talking.
It's also for me, like a lot of video game music for me is what sticks out to me is like I'll be like I'll listen to this while I'm driving, like that's a big thing for me. Like and it's usually orchestral stuff.
That's where we differ. I think about it in the moment, in the context of
that too. Yeah, no, it's absolutely that too. But it's like I like kind of like with Final Fantasy for me, like I can just chill in my like while I'm driving somewhere and just listen to like the orchestral piece of X Final Fantasy song because it's like I like that orchestral stuff. So
were you saying something, Kyle?
Yeah, I was just saying I wish I remember the name of the songs, but there are songs in Horizon that completely moved me, like in ways that no other music in this entire year of gaming has. So like that's just I think that's up there for me.
So I'd like to suggest a couple that I don't know that they're going to make the top 10, but I do think at least a couple of us like them a lot. Elden Ring and Gotham Knights, I feel like both deserve at least consideration on this.
Those are the 2 I wanted to come over.
Okay, let's put them on here, but they might not. I understand they might not stay. It just depends on where we all end up landing.
I don't know, man. Elden Ring's main theme is one of the best themes in all of gaming.
And also the rest of the music too. I didn't give it enough credit till I went back and listened to it more, and I was like, dude, yeah, Jeff, it's what you're talking about with contextual like emotions and feelings and stress and relief and victory and all those things. Like listening to that soundtrack again, probably because I played the game so much and loved it so much, it just hit me in that way. I was like, dude, I forgot how much I love every track on the soundtrack. So, anything else? We've got 9, but
right?
we can add a handful more if we need to that you guys feel like at least deserve a fight.
I mean, Tim, you might be with me on this. I don't know because the music does sound purposely dated, but I feel pretty strongly about Neon White.
I love the Neon White. Let's bring it over so we can at least play a sample, and then everyone can decide if.
Yeah, because it's definitely deliberately going for the whole like Rush 2049 thing, like where it's like late 90s techno, fast paced.
That's a hard no.
Totally fits the game.
Get it out of here.
We'll try it out.
Get it out of here.
Anything else?
I mean, obviously, and I mean, it's very metal centric. I mean, Hellsinger for me. And then like
it's the category for it, dude.
It's tricky with like Crisis Core, for example, because it's like there are specific themes and like there's Zach's theme and stuff, which like for me doesn't hit as hard as like some other Final Fantasy songs, but the quality of the music in Final Fantasies is.
What's the piano theme in that song? What's the one that's the piano? It's like it's the main theme pretty much.
Yeah,
that song. I think that song is absolutely
wonderful. I don't know what the name of it is, but yeah, it is really nice. I was actually more focusing on there's sort of a redone boss theme, which is
bass. It's a bass theme, man.
It's a bass. Happened to bass. It's actually pertains to the summon fights in the game, so it's called The Summon, which I can share the link in the thing. But it's actually like a sort of kind of mixed up boss, like just the regular boss theme from Final Fantasy. So
okay, All right, now
but I mean, if we want to consider that, because
I'm a little surprised. I would have thought you would have said Beacon Pines because you've been championing that game. Is that not one of your favorite soundtracks? Like, not saying it's not good, but like
in my head, I can't remember the music, but I know at that moment there were scenes where like when crazy stuff was happening, like there was really good music. You know, again,
I played like way more of the game now. I think I got an hour or so left.
Oh, nice.
Okay. I'm really far in the game.
It's not super long,
and the music is not. I wouldn't even thought to have listened to it by itself. Like, even though I'm in the middle of playing it because Tim mentioned it, the score in the chat earlier today, I would not have listened to the soundtrack by itself because it fits the game so well, and it's as such a background thing that I don't stand out for you. Yeah, I don't even listen. Like, I don't even hear it when I'm playing the game, but it is actually really good. So I mean, you're not wrong that it is good. I just. And in the game itself, I forget about it.
Even that alone is enough of like that's some love we gave to it there. That's fine. Yeah, fine if it doesn't make our list. Is there anyone else who would say Crisis Core needs to be on the shared list, or was that kind of like the honorable mention love we think it's going to get from Dan there?
I didn't play it enough, unfortunately.
Okay. I would champion it all day. I think that.
I mean, I sent the link
for the music.
I sent the link of that's remixed.
We'll play that lick then. That link. Yeah. Lick. Ugh.
Lick. We'll play there are licks in it.
Yeah. I was gonna say.
All right. Anything else? There's some other good ones on here that I really enjoyed. Rollerdrome is great.
Rollerdrome is one of the coolest. But
cool soundtrack.
But that one is so similar, at least like synth-wise, to Midnight Fight Express. That if we have Midnight Fight Express on there, that's the one I'd prefer over Rollerdrome personally. And they do stylistically, they do the same thing musically. Like if you listen to both of them, you'll be like, oh yeah, there's a lot of similar synth tones and stuff like that.
I'm not going to bring over Nobody Saves the World because none of us played it enough, but just check out at least a little part of this. See if you guys can hear this. Oops. Can you hear it?
Dude, what? Wow.
What's this from?
Nobody Saves the World.
Wow. This is on many people's top 10.
It's just got it's a jam, dude. Like, I was listening to a bunch of the soundtrack, and I was like, the whole soundtrack sounds like it's very good. And it keeps driving. I didn't realize
that. Music's a little too hot in the mix, though.
Is it? How do I turn it down?
Yeah. I don't know. On the player itself, I guess.
Okay,
I don't really know.
I'll put the player at middle and tell me if it's too quiet next time.
Okay.
So there's
I played it in January like you did, and I don't remember the score at all, but that is really cool. That is just
I remember playing it too, and maybe the first 20 minutes of the game's music isn't great, and then it gets really good later.
Or it just didn't jump out to you, right? Like sometimes the score is great.
I mean, usually scores jump out to me though, so it's like I have a feeling that maybe like.
All right, check out Beacon Pines that neither Dan or Jeff.
Yeah, I kind of want to be reminded because I don't.
Maybe they're wrong. Yeah.
Turn it up a little bit.
They are wrong.
Can you guys hear it?
You're always wrong. Okay, yeah.
I'm gonna fast forward a little bit because it's very piano and pretty.
Yeah, it changed,
and then it builds up.
This is like the only part I listened up to. I didn't really hear the changes that you're referring to.
A lot of piano stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
But it gets up into. Is this the right song? Well, whatever. It's amazing.
Is this the one from the playlist? Because that's the song I heard. Yeah, that's the song I listened to.
Yeah, so pretty, but that's a little honorable mention for that one. Okay.
Pentiment's really cool. I love when like things happen, like people die or something burns down or whatever, and like they do this thing in the score where they have instruments playing like different like minor seconds on top of each other, so it just sounds like clashing noises. I think that's kind of the sound that you have in the playlist.
Clanks.
Where it's like it sounds like off. Something about it sounds really off and tense. Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff.
Yeah, I like that. The Pentiment sound fits really well for the game there too. That's another part of this too, is how well does it fit with the game experience. Right. Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. I will maintain that game has no right to have as epic of orchestrated music as it has. Like, it's got freaking rabbits. Like, what are you doing with this soundtrack?
It's kind of like the Lego Star Wars soundtrack, where you're like, why are you doing so much?
Here's an example. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
I really like this.
Dude, the guitar?
Yeah.
I didn't expect that at all.
I like that a lot.
Like, this is all just gorgeously orchestrated.
Yeah.
And Even as you're playing it, you're going, "What are you doing? What are you guys doing? This
Yeah,
is
I
Rabbids.
know.
This is Rabbids. Stop it." So very nice touches throughout. Highly recommend that soundtrack as well.
That's
Last one I
insane.
wanted to call out before we move into our list. We moved over, unless you guys have one that you wanted to. I wanted to call out this because it's amazing. Hang on. Little Ninja Turtles,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the Wrecking Crew.
I would maybe bring that one over. That one is in my top 10.
Yeah.
Break.
It's
That's a
really
great
good. Man.
score. They really nailed the.
Listen to that. Listen to that synth.
Yeah. I wonder how many
So good.
old dusty instruments they had to brush off to get that type of retro synth sound.
I
You know,
know.
like,
It's
or if it's
good.
just a plugin now that's like,
put it
hey,
right
just
there.
buy
Dude,
a
might
cheap
not
plugin or whatever. Like,
Turtles in Time, that second
impressive.
stage has still like one of the best like Super Nintendo songs of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I just shared the.
You shared the
'cause
rap
we're gonna,
song.
We're gonna. Yeah, of course
Oh no,
I
I've got
did.
the
Yeah.
rap song on here. The We Ain't Came to Lose song. Is it We Ain't Came to Lose? I've got that one on.
Yeah,
here,
yeah,
too.
we ain't came to lose. Yeah,
It's a great track.
it's so good.
It is good.
Ghostface Killer,
Yeah,
dude.
Sure.
We've come so far from Go Ninja, Go Ninja, Go.
Yeah, yeah. It's real rap now. Yeah.
It's like
I could
legit
Ice
rap.
Cube.
teach it. Oh my gosh, that's so good. So good.
good.
All right, guys.
Yeah, it's like Kyle said, this year has kind of been notable in this category for sure. So I'm glad we're
Yes.
doing a shared list for this one.
Yeah.
I just want to throw out that I think it's the main theme for DioField Chronicle. Like its main theme is like excellent. It's
Did
very
you put
like
that one in
kind
the
of,
chat? Let me pull it up. Did you
I
put it in here?
didn't, but I
Okay.
can if hold on.
And Derek and Kyle played chunks of that game. Jeff, you might have played a little bit of that one too.
Yeah.
Which one?
DFL Chronicle. I can't remember if you played it or not.
I did. Yeah, the demo. I played some of the demo.
I do remember this. Yeah, yeah. It's pretty
I'm
good.
gonna skip ahead a bit.
It just
Listen to
has a
those
very
horns
like
coming in.
Lord of the Rings sort of vibe to
Yeah,
it.
yeah. It's very epic. Yeah, a lot of choral, singing and strings and yada yada.
Yeah,
There is a
yeah.
particular
Move that
part
one
where it builds
over.
up better, but
Ooh, that swell was nice.
yeah, this
All
is
right.
the main
I'm
part.
on. I'm on board with that one. All right. We got too many. We have to do a top 15. Okay.
Let's just do a top.
Or just
20.
a top 10 and some honorable mentions. That's really
Yeah.
all it is. Yeah.
All right, guys. I want to say anything else, but part of me is afraid to ask anything else because someone's going to think of something that they really love, and we have to.
I would just play a roller drum track just for
all right,
everybody
let's
to
do
hear
that.
how amazing it is.
right, here you go.
But I don't think it should be in the 10. I think Midnight Fight Express.
Here's a little roller drum for you. I was gonna skip ahead, but I really like the way it builds up. I've listened to this one a couple times.
It does, yeah. It builds up to that great beat.
This is a game that I shamefully have really, really planned on playing and just never truly made time. You have to make time sometimes at the end of the year to I gotta play a little bit of this game, and I just didn't. I didn't do it.
It's so fun. Such a great style. Dude, come on.
That's good.
It's absurd. It's so good.
That is good. Yeah, no, I dig it. I dig it.
It's
All
like
right.
it's like late 80s sci-fi type of vibes. Like that's
What are we
it
saying?
is.
Hang on about, Dan. What is it?
Don't have to care. I just want to. I just shared it now. This is the particular song I was talking about. We don't have to bring it over.
Oh,
I
with,
just want you guys.
with
I'm
Pokemon,
curious
gotcha.
if you guys feel the vibes as well. Maybe 10 seconds ahead, or we could just wait. But
No, I'm gonna jump ahead. Ooh, that is very.
Yeah.
Dude, what?
The Zero Zone. Yeah.
yeah, give it a second. Give it. Like, right?
It's too good. There's some really good songs in that game. Now.
Like this gives me Nier Automata vibes. Like
It does, yeah.
All right.
Let's play a little of that Arcade Paradise for like 15 seconds.
Oof, that is
Just a little
good.
bit.
That is good.
Just
That
a
is
little
good.
bit.
just
I
a
couldn't
little.
find
Just a little.
I couldn't find the jazz song I was looking for, but this main theme is pretty good.
Oh, the main theme from Arcade Paradise, yeah.
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 Just give it a little bit. A little bit.
That's good.
Yeah, it's good sound. Anyway, that's all. I just wanted to give a little shout out.
There it is.
There's the beat. Oh, so good.
That
Okay.
would totally
so
work in
freaking rad,
Stranger
dude.
Things, right? Like that
It
would
would,
totally
yeah,
be
very-
something.
Yeah,
very,
and that's
uh,
exactly what they're
synth-wavy.
going for.
Yeah.
That's what that game is in
nostalgia-wise,
a way, nostalgia way.
Yeah.
All right, so we moved over a bunch, but hey, at least we're not at 30 something anymore. So what are some shoe-ins for our top 10? That's kind of was the question before, but this time it's, we need to start thinking through what's likely honorable mention based on really just numbers.
Well, I think God of War and Horizon and even A Plague's Tale are pretty much locks.
Anyone
so,
have
too.
anything anti for those making the list? Not that you're against the soundtracks, but like they shouldn't, and here's why. Anybody have any issues with them being on the list? Speak now.
Or
Okay.
forever.
Or forever be a beta. Am I right, Derek?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Last
If you don't vote
week
for him,
to
you're
make
beta.
that
That's
joke.
what it is.
Dan.
Okay, Dan.
Yeah, Dan. All right, so I do agree with that. I also I'd be surprised if Xenoblade Chronicles 3 didn't make. I feel like Kyle and Derek have this as their top, and I've also listened to parts of it on YouTube and been like, "Whoa, that's pretty fantastic." So, is that a shoe?
Well, if you listen to the main theme, like
put it
if
on.
you
The
know
two
the
that we
story,
shared.
if you know the story of the game, it's a very, very emotional game. So the piano, like the soft piano piece that just plays through.
This is like one of the.
What?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Wow.
That sounds like the
Mobius
Matrix,
Battle
dude.
Holy smokes!
Fluting it up.
They've got a few sopranos in the choir.
It's like building for a metal song.
There we go.
There you go, flute solo.
Listen to that. I'm already in on this being on the list just for what I'm hearing. Let me hear the other one. That's amazing.
Good stuff, man.
Can we just do like a
But
top
I'm glad you
whatever
guys
we
like
have?
it. It's not for me though.
It's too ethnic for
One song of about 40 hours of music in that, Jeff. So.
This one, I don't think you guys can get a feel for unless you like listen to it for a while.
Yeah.
I was just trying to get to when someone else
Leave
gets
it
the
right
pianos.
there.
Piano's real nice.
That's beautiful right there.
Ooh, I thought a beat might drop there, but it stayed quiet. It teased me.
No, it's a very calming and soothing.
It's pretty.
This
piano
is
piece
definitely
the
my
entire
favorite
time.
song in the game. Is that
Yeah.
just the theme song?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so that might not be a shoe-in for Jeff based on those samples, but
It
Derek
doesn't
and
matter though.
Kyle
if
have this
everybody else
really
is
high,
sold on
right?
it.
Let's
No,
let's
it's gotta
let's
be-
Second
it's
song
gotta
didn't
be
do
in
anything for you?
It's just piano.
guys, I
Piano. Wow.
How
play
dare
a
you
sample.
insult? How dare you insult pianos?
I
How
want to
dare
play
you?
a sample of Sonic and why I think this one deserves to be on this
my God,
list.
dude.
Yeah, I
Hold
would
on,
like
can
to
we-
hear
can we
Sonic.
Can we do the transition of like the open world theme and then like to undefeatable? Because that's
So this one's called Arriving on Starfall Islands. I mean, I felt Mario Galaxy, Mario Odyssey immediately when I
Oh,
heard
dude,
this.
I felt Mario Odyssey immediately
And I love it.
when I
It's
jumped
just-
on that island. Yeah.
And it
Yeah,
fits
it's
with. Go ahead.
I was gonna say this quieter, like when you're just running around, there's like the kind of quieter piano like part.
Well, then it has some neon white style music for their
Yeah,
fast
yeah,
levels, you know. So I'll
Yeah.
fast forward a little bit.
Yeah, which is what you want out of Sonic because you got to go fast. So like it's
Yeah,
like
so it's
perfect,
got a lot
you
of
know?
this. And you put one in the chat there too, Dan.
Well,
Or no?
not for Sonic, no.
Because those are only two samples I had were the
Oh,
that
all right.
fast level and the overworld. But
yeah,
I think this
yeah.
one belongs on the list. I think it's a really good score.
Oh, it absolutely does. Yes.
I really want Dio Field too.
And Dio Field. All I heard was that one song, but it sounds amazing.
All right, hold on. This one here.
Kind
this
of
is
like an epic song. Dio
put
Field,
in
the
the
way
chat
it like
here.
builds.
This is like kind of the more like sort of somber, calm, nice piano. But then like going from this and then listening to that boss theme is like, it's just such a transition.
I'm gonna skip ahead a bit on this one.
Yeah,
since
yeah,
it's
yeah.
got the ambient start to it. What's with the dramatic violins? That's crazy.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is so good, man. Why is the Sonic Frontier
We gotta
soundtrack
put
so
just put Sonic up in the 10 like as a shoe-in because that's
Why is it so good?
it's so good.
But have you guys heard Undefeatable besides Kyle and I, or?
No.
I don't think so.
good.
I don't think I need to.
Oh, you haven't?
Like,
Okay.
I'm so
Hold
sold
on,
on this.
hold on.
This is so good.
Hold on. I'll share that one. God damn it.
And then Jeff, what did you send me? You sent me Card Shark?
Oh, I
No.
sent 2 Card Shark songs, and one you only need really like a snippet of.
Okay.
And I'll explain where it comes in the game.
Okay, we'll talk about that one next. All right. Kyle just sent me this one. Oh, that's for Midnight Fight. Okay.
Okay. What's the one you just sent, Dan? Was that the Undefeated?
That's
whatever
Undefeatable, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Ready? Are you ready for this? I don't think we're ready for this.
What? Is this Metal Hellsinger?
What?
Sonic Hellsinger? This is in the game? Like when you're playing the game, you hear this song?
Jump ahead about at the 59-second mark.
All right, you got
Like,
me.
come on.
Yeah,
Like,
come
come
on.
on.
This is the
Does
most,
that-
come on.
one of the most.
Does
That's
that
one of the
song
most
play
varied,
while you're
like,
playing the game? at some
That's
point?
the boss fight. That's and I was telling maybe you
Jeez.
stepped away. It's literally feels like a Dragon Ball Z moment.
Oh,
like that.
Kellen Quinn. I love Kellen
Yeah,
Quinn.
sleeping with
Sleeping
Sirens.
Sirens, yeah.
Yes.
Some of those early 2000s emo screamo stuff.
Man,
Dude,
that's
I
score
love
is
their
so
first
that
album.
soundtrack is so
Yeah.
varied. Like it
All right.
has a bit of every one of the games that we've like almost every one of the games we've mentioned so far. Like it has some of that fast neon white stuff. It has the metal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
yeah.
fully support. I wasn't into Sonic Frontier until you played that Kellen Quinn
Yeah.
song. And I was like,
Um,
oh, that's pretty
guys,
cool.
let's
that
talk-
soundtrack has no business being that good. It has no business being that good.
So
Let's talk
good,
a little bit
dude.
of Card Shark. I want to play.
I just
2
want y'all to
examples.
know that Gaston literally just nutted himself. right now.
All right.
Gaston, can you clean yourself up, please? Can you clean yourself, please?
Like
Okay.
finally, these idiots are finally respecting my
So
stuff.
the carriage, this is what's playing every time they're showing you a new trick and how to do a new
I
trick.
recognize this from the demo.
Yeah. And it gets in my head like every
But it's
all the time.
really playful. It fits with what
Yeah.
you're doing.
Yeah.
And it
So
has like that
that's just a short one.
old heist sound to it. It works great.
Like shenanigans
exactly.
are ensuing.
And
Shenanigans.
then Ambush is one where it's like a really critical moment in the story where actually people could die in this part of the story if you're not good at the game, basically. But
Oops, ambush. Let me just find it.
yeah, just scroll up and hit play.
Dirt.
So like they basically deliberately picked period accurate like sounds and reimaginings.
Dude, this sounds like Luigi's Mansion.
a little bit.
But I say that as a compliment. I love that music. So
Like
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
like the person that did the score basically reimagined a bunch of 18th
like that.
century scores for the game on top
Yeah.
of original songs like the carriage and stuff like
oof,
that.
that's a
That's definitely
strong one.
creative.
So like yeah, just the
Strong
fact that
one.
they thought so hard about like let's be period accurate and stuff like that. And the quality of it is just incredible. It's
All right, well,
yeah.
here's what I've got for Midnight Fight. And let me see if Kyle had the same one. I got a song called Red Eyes that I thought was awesome.
Play that
Yeah,
one.
I
was
heard
just
Red
trying
Eyes.
to find
Red Eyes is
something.
great.
Listen to this build up on this. It's really well done, and it makes me want to go out and just punch a bunch of people, which is what you're
Which
supposed
is
to
what
do.
you do in that game.
That's,
Yeah.
that's the goal. Yeah.
Perfect.
I'm here for it.
I feel like I thought the build up was shorter. My bad, but we'll stick with it.
You got to build up that anger. You know?
This is after you punched a couple of guys, but soon you're going to open a room and there's going to be like,
Soon you're gonna
20
kick
gangsters.
open a door and
Yeah.
start kicking chairs at people.
there it is.
There it is.
This might not be the best example of it, but I like it a lot. I think it's
I
really
love it.
good
I
and
love it.
so fitting for the game. Let me see what Kyle sent me to real quick as another Midnight Fight. Because I feel like Midnight.
Yeah.
Ooh, what's this? Oh. Oh man.
All right. I hadn't heard this one.
All right, I had my doubts, but I approve.
That is awesome.
Yes.
It's just like all the songs that didn't make it into Hotline Miami 2.
Yeah,
they let
The
this guy
card
use.
chart-
Yeah.
The card chart game songs were trash to me, but that Midnight is more my
You're
style.
welcome.
Yeah,
You're
that's-
welcome.
That's good stuff.
It's just very specific to what the theme of that game is, Card Shark, which I mean, it's
Well,
definitely quality.
It's in the century.
that's
Like the music
how
is from
all
the
the games
century
are
that it takes place too.
Yeah.
You know, so.
All right, guys, let's talk about Dio Field real quick since Derek brought it up too. Are there any other examples of this that we could make a push for that one to squeeze onto the list too above some of these others?
Yeah, because it sounds
I'd have
very
to-
polished. What I heard.
I'd
so
have to
far.
double. Hold on, let me.
Because we played a little bit of that main theme.
Mhm.
You got
which-
any more?
which was
like
amazing.
Dio Chronicles secret song that has like Kellen Quinn on it there.
Dude, are you
Dan?
kidding me? I wish, dude. I wish. Are you kidding me? That'd be amazing.
Like, have you guys seen Undefeatable version 2? Yeah,
All right.
it's
Well,
on.
tell you what. Why don't you guys find
Dio
a
Field
few Dio
Chronicles.
Field examples, one or two. I'm gonna just play and Elden Ring has a lot of good tracks. We could listen to more if it needs more support, but I'm just gonna play the opening. I'll jump.
Yeah, I was
back.
gonna say the main theme to me is like that's.
If I didn't tell you this is Elden Ring, you might think it's from like you might even think it's on the next God of War game or something.
Yeah, that's the vibe I got.
Yeah, it is very good. Very, very good.
I'm a sucker for the big giant drums too.
Yeah. Also very Lord of the Rings esque, right? Like just a big epic
Yeah.
battle about to
Lord
go
of the
down.
Ring, yeah.
Sounds like 18 gazillion tubas and trombones just like tearing up the low parts.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
Lots of good horns, and it's got the choir that kicks
Yeah,
in. It's just
the
beautiful.
main theme sounds like something you would hear going into a boss fight. So that's what's cool about it, is like the main theme kind of fits what the actual game is, which is just a game that's all about boss fights. So it's got that darkness to it and kind of that scariness to it.
Here's
I like
one that here's an example. See if you guys know what game this is without me saying what it is.
Gotham.
Gotham
That's
Knights.
definitely Gotham. Yeah.
How's everyone feel about Gotham Knights? Or is this going to be a really strong?
It's such a
honorable
great Hollywood like blockbuster superhero movie score. Like,
but is it one of the 10 best for
So
us as a
good.
group? I don't know, but it is really good.
I mean, it's got one of my favorite songs, but I don't know the name of it. It's just the song that kicks on
Whenever-
when you jump on
yeah,
the bike.
it's the
Oh,
like
that
the
song's great.
procedural music. Yeah.
Is
yeah.
it the La Vida Loca one? Is it that one?
Yes,
Oh
probably
my
that one.
God! Okay,
Actually,
so
you
I
know
guess
what?
we gotta
It
take
doesn't
off
get
the
on
list.
now because of that song.
Take
It doesn't get on
yeah,
now.
They,
No.
They did put that in the game. They
One more
did. You're
example,
right.
Take it off the
though.
list.
Do you remember this? Do you remember this song? Now this is Harley Quinn's song, "Light the
Right?
Candles." It's just a really, and it sounds like Harley Quinn too, with the way those guitars hit
Yeah.
and the strings. It's just really good.
Yeah, there's something unhinged about it. Yeah.
Because the notes aren't quite right, which is
Yeah.
it matches with Harley,
They're
and I
doing
think
like
it's awesome.
they're doing like
Yeah.
bends and like
Lots of bends.
Because
I
she's
like-
unhinged, right? She's
Yeah.
unhinged.
So,
Hence the La Vida Loca song, guys.
I don't get it.
She's living the
I
crazy
don't-
life.
explain, please.
She's crazy. Her life is crazy.
All right,
Her
Jeff,
vida is loca. All right.
tell me if this takes you back at all over the last month or so.
Oh my God, yeah. Gotta kill the demons fast.
Gotta go. Gotta go.
So this is a good example of a game that fits. I'm sorry, a soundtrack that fits its game.
Yeah, yeah,
perfectly.
this is like the Card Shark example, kind of, where it's like you can't really put
That's
that music
beyond
anywhere
white
else
noise.
except the game. You know, like
That makes me think anime. I hear that and I
The-
think anime. So
by the way, the opening theme, like when you first boot the game up, yeah, it's so good, dude. It reminds me of like Mortal Kombat soundtrack.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Mortal Kombat.
Like
dude, I'm
late
so glad you said that.
90s, like
Yeah.
laser tag or something. Like, yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, they just nailed it.
And they have those like those stereotypical like cliched people that chime in every now and then. And it's like, you don't have a good hand or something like
Yeah.
that. Like, yeah, it's so funny.
Yeah, you've been dealt a bad hand.
Yeah.
It's like, what I did?
That rules. The theme song too, when you go to the main menu, is so it's actually more chill. It's like neon white. It's like really cool.
All right, so Diofield Chronicle. Let's circle back on that.
Yeah.
Jump over to the 6 minute 20 seconds, so the final battle section.
Here you go.
Like, that's pretty epic too.
That sounds awesome. Their main theme.
I knew it. Pause it. Pause. Ramin Javadi did the score. I knew it. I was like,
oh, for
this
Diofield?
sounds so familiar. Yes.
Wait, why do I know that name? I've heard that name.
Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon.
Oh, wow. Well, then there you go. That's why it has literally that vibe.
It sounded like a Hans Zimmer thing, and I was like, no, it's not Hans. I would know that.
Well, there you
so
go.
I had to look it up because Ramin is a student of Hans, and I was like, oh yes, I knew it.
I feel like
yeah.
I feel like
Sounds so
I've heard a strong enough case to definitely put Midnight Fight Express and Diofield in our top 10.
I agree.
I don't know if I'm there yet with Card Shark.
That's
okay.
I
really did like it a lot. Yeah. In the same way, I'm not sure that I'm there with. Those are two Jeff ones, Neon White, but I love the Neon White soundtrack. I'm not sure that I'm there with everybody else yet.
That's all right. I mean, I still have my darlings in the list, some darlings in the list, so I'm not like I won't be like perturbed or nothing.
Like between Midnight Fight and Neon White, I actually was digging the Midnight Fight more. Like
that's
a little
totally
more.
fair. That's totally fair.
I'm with you.
Like pulse pounding, like go fast type soundtracks. That one.
And Neon White's is fun. It's definitely fun.
Well, Midnight Fight is more not so go fast, more like beat ass. It's like
okay, fair enough.
I just want to come on, bro, come at me. Like I just want to beat the crap out of somebody.
Yeah. It's aggressive.
Yeah,
you're being aggressive right now.
I need you to. It's safe to put these on there. That's 7 that we've got pretty well locked in onto the list. I know Derek and I feel pretty strongly about Elden Ring, not just for the main theme though. We could listen to other ones if you guys feel like it's not strong enough.
What if we just tried ranking the ones that we have left and see
these?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
And then whatever
7
is
down here.
Yeah, whatever's highest makes
7 and 7. Okay. Yeah. Kyle, what jumps out at you from this one? Even just trying to consider like everyone's. This is where we kind of separate ourselves from our personal darlings a bit, and what you've heard so far. What do you think makes sense to maybe scoot up this bottom 7 a little bit?
Gosh, I don't know.
We haven't listened to any House Singer. Do we need to? I've heard that.
I think we've heard a lot though. I think we have.
Do you guys want to hear the Serge Tankian one? Like like at least a good solid part of it.
That's the one I have heard. Yeah.
Okay.
If you feel like it'll help make the
let me
case.
grab another one. I'll grab another one then.
Whatever you think might help make the case. We listened to a couple of Ninja Turtles examples. I feel like that one's really strong.
It's a real strong one for me too. Yeah.
This is my favorite from Gotham Knights.
All right, let's circle back on Gotham Knights.
Let's circle back to Gotham Knights then.
Actually, yeah, I'm
it's such a moody sound.
There you go. There you go. I know that store.
This is it. Yeah, when you get on the bike.
It sounds so Batman-y.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's one of my favorite moments in gaming all year. Jumping on that bike, this song coming on.
Yeah.
I like it kind of makes me feel like I'm
it's too good. That song is too good.
Something like that.
Guys, I think Gotham Knights might be on our best music of the year list.
I would put it up
towards
above
the top.
Ones I already love, like ones like Card Shark and Neon White. Like I would definitely put it above those.
I think it's towards the top of our bottom 7 here. I think I'll just leave it like that.
I agree.
Dan, you sent me some examples of Crisis Core, and Kyle, you've talked about how much you loved what they did with the music.
Yeah, I sent a Crisis Core up there too.
Okay, maybe we listen to a couple of those.
The summoned one is
like
right
next to each other, Dan and I's.
Okay,
well,
let's check those out.
Yeah, that's the summoned. That's the one that it's called. That's like it's the fight on boss theme. Jump to 15 seconds. Yeah, it's a remix of Fight
There's
On.
like 2 time signatures going on. That's really cool.
Oh, it's a remix. I've heard that. Of course.
Yeah. Now wait. They're right here.
Turn it up a little bit.
It's like an organ in there too.
As loud as I can make it.
Oh, okay.
Because it's on YouTube, so.
It's just like a different take
Alright,
on the
no,
fight on one. Yeah.
I dig it. I like it.
There's a lot going on in that. That's a very
sounds-
busy song.
It's
in a
of
good
course
way.
very familiar. Like to me, I hear that I'm like, oh, cool! What a cool version of the classic
Yeah.
fighting song. That's not a knock on it. Please don't hear that as a knock
No,
on it.
not
I
at
love
all.
the way it
Not at
sounds,
all.
but it's very familiar, of course.
The one that Kyle sent you might be
It's just a
one
piano
specific.
song. I think the other song is a little more going on in it.
This
so.
might be like the main Crisis Core theme, which is
It's
more
a song
specific.
that you hear, yeah, when you load up the
Yeah.
game.
Oh, when you boot it up? Oh, okay.
So this is more specific to this game. So
I like me some good piano though.
Yeah, it's like literally my favorite instrument in the entire world.
And with the feathers falling, I mean, come on. All right, nice. Yeah, that's a really good one.
It's just
Yeah.
somber, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really excellent. From the samples you guys have shown. Same with, I would put Ninja Turtles above it though, just personally,
too.
but
Me
that's probably
too.
because I
Yeah.
played that.
I think
game and
it's all new music, and some of the best Crisis Core music is like renditions of songs that are already classic. So I think that's a pretty
Okay.
good case to make against it, at least.
Like I'd actually be
That's
okay
fair.
with Ninja Turtles going up there along with Gotham Knights to squeeze onto the list. if I'm being
Ninja
honest.
Turtles is my favorite of these down here, besides maybe Gotham Knights.
Like
And I really like
personally
Elden
had
Ring too, just
I
mind you.
personally
I
have
think
Elden Ring higher on my. I think
Mhm.
it's like third on my overall list. I love it. But I would scoot Ninja Turtles up. I feel like all of us really liked the Ninja Turtles music, if not.
You
loved
can
it.
move Card Shark like down, like the bottom or whatever.
Think so?
Like I feel like Crisis Core and even though it's great and
like
Card
those
Shark.
three right there seem like
Yeah.
the ones that we're talking about: Gotham, Elden, and Teenage.
I think so
Yeah.
too.
And
Yeah,
and,
that's
and Metal Hellsinger would be like a really tough cut, but
Maybe check that Metal Hellsinger
well,
song out that just
yeah.
got
Let's,
shared.
let's check it out.
go to 45 seconds, just so you're getting both voices. This is the female player vocals, and then it goes to the screamo.
Shooting things. Just pick yourself shooting things. What's happening?
And obviously, like, I would use the shotgun a lot because the shotgun added that extra bass to it, which made it way more fun. But like, if this isn't your style of screaming, for example, like if you're like screaming in metal, then
Well, it's not, but when you put it in a game, it's just a different thing. You know what I mean?
and then jump
It's
to
more
about, if you
palatable
don't
when
mind,
it's-
like 4 minutes and 40 seconds ish. Just because it kind of adds at the end, it's a little bit different. But it's kind of some of that. I don't know. I just really think. I mean, it's really fun for me.
Double time, folks.
I think it's just
really
this is
strong.
like this is a Card Shark situation for Dan, where like nobody else had played it, so we didn't really get the context, like.
And it's like,
well, I mean, I
very
guess
specific
Tim played
thing.
some of Card Shark, but you didn't like see the.
Those games are exact
Ambush
same for
stuff,
me. I
you
played
know?
the demos for both of them. I completed the demos on both of those games, and I
Gotcha.
thought, boy, these are great for what they're trying to do. Wasn't enough for me to buy them, but I like them both.
I'm by no means offended if nobody wants Hellsinger on there, because again, it's a very specific game, a very specific genre of music. So,
But I think even having it in our main honorable mention list, like it handles music in a very unique way, and it does it super well. It does exactly what it's trying to do.
the quality of that game is actually really good and fun. So,
yeah. And so I think that. Honestly, I feel like that means games like Neon White and Crisis Core, although they both have multiple people who like them a lot, they likely are on the outside looking in of our top 10.
Yeah.
Possibly. Okay. All right.
I'm disappointed, but I mean, that's the nature of doing lists with your cohorts.
Yeah. I hate sharing so much. All right. Yeah. It is the worst. All right, so we've narrowed it down to 10. I wanted to play an example from A Plague Tale real quick.
I was going to say, can you play something from A Plague Tale?
Yeah, let's go to the main theme first, so you can hear part of that.
Oh, I forgot to...
I'll skip ahead here a little bit.
I know that theme. It's the music you would expect to hear in that era.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's got like a Assassin's Creed Valhalla vibe, if I remember correctly.
Yep. And then here's the song. So it's got a lot of the score sounds a lot like that.
Yeah.
Some really well used strings, especially like period piece sounding instruments.
And then whatever that organ thing is that makes like a kind of distorted sound. I don't know what that is.
Not an accordion, but a weird sound kind of like that.
Yeah, I think we saw Bear McCreary play one at the Game Awards. Whatever that is.
Okay.
That thing with like the crank or whatever. Like
I just know it as the pirate like instrument.
Yes,
like it's that thing pirates use. Yeah.
So it's from the right era to be plugged into that game for sure.
So this song is playing. Actually, it plays throughout the soundtrack. Like there's moments throughout the game as Hugo and Amicia interact.
There's that theme too, the Playtale
theme. This theme kicks in strong. Just this simple like strings and guitar during your final chapter.
That's just like a violin.
Yeah, I'm in on this game, kind of being up there. This music's been really good for me.
It's so good, man.
This is gorgeous. Like it's very sad too. Like I think of that and I think
very somber. They really tackle the tragedy of the story. Like
really which is weird because the game is very happy and just
yeah, I know it's all laughs.
Nothing happens. Mm-hmm. Nothing bad happens.
It's a rom-com.
Yeah.
I guess.
Are we still on Playtale?
No, this is now
Forbidden
West.
Horizon.
Oh, okay.
We haven't given it any playtime, so I wanted to at least play it. And this is, of course, the Forbidden West version of her theme. There's plenty of other tunes to look at for this one.
There's some really epic ones when you're like flying around for the first time.
There's this tune called Whatever Comes that I think is, of course, like many of these, brand new for this game. That actually incorporates of the. Oh, jeez. It incorporates some of the main theme melodic moments. So you'll hear it, but it's still its own thing. It's just really beautifully done. But again, like you said earlier, Jeff, you mentioned blockbuster movie style soundtrack. That's what this is. Like it fits in that mold. Now, is that a good or bad thing? I don't have any problem with it, especially if it works well and it's done.
In a game, it kind of blows my mind even more when I hear that type of music. Like, I don't know why. I'm just like, whoa, this is expensive sounding or whatever. I don't.
Yeah.
Well, even like if you go listen to a lot of Gotham Knights, it has that same vibe too.
Yeah,
where you can tell it's like somebody paid a lot of money.
Definitely.
Yeah, so there's a running theme throughout this game where it's like a lot of that. Da, 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 da. You hear that theme, that melody throughout, but it works and it's different each time you hear it. And they use different instruments to play it. Like sometimes it'll be a violin, sometimes it'll be a cello.
It's kind of like what Plague Tale does for sure. With
the one I just shared has the pretty lady singing. I think it's the credit song. I could be wrong. I forget.
The pretty lady singing. Let's
the pretty lady singing. I'm sure you'll recognize this the second it comes out.
That pretty gal.
It's a pretty voice. I don't know if she's a pretty lady.
I'm gonna jump ahead here.
Yeah.
No matter what
Go to the middle, you'll start hearing one of these instrumentals.
Yeah.
Through darkness
Aren't you flying during the credits for that song?
Yep.
Okay. All right, I thought so. Yeah, really good. Speaking of hang on, where did it go? Where did my list go? There it is. There's a brand new song with the voice on this soundtrack that I wanted to highlight that I just
she is very pretty, Kyle. I looked her up.
Oh, okay, great.
Good for her.
Yeah,
good for her.
Blood in the Snow is great.
Is this a Hosier song?
So guys, this is Blood Upon the Snow by
Hosier,
Hosier and Bear McCreary. So this is from God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah, this song is incredible.
Yeah, that song's great.
And the vocal work matches up so well with the music. It's just so good. I was trying to get to one of the big epic build-up moments here. And of course, you still have the choir underneath. Oh, I can't hit that note.
Well, and the God of War theme mixed in.
Yeah.
Boom,
So good.
Boom.
This is a great example of where
Hard one to beat, man.
my expectations of like, well, it'll probably be a lot of the same soundtrack, right? And then as I listened to it, not only that song, there's plenty of examples.
Right.
I was like, yes, sure, they use.
Atreus has his theme reminds me of like Avengers or something. Like it's very upbeat and energetic. And yeah, it's really
Is that
cool.
the Sun's Path one, or is that a different one? Yeah, so God of War.
That's the theme. That's it. Yeah, that's the melody. Da 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 da. Yeah. There's when you play when you have combat that he's a part of. Let's just phrase it that way. The theme is way more energetic than that and less cinematic. It's just play. It's like more playful, basically. It's really cool. Yeah.
Nice. All right. Let me try to find one other good example from Elden Ring, just so everyone can have a little more context other than that main theme. I agree with Derek. It's like one of the best main themes. Let me see. I think it's this one. Is this this? It's so hard to find the right one because there's so much music. I'm looking through this list. The track list is like 67 songs. Everything's in some kind of Latin language or something, right? That's the Godskin Apostles. So anyway, lots of good stuff from Elden Ring 2 that goes beyond just that main theme, which I thought was excellent. All right, someone dropped something in here. What are we looking at here, Kyle? What's this one?
Tsukasa Saito did the score for Elden Ring. Really great stuff.
That's the one we already listened to that. It's the Horizon song.
Oh, my bad.
Lady.
My bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty lady song, yeah.
Pretty lady song. Pretty
lady.
voice lady song.
All right. So, I think we've gotten some samples from everything. I think so. We've got the rap from Ninja Turtles.
Kyle shared another Xenoblade song.
Okay.
Up above,
yeah, there's a battle theme
enemy.
that's a little more complex in its type of instrument.
Ooh.
That bass line, what?
That bass was filthy. That bass was
They play this song all the time.
Oh my god.
Yeah, this is the battle theme. You hear this song a lot.
That bass line.
Yeah, you hear it the entire time and just going.
Dude,
Jeff, it reminds me of that band
is on cocaine, man.
It reminded me of that band I sent to you to listen to a while back called Dirty Loops, where that bassist is just kind of
where it's just like kind of like dumb mathematical jazz, where you're like, why are you doing this? It's so much. It's so extra, but it's so cool.
It's way more than anyone needs. What are you doing? Dude, that Xenoblade Chronicles 3 soundtrack, I mean, to me, it's a shoe. I feel like our top 4 is already here. I don't know if that's the order, but I feel like that's the top 4.
Raise your hand if you feel bad that you never played Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
I feel bad.
I don't feel that bad.
Dan, you're muted, so you can't give Derek your sass.
I'm just not going to raise my hand just out of spite. I mean,
me neither. Yeah, because Derek asked the question, I'm not going to raise my hand.
That is so beta.
Get it in, Derek. Get him in. Get him in now.
All right.
Passive aggressive beta crap.
I wish there was an actual device to censor certain words, so you didn't have to hear them.
The ranking of these is interesting.
Undefeatable.
Oh my gosh, because I feel like the top 4. We do this a lot where we'll have kind of like a top half and a bottom half. I feel like it's a top 4 and then a bottom 6. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe like Sonic Frontiers or Diofield or something, or Elden Ring. Maybe one of those deserves in that top section. But I feel
for me, Diofield is like pretty legit.
I agree with you. I think it totally
right. But compared to the other top 4,
would I put it based on what you showed me over Xenoblade? I wouldn't personally, unless you want to push for it. I wouldn't put it over that one, and I still wouldn't put it over these 3, despite. I think it's amazing. I could see
I think it's great.
5. It could be a 5 or 6, but I don't know. Dan or Kyle stepped away. Dan, do you feel like Diofield is a Diofield band? Does that deserve to go above Sonic, for example, in your mind? Sonic.
So I really like again, that kind of Game of Thrones-y vibe to it. I mean, I don't know. It's like, it's tough because it's like I don't want to come at like the whole like pushing for Sonic is like, it's just more like I'm surprised by it. I genuinely really like it. All the music that I've heard so far. I mean, here's another one. If you want to play it, it's just shocking. Shocking just in the sense of like, because we were all just kind of like, oh, Sonic's gonna be the Swimming in Sevens game, and it's like the soundtrack to me is not.
I didn't realize there was all this
really
emo
fun.
music. I didn't realize all this like emo rock music. This is great.
It just goes hard, but then like when you're running around, it's like serene and peaceful, and there's like violins and piano pieces, and it's just like it's a fun back and forth.
So that's first of all, I agree. Just a little bit I've listened to Sonic Frontiers. It not only is it shockingly good, but it fits like the theme of like Sonic. Like Sonic's a high octane action packed. Like
he's edgy, but when you're running around, it's kind of like chill.
Whereas like Diofield Chronicles is kind of like, that's the thing, unless you've played it, the quality of the music, like if we went through all of it, especially since we know who the composer is and who he was trained by, quality of the music matches the theme of the game. And that's what I think is special about a lot of these soundtracks that we're picking. Is like, to me, you can't say Diofield isn't as good as all these other ones because it matches the theme of what the game is.
Yeah.
And it's really well done.
Okay.
There's not a ton of different songs from what I remember in Diofield, but they're high quality. And like you said, it's literally the guy who did the Game of Thrones soundtrack, right? Like,
on our shared list, do we feel like it belongs above a Gotham Knights, an Elden Ring, a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? And I guess, Derek, that kind of goes to you too, because you've played all 4 of those. For example, you liked all 4 of them, or you liked 3 of them at least. I don't think you loved the Ninja Turtles as much, but like, would you put it above Gotham Knights and Elden Ring? Is it that high for you? That good of a soundtrack for you?
Yeah, I like the main theme more than I like, and I love Elden Ring's main theme.
Yep.
I like it more than Elden Ring's main theme. So
I was just trying to gauge like how you feel about it. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that one I think that at the very least belongs right up here with. I think Sonic Frontiers and that are kind of our middle 2.
I think Sonic should be above it personally.
Based on what you guys have shown me, I would put it above it. Here's why. I think it's.
I'm not mad either way.
I think it's got a really cool.
Yeah, I guess it really doesn't matter when we're fighting for the middle.
It's got a really cool variety to it that I want to just. I just kind of want to reward that. I guess. That
Sonic me too. Frontiers. Me too.
Well, I think it's what Dan said. I think he nailed it. I don't think any of us, like when he said Sonic Frontier, I was like, shut up, dude. You already have bad taste.
Shock. Okay, yeah, no, that's
Stop
fine.
Bringing stupid.
You know what? Just remove Sonic Frontiers entirely then. Remove.
And then we started listening to stuff, and we're like, wait, we can't tell.
Wait, why is this so good? Why is this so good?
That's literally what I was saying when I was playing.
So, Kyle, when you look at games like Midnight Fight Express, really all 4 of these, you played all 4 of these games: Gotham Knights, Elden Ring, Ninja Turtles. What for you kind of is Midnight Fight Express? I feel like you jumped on that one quickest, or is that just one that no one else has really played like you have? I'm just curious where you.
I don't know. I just that's not the kind of music I listen to like on my off times. Like I don't go and chill out and listen to like synth wave industrial music. It's just not. But like in the context of like this game and in certain moods, like it can be a good time or whatever. And it does fit like the vibe of the games or whatever. But something like Gotham Knights and Elden Ring, like they're crafting a composition of music that's fitting. That's created for that exact moment or thing or something like that. Midnight Fight Express is composed of like songs that are like, peeled from the, indie artists and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Gotham Knights, when you jump on that bike, like that song was made for you when you jump on that bike. You know what I mean? Elden Ring, there's certain moments when you walk into an area, a certain song comes on to let you know, hey, you're in this area or whatever.
Yeah.
And for me, when we're talking about soundtracks, and I know there's a currency in saying like, hey, I listen to this outside of the context of the game.
Can be.
It can be. I think that's a good point to bring up for a lot of stuff. But like, I think that the real magic is like how much does it sell a moment in a game? And Gotham Knights and Elden Ring is filled with music that's like selling you moments. In a big way. So
we just got a note from the corrections department, which is me. Midnight Fight Express is 47 tracks from composer Noise Scream.
Yeah, Noise Scream. Yeah,
it's one person. It's not one curated soundtrack.
Yeah, yeah.
So I thought it was good, and I think it fits the game, but
which is rad.
At the expense of, I'm at the risk of sounding like it's just because I haven't played it as much. Like I would put the other 3 over it, but I still think it is a strong, 9 or 10. But that's just where I would land it.
If you're asking for like an order out of me, it'd probably be Elden Ring, Gotham Knights, Midnight Fight, Teenage.
Okay, yeah,
that's my order.
Ninja
That would be
Turtles
my
and
order,
Midnight Fight
too.
Express to me are interchangeable. They both have like that similar perfect vibe for what they're going
Yeah.
for.
It's crazy.
Ghostface Killer doesn't show up in Elden Ring and start rapping about Elden Lords. You know what I mean?
But he
it
should.
fits for Teenage Mutant
But he
Ninja
should.
Turtles.
So for
Yeah, Gotham Knights should get in trouble just for that.
So for Gotham Knights, I think it's really funny, and it speaks to the quality of how good the rest of the score is, that it overcame the stupid "Live in La Vida Loca" moment, and still ended up in our
no,
list.
you brought it up again. Put it at the bottom.
Yeah, it's at the
That's
bottom.
what I'm
God
saying.
damn it, Jeff.
It really should get punished though for just doing that.
Yeah.
I agree. I actually kind of want to
You
put
know
it
what?
below.
Keep it below Midnight Fight Express. There you go. That's your
And
punishment.
I'm gonna move Ninja Turtles above it too. That's what's gonna happen.
I mean, can we just swap it with Crisis Core? I mean,
You were this close to greatness. Oh man, this close.
it's close.
I mean, can we just say that a game that got lambasted by critics and by a lot of players in Gotham Knights? It's amazing how much we've talked about. Oh, that combat was awesome. We talked about it with visuals. We talked about it with
Yeah,
I think
we're-
it will
score.
be
See you in the
our
next
game.
conversation. Just
I
FYI.
know.
we'll see you
I
in the
think
next
it will be
couple
in our top
conversations,
10.
honestly.
I'd
Yeah, I
be
think so,
shocked
too.
if it's not in our top 10.
But I feel like
And
this
I
is-
will say, I got real shaky knees whenever that gameplay footage of the Live in La Vida Loca part came out, and I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
why would you release
boy.
that as a showcase?
I got really. I was
so
like, is
bad.
this gonna be the whole vibe of this game?
I
Someone
really
at-
think they really thought that was cool. I
Yeah,
really
someone-
do.
I think so
really
too.
think they
thought,
were
like,
like,
the
no,
youth are-
I
the
100%
youth are
think
gonna like
someone on the
this.
staff thought that was cool. Yeah.
You're like, the youth are gonna like this song. Like, no, dude.
Them youths.
Yeah.
Them
We'll
youths.
enjoy it.
And it's
Well,
that
you know
30
it's
Rock
a
band.
soccer
When
mom.
they
It's
think
that
of
30 Rock
Batman,
band. Hey,
they think
kids.
of, when they think of Batman, they think of Ricky Martin. So
Yeah.
I
Oh my
mean,
gosh.
they go hand in hand. It's
A
perfect.
punk rock version of.
I
Ricky
can
Martin.
honestly say I've never
Which,
thought
hey,
of Ricky
punk
Martin.
rock and Ricky Martin are not the vibes I think of when I think of Batman. So just.
Are you sure about that?
It's
Just
so
an
weird.
FYI,
You brought
guys.
in two completely different vibes that don't match Batman and try and make a Batman song.
I feel like we've kind of landed on our top 10 here. Although we didn't really rank the top 4.
I have no issues with the top 4.
Me
We've
neither,
got-
honestly.
I don't know how much I'm,
Now, Dan, you haven't said much about these top 4. You haven't played Xenoblade. You played all 3 of these.
Yeah.
Didn't you play a Plague Tale, right?
Do you
Yes,
like
I did.
Forbidden
Yeah.
West more?
Then God of War.
Yeah,
The
as far as
music, the
soundtrack.
score. Yeah.
I would probably listen to that more, like, because again, in my head, it's like, is this also something I would kind of just listen if I was like
Yeah.
working or driving or
Or
whatever?
What music
it would slightly
goes
edge
beyond
out
the
a little bit
game
more.
for you? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
It would slide
actually
out-
what I would say. Forbidden West. I'm not saying it's better. I'm saying I would actually
yeah.
listen to the soundtrack outside of the game.
I
whereas
do
God
listen to it more
War,
outside of the game. Yep.
It's not my style.
But yeah, it's like they're all super high quality, like unbelievable quality. That's the thing. So.
Yeah, I think both of them add a really cool credits song too, with an actual singer who just crushes it with some great lyrics that fits the game and the tone and all that. I just give God of War the edge because I liked that song a bit more, and there's certain moments where the music jumped out at me as I was playing. Where in Horizon, I was more of a looking back on it. I was like, yeah, that music was really great, and I listened to it. God of War had moments where I was watching the game, watching a moment play out, and I was thinking, my gosh, this music's amazing. So like that's what gets the edge for me.
So
For
it's between Kyle and Jeff because Horizon me and Dan pick Horizon. Tim picks God of War. So what are y'all's pick for
Jeff and
between
Kyle?
those two?
Go ahead, Jeff.
Oh, my top 3 is exactly how it's listed right there.
Okay, so he's
I
got
think-
God of War.
Yeah, I think the Ragnarok score. I mean, I haven't listened to either of these outside of the game, honestly. But Ragnarok.
You're too busy making music, buddy.
Hey man, I'm making hits.
We got a musician over here.
Hey.
But the Ragnarok, the way that it used its music to drive the emotion of certain scenes, like let's just call them. There's a reunion scene, and then there's a scene where Kratos is looking at a drawing of something, and
Yep.
music
I thought of that
is
point too.
It's just unbelievable. And then there's a moment right before that happens where Kratos is looking at something that's walking away, and again, I'm like, the music is what's driving my emotion in that moment.
Such
like,
powerful moments, yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like the music is like accenting what's already a powerful moment like extremely well. And Horizon doesn't really have those I guess that's more of a story issue at that point. Where
Yeah,
Horizon,
It has a
let's say,
couple
half
of them
story.
though. There's a character
yeah.
death where it kicks in a way that
Oh yes, for sure. But I just mean it's just not as consistently strong.
right. Right.
But
And they
the
both
score,
have
that's nothing
boss
against the
fight.
score though. So I mean, that's not really a knock
They
against.
both
the
have
score.
amazing encounter music during certain boss fights.
Yes,
and they both that swells.
Yeah, the dynamic. It's got that dynamic music that pretty much every game does at this point. Where whenever you get into combat, where every expensive game does, where
Yes.
like it's it kicks in and you're like, oh,
And
this is a fight. I
It
feel like I'm in a
seamlessly
fight
kicks
right
into
now.
it, right? It just
Yeah.
kind of seamlessly.
And then it fades out in like a natural way, an organic
Yeah.
way. It doesn't just cut off. Like in Pentiment, that's my knock against that, where it's like, oh, that scene was crazy, and then just cuts off and loads to the next screen, and I'm like, what the hell?
It's so jarring. It's so jarring.
It's so weird. Like Obsidian, you have money. What are you doing?
What do you have going on
yeah.
with your top 4 over here?
I like if we're talking God of War and Horizon, God of War probably for me, even though maybe going into this night I was looking more fondly on Horizon. I think it was my first game of the year that I was like, boy, the music, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think I just like have that first memory. But God of War has a sense of control where I know exactly, and not because the story's not doing it, but I know exactly how I'm supposed to feel in every single scene of that game.
Yeah.
And I think that's in thanks to the music. It's very controlling. It's very present, and I think that because of that, I'd probably say God of War.
And not only that point, which I obviously agree with, but like, I think the melodies are just a little stronger. Like I just can point out the theme belonging to most characters in the game, just because of how melodies are so well written by Bear. And Horizon does have a melody. Don't get me wrong. And Plague Tale too, especially, has a very recognizable melody in its main theme.
It does. Yep.
But I just feel like God of War is a little stronger in that area.
Yeah.
I guess you call them motifs in the music world. Whatever.
Yeah, I think based on the 5 of us trying to work through these, and I like this because it was a shared list, a debated list, sort of, but really this is one of those ones that you finish and feel like, yeah, we're just having fun celebrating a bunch of awesomeness.
Right. Yeah.
And I hope no one feels like their opinion or game or slighted. Like there's a bunch of the stuff under this consideration column I still think is amazing, like really really good music.
I mean, I went into this not really having super strong feelings about anything, because I honestly, like, when I'm playing the game I'll notice stuff, but after I'm done with the game I totally forget. Like if you're like, pick your favorite soundtrack, I don't have anything, but then once we started playing clips and start like playing stuff, I was like, oh no, this is really really good. I do remember like feeling something, like, so
the clips make it fun.
And I do love that having those clips there to add context helps me with games like DioField and
me too.
And Elden Ring, where I'm like, okay, I don't know, guys. Like it's easier to argue for something that's right there, and you can just.
It's hard to
listen
describe
to it,
music like we can other elements of games, right? So,
well,
our top 10 guys, at number 10 we have Gotham Knights, Suck at Critics. Number 9 we've got Teenage
would have been
Mutant Ninja
higher
Turtles.
if they didn't live in La
It was
Vida
Live in La Vida
Loca.
Loca.
It was number one until that.
They had to try to live a crazy life.
It was probably up in that 6 to 8 range, but too bad. So number 10, Gotham Knights. Number 9, Ninja Turtles. Number 8, Midnight Fight Express. Number 7, Elden Ring. Number 6, The DioField Chronicle. Number 5, Sonic Frontiers. Number 4, Xenoblade. Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Number 3 is Plague Tale Requiem. Number 2, Horizon Forbidden West. And number 1, God of War Ragnarok. Best music of 2022.
I still say if Sean Messler was watching this, objectively, we were wrong.
Somehow.
Objectively.
Man, you really just dropping his name there, huh?
Elden Ring being 7, we're objectively
Is he like the new?
wrong.
Is he the 6th host? Why are we bringing him up?
Yeah. Who cares about this guy? What are we doing?
He needs to be on our show.
Who cares about this guy?
Why is this 2 weeks in a row now?
Objectively, he should be on
He's
the
not
show.
here, though, so.
I think the wackiest thing is Sonic being in top 5 of anything. I mean,
Well deserved.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well deserved.
And this-
Except, I'm about to bring it up again. So who knows?
Dude, it's good. It's a
God
good
damn it.
soundtrack. All right, let's before
God
we
damn it.
circle back on
I'm
ranking
gonna
our
run that song for you.
overall
You
best
can't,
overall
it's too
game of the
good.
year. Let's talk about our best surprise games of the year. What games surprised you this year? It doesn't have to be a ranked list unless you have them. Like I'm just gonna list some games that surprised me this year.
Oh, buddy, I ranked them.
Jeff's got them
I
ranked.
ranked them.
Jeff's got them.
Jeff loves
Jeff go
ranking.
first.
Really?
Yeah. So and surprise, you define that, whether it was like I thought it would be bad, or I didn't know it existed, or whatever your thing is, like whatever surprised you the most this year. So Jeff, why don't you kick us off if you've already got a ranked list?
Yeah, my number. Well, the ranking of it is dependent on my expectations or how annoying I felt people were being about a game that there was no way it was going to be good. And then I played it and I was like, oh my God, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So number 5 is Neon White.
Yeah.
That's a prime example of that, where it's not just him. It was multiple people, publications too, going, this game is so good. And me going, whatever, it's Chicory Tale all over again. It's crap. And then I played it and it's amazing. And I love it. And it's like in my top 5 and we'll discuss that. So my number 4 is Gotham Knights. And again, that's just because of me being worried and how the reviews portrayed the game and how I was like, okay, so this is going to be bad then, right? And then, I remember fondly and very vividly playing multiplayer with Kyle. That's when I was like, okay, this game is something actually really special and really good. Yeah. And my number 3 is Vampire Survivors, because look at that game. It's supposed to be trash, okay? It's supposed to be ass.
Yeah.
And it's so fun and so addicting.
So good.
Number 2 is Sonic Frontiers, because of, again, it's kind of like the lead-in for Gotham Knights, where everybody was so sure this was going to be not good, 5 out of 10 at best. And it's a lot of fun. And we talked about the music, but I mean, that's not the only aspect of it that's really fun. It's got good exploration too. My number 1 is mainly number 1 because I didn't expect it to be so addicting and have such a gratifying loop. And that's Midnight Suns. And it's the type of gameplay that I hate. I don't like turn-based anything. Like, I just don't. But the way that they do it with cards and stuff like that is just it's so fun, and it kind of makes me eager to go back and be like, oh, I got a new card, I gotta go try it now. Like, it makes me eager to go back into combat. That's my main 5.
I love when a genre surprises you. It's like, I shouldn't like this.
Sure.
Like, Forza Horizon 5, I think for both of us, Jeff, last year, where everyone else had normally been playing those games, I feel like, but we were like, this might be my favorite.
It was it's still my number 1 game of the year for me.
So good.
But like 4 and 3 I played a lot of, but it wasn't it was never like top 10. It was always like that was really fun, but calm down, like
something on 5. Something on 5 got me.
Yeah.
Kyle, what are some of your best surprises of the year in gaming?
I did a 5. My number 5 is Arcade Paradise. Me and you are the chore dudes, Tim. But like when you were like, you're doing laundry in this game and yada yada, I'm like, I'm not playing that.
Yeah. That would have
on sale, and I picked it up, and
that's up there for me, for sure.
Boy, I'm still doing laundry all these weeks later. I'm like 9 hours into that game. Really, really, really cool. All the vibes in that game are great. Another one was, after all the delays and after how many years it's been since I played a Lego game, I didn't know if the comedy was going to fit for me. Lego Star Wars is a big surprise for me. I ended up like playing like 20 to 30 hours like in the first like 2 weeks of that game coming out. I was really just obsessed with going to the next planet, doing the next thing, laughing at the jokes, which was wild to me. And just I thought that game was going to be in trouble. It got delayed like 2 years. You know what I mean? Like, usually games don't do so well for that. Xenoblade would be the next one. I haven't beaten an JRPG in a long time. I think Derek and I went on a similar journey with this one, where it's like we enjoy these long, dumb, melodramatic games again about teenagers finding themselves or something. It really did it for me, and it really reminded me that, hey, I like that franchise. And then Midnight Suns would be the next one. The second they said, hey, it's going to be card based, I was like, ugh, I'm out on that. That sounds stupid. I put like 40 or 50 hours in that game in about 3 weeks, so I guess I like it. And then my number 1 out of all of them, just because I had no idea that this was even going to come out until like October, is Need for Speed Unbound. I just couldn't believe that we were getting a Need for Speed game, and that it was at least a fun enough racer to satiate my palate cleansing for the end of the year. So when usually like a game like, and not everything's like Fallout 4, where like, I guess that game was kind of mixed as well, but like, you don't have any marketing for a game in the wind up, and this is considered for a lot of journalists one of the better Need for Speeds that come out in a while, and it's interesting that it's still kind of a hit, even though like there was zero marketing and weird marketing for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, big
awesome.
Surprises.
Good year for surprises. Dan, what about you? What kind of caught you off guard this year, in good or bad ways?
Pretty similar stuff from what's been said. Arcade Paradise, Vampire Survivors, Sonic Frontiers. Which actually, Jeff, did you ever? I don't know if you got far enough. Did you fight any of like sort of the like stingray type enemies that looks like it almost has like some sort of thing draping behind them?
there's a trail that you have to jump on and actually run to catch up to them, right? Yeah. So that's about where I stopped because I kept getting frustrated.
Okay.
And then there was so much going on, I didn't go back to it yet.
Yeah, I just want to mention that because like it actually, I didn't even like realize it until like I actually beat one of them. I was like, oh shit, this is basically like an homage to the like little bonus levels where you're trying to get the Chaos Emeralds from the old Sonic games, where it's like there's that loop thing. I don't know if you guys remember that loop.
I don't.
No. That was kind of almost like looked like a skating like if you're skateboarding, like one of those kind of loops.
Talking about half pipes?
Yeah, half pipes. Like I don't know if you guys remember those bonus levels in the Sonic.
I don't
game.
For some reason.
No?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. For like the old school ones.
It's like an homage to that because basically this stingray is like flying around, but it's like it's doing all these kind of twists and turns like however it wants to. Yeah. And it's just really fun because it's happening in real time the way it's turning, and you're having to like sort of dodge what was like spikes then, but like he's throwing energy balls
like
at
Sonic of the Colossus. I'm in.
Yeah, it pretty much there's literally Titans in the game.
That's
they're running up like.
Yeah, I beat like 2 bosses already that before I got to the stingray type creature that were Titans, and I'm like, this is just
epic.
It has no right to feel as fun as it is. Yeah. It just really doesn't.
But yeah, also Neon White, of course, which I knew was going to be fun. I was always obviously being sarcastic. I was just more concerned about like the combat. I was like, I don't know about cards, but then like once I played, I'm like, oh no, this is really fun.
Yeah.
And then Beacon Pines, because I just like I didn't know what that was. I did like the actual look. I liked the presentation. I was like, oh well, this looks cool. And then the storybook element is cool. And then once I dove into like the story and making the choices and realized like it's like way darker than it needs to be because you're literally playing as kids.
Yes.
You're playing as kids, and it's like, whoa, this is actually pretty shocking. Like
there are people disappearing. The bad guys in the game that at least at the point that I'm at have no problem abducting kids. They have no issue doing morally bankrupt things. It's very interesting. Yeah.
So I was definitely surprised by that. So
nice. Yeah. Derek, what about you? What were some standouts this year that caught you off guard in some way, shape, or form?
I've got 8, so I'll just start real quick. I won't like.
Can I ask? Does anybody have any bad surprises? I didn't even consider that.
I have one. It's not super bad. It's more. I'll tell you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Go ahead, Derek. Sorry.
8 would be Lost Eidolons because I didn't even know that thing existed, and then I went and checked it out, and kind of like talking about what you all were saying earlier about certain genres, you not really being into them and then kind of getting into them. I feel like that's what 2022 was. I've always liked JRPGs, but I never finished them. So to jump into JRPGs and strategy RPGs, that's the same thing. Like, hey, I appreciate Fire Emblem, but I didn't always finish Fire Emblem games. In fact, I think 2022 was the first time I finished a Fire Emblem game. Huh. I think so. So anyway, so Lost Eidolons is a great game. Nice surprise. Steel Rising. So even though I like the developer a lot, I actually thought this game was going to be trash. And I actually really, really, really enjoyed it. It's
you completed that game.
Yep. Absolutely beat that game. Callisto Protocol, again, wasn't as hyped as other people around the world. And then as it got closer to release, got a little excited, and then when it came out, I absolutely loved it. I beat it right away, and I've said it before. I will definitely play New Game Plus once they patch that in.
I think most people were like surprised in a negative way with Callisto Protocol. So
I
like that
you were surprised in a positive. Yeah,
that's cool.
And then Astergos, I think that game was again. I thought it was gonna be bad. I absolutely loved it. It's in my top 10. Dealfield Chronicles goes with the theme of like I don't play these type of games, and I bought it. Not surprising that I buy games that I shouldn't buy, but I'm more surprised that again from launch to completion, like right away.
It was weeks. It was weeks. Like it wasn't long at all. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I put 40 hours into that game. So I love that game. A Plague's Tale Requiem is a huge surprise. Yeah. Because I struggled with the first one. It took me 3 or 4 years to beat that game.
Yeah.
And then I played Plague's Tale Requiem again, beat it at launch, loved it, enjoyed the gameplay. So I know people had a problem with it. I loved it. Yeah. Another surprise, and this is one that I bought very, very, very late in 2022. It's not technically a launch game, but Baldur's Gate 3, again, not my style of game. I don't play old school RPGs. I like the decision making. I love all the branching stuff, but I hate the gameplay. This game, I'm not good at it. I'm not smart enough to play this game. I'm actually too stupid to play this game, but I loved it. I cannot wait until it fully launches. I invested over 12 hours into it and still plan to restart it and play some more. And then the number one surprise is, of course, I expected to like this game, but as Kyle said, did not expect to beat it, and that's Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and to rank it as my top JRPG of all time, which is, again, even though I don't play beat a lot.
You play a lot of them. You just don't finish all of them.
I play a lot of them, but the ones that I have finished are very special in my heart. So like Final Fantasy X. It's not easy to beat Final Fantasy X, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3 did that for me. So
nice. You guys already called out a bunch of surprises that were also there for me. Neon White, Vampire Survivors, Arcade Paradise, 3 of my favorites from the 2 that surprised me. I saw them mention some different ones. Here's a negative one to get out of the way. Trek to Yomi. It surprised me how bad that the game was to play with how good it was.
And how much everybody agreed about how bad it was, though. You know, I figured there'd be like one person online being like, actually, I kind of like it. No,
like it has some interesting combat systems, but none of them are done well. The controls are not responsive. It's just very, very disappointing to actually play because it really does decrease with how good it looks. So anyway, that was a surprise to me. I really thought that would at bare minimum be a competent action game with some cool visuals, and it wasn't
pretty easy to do a side-scrolling sword game.
So many people have done it. So many devs have done
it in some way. Yeah,
I was very disappointed with that. So that's a negative surprise. But here's a couple positive ones. Out of nowhere, this game not for broadcast popped up, and that was a fun surprise of like VHS tapes, an old school British newsroom that kind of feels like a Devolver sketch that never ends. Like, all right, sign me up for this thing. It is a weird, wacky way to interact with a video game, but it is fun and silly. I don't know if it's like the whole game is super fun, but I've played like 3 of the little missions or whatever, the levels, and they're all clever and silly. And it surprised me. The Quarry surprised me. I don't really like these kind of games usually. I'm not a big fan of most horror games, and slasher flicks aren't my favorite genre of movie. Why do I like this? Well, I don't know. It's just really good. Yeah. It also had to do with the fact that we all played it together and did a spoiler cast. We talked about it.
I think they did a good job of like making it like a community type game.
Yeah,
it was fun to like share stuff with each other about that one. Yeah.
If I had held off and I tried to play it now, maybe I wouldn't have liked it as much as I did.
I'm wondering how much of the communal stuff like amplified that game now. That
it did for me. Yeah,
it did for me. Yeah, it did for me too. So that was a very pleasant surprise for me. V Rising was another one. Didn't know this game existed. As soon as I saw that it existed and it said, because you like Valheim, you might like this. And I was like, what? I played a little bit of Valheim. Maybe I'll check this one out. So it is basically, I talked about it, isometric vampire-themed Valheim. It's pretty much what it is. And it is so good. I'm surprised at how good it is at being an early access. I think
so. Your D was rising while you were playing B.
I refuse to.
Can I take that one in? Can I take that one into 2023?
Yeah, that one's okay in 2023.
Rise, brother.
Yeah, you can bring that one.
Yeah, bring that one with us.
That's what Tim said. Rise, brother. He looked down. Rise, brother.
When he asked me for permission for the joke, I said rise. All right. Number one surprise for me actually ends up being, no big spoiler here, my number one game of the year, and that's Elden Ring. Guys, I am not a FromSoft fan. I know Dan likes to like crap on FromSoft as a general rule, and that's totally fine. Dan, you do you, buddy. You got the best setup out of all of us, and so you can do whatever you want.
Appreciate
I am not a FromSoft hater or mega fan. I'm just not. Like I've enjoyed Bloodborne. I thought that was a really awesome game, but it's like number 4 of the 2015 games. I look back at them. I don't think it was that good. I just thought it was really good. I could not get through the Dark Souls games. I couldn't get through any of I've tried all 3 Dark Souls and I couldn't get through them. I just thought they were fine, but like they weren't my thing. I tried the Demon Souls thing. I tried starting that game 3 times. The remake wasn't my thing. Elden Ring worked for me, and I think everyone between here and forever will explain why. Maybe we'll talk about it more, but it clicked on it checked every box that I want in a game, in addition to the things that continue making me want to be good and try Dark Souls games. I keep trying them, right? I keep trying the FromSoft games, Sekiro as well, and I just can't. they don't click with me, and this one did. And so we'll talk more about that. That was my number one surprise.
Just want to put a little asterisk there. I'm not a hater, by the way. I'm not a hater. Just a little asterisk.
No, you're definitely a hater.
Definitely a hater. We'll
No,
talk
I'm not
about
a
that.
hater. I'm not a hater. I don't actually.
That's like you saying that you're not a Strangers of Paradise hater. You're a hater.
That game makes me furious because it's an insult to the entire.
Oh,
series.
by the way, Strangers of Paradise is a nice surprise.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're something.
Oh, Derek, I'm sorry, Dan. Is it fair to say that Strangers of Paradise surprised you how much you didn't like it? Is that
No,
you seem pretty prepared.
No, because when I saw because again, it's predominantly Jack Garland. I just think he's an obnoxious douchebag.
I think a lot of people hated the trailers. You know what I mean? So it's like you didn't pivot at all. You know,
no,
you're like, no, that was garbage. Yeah.
And the game just leans into it. Which, to be fair, there are some actually super hilarious, genuinely hilarious moments. Like, and I told you guys about the one where like there's the Lich King or whatever that's like delivering this really serious like I'm the Lich King, and he jumps up in the air and he's like he's like I don't give a what your name is or whatever, and he like just punches him in the face. Like he just cuts him mid sentence. He jumps up.
That's
like, I don't give a
literally an alpha video game.
Yeah, well,
I
mean that's obnoxious
like
because it's obnoxious. That's why.
It sounds a little too much. All right, so those are some of our favorite surprises from the year. Let's jump into the final stretch here of our Game of the Year debates. It's a little sad that we're already wrapping up the debates. I really like doing these lists.
I'm very depressed about this.
We should make twice the amount of categories.
Categories next year. Actually,
it's a whole month of.
It's kind of like okay. So let me just say this real quick. We actually, my wife and I were talking about how our favorite. We were like in May or June. We're like our favorite holidays are all clumped at the end of the year. It's kind of a bummer that sometimes the spring and summer can feel a little bit like there's nothing really big coming up. So we just decided to do Thanksgiving in July with two friends of ours.
That's really smart.
That's a great idea.
And we had a blast, man. We even watched like Christmas movie, even though it was hot. Like it was just really fun to do the whole.
You can just measure that. You're totally right about holidays because like I have I have a random day off in February. I think it's President's Day or some bull crap. And then I don't have a day off again until like July or May or whatever. It's stupid.
Yeah,
so everything's so scattered.
I say that because I feel like with our show, we might end up doing some sort of. We've done one ranking thing right now. We might do something mid-summer when things are a little slower.
We should call it the solstice list or something like that. Yeah, the summer solstice list. Yeah,
I like that. But yeah, we could rank whether it's like, hey, let's revisit a year that. Or maybe it's ranking the years even. Like there's some things we could work together to like let's rank a list of some kind together. So anyway, we'll circle back to that. But let's jump in here. Best overall game of the year. Hang on, I don't need to share my sound this time. So there we go. Share. There. You guys can see.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
How about you move a little to the left, to the right, please? Game of the year.
That is basically unpacking, but worse.
It's a way worse unpacking. It's I beat unpacking.
Oh, obviously, is that what it is?
Worse.
I did too, and it has one of the worst.
So mad.
You know what, Dan?
Right I'm just
Dan, what Jeff just said saved your job. Jeff is now cut.
You understand this is not actually a job. None of us are getting paid to do this.
Don't ruin it for us, Dan. Don't ruin it. All right, I'm going to move A Plague Tale over to the consideration column. Who wants to be brave and throw something else out as we work our way down here?
Can we just say Babylon's Fall?
Babylon. Thank you, Dan. Thank you so much for being there with me. I appreciate you.
Yeah, Babylon's Fall.
Tim just deletes it.
You know what? I'm going to go like this. I'm just going to make 2 copies of
can we bring As Dusk Fall over?
2 copies.
I know it won't be top 10, but I want As Dusk Falls and Asterios over.
Okay. All right. What else on this list here? Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Is that a contender for top 10?
No.
Not
for me.
No.
God of War.
I love that game, and I'm spending so much time playing Warzone. No.
Okay. Is Cult of the Lamb a Game of the Year contender? It's at least worth considering.
I think it's worth considering.
I don't think it's going to make it.
It won't be in the 10 though. I don't think.
It's truly excellent though.
I think so too. Yeah.
I think Elden Ring might be in consideration.
Maybe. I don't know. Look at that score. It's so
Am I the only one that liked Dying Light 2?
Yeah,
that game was so broken for me.
I didn't play it,
and that's frustrating because
we'll put it in the consideration
list.
That
is like,
yeah, but I just figured if I'm the only one, it's not going to go anywhere.
It might not go much farther.
You should bring it over because like that. Yeah, I think that. I would have
Evil West
the hell out of that game if it worked for me.
Evil West a top 10 contender for anybody? Okay.
No. It's
it was
good,
one
though.
of the,
I really
actually
liked it.
I should have talked about, like, I was actually hyped for that game. So it would actually be on my list of, like, it's not a bad game. That's not what I'm saying. It's actually disappointing to me because I actually thought it was going to be a top 10 game for me.
This ragamuffin, as Dan lovingly calls it, which
Yeah.
I
I wouldn't
still
say
like
so.
that.
Gotham
snore.
Knights.
Gotta
Gotham
snore.
Knights.
Gotham Knights.
Gotham Knights.
Yeah.
Derek, what do you feel about Gran
Out of
Turismo?
spite.
I was
Gran
gonna
Turismo
say,
7?
can we bring Gran Turismo? It's easily to me the best racer of 20.
I would talk about
22.
that one. Yeah.
Horizon, obviously.
Horizon Forbidden West. What about High on Life? Is that good enough to be considered here?
Not even a top 15 for me. It's
All right.
Yeah,
It's
very
good, though.
surprising.
Really
though.
good.
I'm actually surprised how much I like that game. So
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Lego Star Wars. Top 10?
it's in my 10, but that's a me thing, man. So
Well, you can bring it over.
I
I
liked
would bring it
a lot.
over, but I'm very quick to let that darling go.
Okay.
Kirby's in my 10.
Kirby. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to skip over that one.
Yeah.
Kirby, of course.
Still
is a great one.
excited to get that game back and actually play it.
I'm going to move
Yeah.
Mario
It
plus
sounds-
Rabbids. Mario plus Rabbids
But
with the consideration.
I picked Mission Impossible, the collection, over it. So
How
I'll
dare
have to
you?
wait.
Tom Cruise
I know.
and Sinew, thank you
That's
for your
true.
contribution.
Marvel's Midnight Suns has got to be in
Yes.
consideration, right?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. Midnight Fight
about
Express. For
Midnight
sure.
Fight Express. Okay.
But that one, yeah.
Dan Metal Hellsinger? Yes? No?
I mean, that's not gonna make the.
Yeah,
It's
but we
really
can
fun.
just-
It's really fun.
Is it in your top
if
10?
it's a game, yeah,
It's in
if
my
it's
top-
in your top 10.
I mean, move it over because I don't know what my top 10 is in my head. I don't do
You
lists
don't?
like you
Okay.
guys do for fun.
Oh,
So
you are terrible. What a
Not even your
terrible
top
person.
10.
Does anyone else feel slightly
don't do lists,
insulted
no.
by that just now?
I
Very
felt,
insulting.
I
What show do you
didn't
think
mean
you're
wrong
on?
by it, and I know
Jeff,
that.
your
but it
job
did hurt
is
my feelings a
saved.
little
So-
Daniel, you are fired again.
the way my
God.
again,
This guy.
not getting paid for this. The way I do it in my head is like I have like top 3, like I know what my top 3 is, but
Oh,
then
that's
like
fair.
after
That
that,
makes
it's like
sense.
nebulous. It kind of bounces around. Like
That makes
So
sense.
Strangers
Lists
of
are fluid.
Paradise would definitely be top 3.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna bring
absolutely.
bring Neon White over.
Yes, I second that.
Pentiment, bring it over.
I say so.
Okay.
I mean, it's in my 10, so yeah.
Pokemon Legends or just Scarlet and Violet or both.
I mean, I did
bring
have
it over.
fun with it, but Kyle, would we fight? with-
Arceus.
I wouldn't fight for top 10. It's not in my 10
Okay.
personally.
Yeah.
Neither. of
I
them.
want to
Power
say
Wash
also, just
Damn.
as another disappointing game that I didn't even think about until we just looked at it, the new Tales of Borderlands. I found that to be.
Oh, yeah. Big
Oh,
disappointment. Yeah.
I was actually super excited when that was.
I
in
was
Me too.
too.
Me too.
Once I
Didn't it
saw
have the Telltale
Gaston was like,
logo on it?
I hated it and I wanted to love it. Or he didn't hate it, but he's like, it was the total letdown.
Yeah,
like, I'm totally out then.
I only saw through the first episode and I was like, okay, I don't like this. He saw through the first episode and was like, oh, it's got a hook, and he saw some positives, but as he went along, he saw how worse it was, and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
see, his opinion validated.
Well, yeah, Jeff, and you're such a huge fan too, so you being out, like there was a couple strikes for that game before.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oops, I brought this over instead. Okay, Rollerdrome top 10.
Not for me.
Not for
Okay.
me.
Saints Row, Return to Monkey
Hell
Island.
People
yeah,
were wrong about
bruh.
that game, but yeah, don't bring that over.
I like these are games that I like for sure, but not.
Yep. Rogue Legacy
consideration.
2. I don't think it's
I
gonna make
liked it.
our top 10, but I do like it a lot. It's very
I
good.
like it, man.
That's good.
Got a 90. That's really good.
Yeah.
It's gonna just sit here so we at least have credit for considering it. Let's see.
I really wish I played Signal.
Sifu, of course.
Sifu.
needs to come
Sifu,
over.
yeah.
Do y'all want to bring over Sonic Frontiers?
Sonic Frontiers.
I mean,
Why not?
Is
Bring
it
it
in
over.
your? Is it in
Let's
anybody's
consider it.
individual top 10?
No.
I didn't
no.
play it enough to rank it, honestly.
Oh, then it's
Okay.
a false bring over, but
Yeah.
it's
That
a
sounds
Sports
Fall.
Story. I should have listed this as a negative surprise. This is actually down to 54 now. I saw on Metacritic.
oh gosh,
Man,
how-
it's not good. Yeah.
I mean, oof to the max, right? Like that's
Yeah.
just-
that's a big
all the
one.
way to the
That's a
max.
big-
Star Ocean's another nice little
surprise.
Surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounded like it was a surprise for a lot of people. Yeah.
Oh, I just closed that by accident. Oh well. Star Ocean bringing that over or no?
No,
Okay.
it's not worthy of
Still
top 10.
Rising.
Only for the
do
mullet.
we do Stray because it got nominated and all that stuff? Or
No,
I mean,
dude,
is
does
it
someone
in
want
anybody's
it?
top 10?
do we feel genuinely
I
strong
don't
enough?
feel an obligation to do it. I feel like this is
I don't
one to
either.
kick while it's down. You know, like
I like the game,
But I
just
think
Kick the
don't-
cat.
Dan liked it a lot.
All right.
I
So
did
Did you
like
like
it.
it a lot.
But again, I did like it. I don't know if it would be top 10.
So I
Okay,
actually
so
did
then
rank
cut
my
it.
games like through the 40s, right? I probably did way too much,
Oh, I
but
just did 15.
Wow, what a
I-
freaking nerd.
yeah, I am a nerd. We're
Yeah.
doing a video game podcast. We are all
Yeah,
nerds.
mine's about
Yeah,
that long
but
too,
I'm
Tim,
like
and it
the
is
coolest
ranked.
nerd.
So yeah.
Yeah, you're not though. You're not
That's
though.
one way of putting it. That's one way of putting it.
But
You
yeah,
telling
Stray,
me I'm not is not changing my mind.
Stray's at 16. for me
Shocking.
after ranking all of them. So.
Why is this gray? Am I the only
Sorry,
one
that's
getting
my
grayed
bad.
out?
That's my bad.
No,
Okay,
that's great.
okay.
So I don't even have it in my top 10, although I did finish it and I liked it. But it's
Good. I like the fact we're gonna leave Stray.
Ooh, Ninja
That's
Turtles.
It's going to be a Stray forever now. That's what
Is
Yeah.
Ninja Turtles a
free
top
thinkers.
10?
Yes, Ninja Turtles. Yes, absolutely.
The
bring
way
it over.
you guys talk about it, it has to come over. For me, Callisto Protocol
Bring
is
it over.
top 10.
Field.
Okay.
Bring it over.
Dio
Dio
Field?
Field sounds like a
right?
few of us like that one.
Yes,
Me,
I
yeah,
love that game.
that would be in my top 10.
The
yeah.
Quarry. The Quarry.
The Quarry, yeah,
Quarry?
for sure.
Quarry.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
Quarry.
if you don't like this game, you're wrong. Yeah,
Weirdly
you
enough,
came into it with the
Quarry
wrong head. Yeah.
Just barely missed the cut for me. Like it's number 11 for me. It's really
that
high.
makes sense. That
Yeah,
makes sense.
I really
Yeah,
like
it's really low. It's in my 10, but it's like low.
It's in my
like, yeah.
10. Yeah, but it's lower.
It's really good. I feel like I wish some of us had played Legend of Heroes: Trail from Zero. That game
You would
just
hear me
Look at that.
talking about that game nonstop. I've tried to
Look at
start it multiple times, and I've
Oh, have
never
you?
started it.
Look
Yeah.
at that.
Isn't
score,
that
dude.
the
That's a
old
great
school
score.
looking
Yeah.
one?
Yeah, I think
It
so.
is old school, yeah. Like it, but it's like
not the other.
it's newer style old school, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it
Okay.
has a cell shading to it. Maybe I can't remember.
The Legend
Yeah,
of Heroes
kinda-
series has like two different like.
Yeah, no,
release
this is the
dates.
older
They
school,
were-
not the 3D.
It's more like
models. Yeah.
chibi, like kind of classic PlayStation
Yep.
1 RPGs. Like
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like
Like
Trails in the
Dreamcast
Sky, not
Yep,
not
yep.
Trails of Steel.
Tinykin, Jeff. Is that in your
yeah.
top 10?
Not in my 10, but it is in. Wait,
just
actually, hold on a
consider.
sec.
Does anybody care about Tiny Tina?
No, it's not my 10. But I
Tiny
do
Tina's
love it.
Wonderlands?
Tiny Tina rolled into my top 15 for all year, pretty much. So, but
I think all of
not
us
my
that played
top
it
10.
really liked it, so I guess we
Yep.
should just move it over.
You guys were.
finish.
Can we just make a statement for Rainbow Six Extraction being just one of the worst pieces of crap the entire year?
dude, Ubisoft is having a great year.
Yeah,
That's our
Ubisoft
official
is just
statement.
like they just decided, hey, we don't know how to like run a game studio anymore. So
It's
Yeah.
no,
That's an
it's
amazing
no
official statement. By the way.
Crossfire X or nothing, but
Yeah.
you know, it's
Did
pretty
anyone
close.
play
So
enough
Crossfire.
Triangle
Yeah,
Strategy
that's
to
fair.
rank it?
I did
I
not
really
play
wish
it
I played
enough.
more of that game. I really was into the story and what I played of it, but just like things get in the way. Things stop sometimes. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was before I got into strategy RPGs. Otherwise, I probably would have played it and beat it.
Vampire Survivors.
I've got that one in my top 10.
Yeah,
So I'm
it's
moving
not
it
my
over
10,
to at
but
least-
it's just really
It's not
good.
my 10, but I'll fight for it to be in the 10.
Yeah, it's I love that game. I've got that and V Rising back to back. It's just a whole bunch of V right there in my
Yeah.
list.
The V makes your
Um,
D rise, is what you're trying to say.
No, that's what Derek would say.
We're skidding
As
into it.
Xenoblade.
I
Xenoblade
mean,
Chronicles
I am
3.
the coolest guy on this podcast, so what I say matters. So, yeah.
Sure.
First of all, it's a low bar to set. Second of all, no, you're not.
I just wanted you to correct me again and tell me, no, you're not. You're not.
No,
that
you're not.
Cool.
So
So you're not moving V Rising over?
I mean, I'm the only one who's played it, right?
Yeah,
I played it.
I'm
It's not my top 10, but I played it. Yeah.
I'm kind of in the same boat on Card Shark. Like it's in my like top 15 or whatever, but I'm not gonna bring it over because why?
I've got it at number 6, but this is also a game that, like, similar to Valheim, I'm gonna be later. I don't care what lists it makes. Later, I'll be annoying about it as they put out major updates and get the game closer to 1.0. I'll be like, guys, you got to go play V Rising now. So
Yeah, is
It's
it like
one I'm really excited to circle
officially-
back.
It
to,
is in-
'cause I
it's
think cool.
officially
Is it
out-
officially launching in 2023?
yes, because the early access is now available. Yeah,
Yeah, see, that's when you can, to me, consider it. Same thing with Baldur's Gate 3. I have a feeling you're going
That's
to hear
fair.
me talk a lot of stuff about Baldur's Gate.
I think last year we gave him Valheim, so
we did last
we
year.
kind of made a precedent.
But I think,
so-
Dan, as you and I talked about Valheim too, we were like, this game is basically a complete game. They're going to add more to it.
Yeah, it sounds.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Yeah,
put
yeah,
in 100 hours into that game, I think. So it's like, or
Dude,
at
my
least
hour
dozens.
count now on that game is over 500.
Get out of here! I was being okay. Wow.
I mean,
Wow.
like the thing
I
is,
was
like at this
retracting
point,
back.
it's,
I was like maybe 50.
Yeah.
at this point, it's just like updates to that, like massive like DLCs or whatever. It's like the game is, even when it came out, it's like, to me, this is a full game. Like,
Yeah,
I-
and y'all
I-
always described it as a full game. So
Yeah.
All
right.
Tim and Kyle, should we move over Arcade Paradise since we all loved it? I mean,
It's
I
at
mean, we'll bring it over.
12. It's at
Yeah.
12 for me, so it didn't quite make my list, but I do like it a lot.
Yeah, it's up there in my top 15 or whatever.
Yeah,
Same.
I haven't played enough of it, but yeah, I enjoy it for sure.
We
Might as
hang our
well.
heads in shame that we didn't play enough Bayonetta 3
Yeah,
collectively.
Bayonetta 3 is. We
86.
should feel bad about that.
That's going to be a major omission, I think. Beacon Pines did get highly reviewed, and Dan loves it. Is that a top 10 consideration, Dan?
I mean,
I
it might be
didn't play
for
it.
me, so we
Jeff
can.
played it a bunch.
Yeah, I played. I'm almost done with it. It's great.
I think it's
at least
an
worth
excellent
putting here, right?
story. Yeah, I
It's
think
at
it's an
just put it
excellent
up.
story.
Bring it over.
Yeah.
Hell,
All
just
right.
bring over Bayonetta 3. We should feel bad about that. So
Yeah, just yeah.
We
Oh,
should
by the
feel
way,
bad.
the music in that game is really good. I
Yeah,
should have
we-
nominated that.
That's most
It sucks now.
overlooked
That's
game
the
of the
official
year.
position of this podcast.
It's
Yeah. Dang it.
Yeah.
Man, I can't believe it. Yeah. That's like one of the most revered like soundtracks of the year for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. Sorry, everybody. Sorry.
Oops. Sorry everybody. Yeah, maybe if we played that
Oopsie.
game we would have thought about it more.
Like Dan said, we don't get paid for this, so don't get mad at us. All right. All right. I think
He's
that's
still
a
fired.
pretty good. I mean, we're in the 33 games we
Good
brought
Lord,
over.
we got a lot.
So I think that's good. Unless I mean, on imitation, anything else? Anything else that I'm missing? Card Shark.
I don't
No,
know if
I
I
think
can.
we're good.
I just don't see a point in bringing them over. I love
Yeah.
those. Well, I love Card Shark in particular, but
Ghostwire Tokyo. Okay.
Like I really liked Anno Mutation, but I don't know if I could say. I don't know if I could possibly say that would be top 10. So, but I did really enjoy it. So
We're not doing a mobile game category, but I think Marvel Snap is the best mobile game I played this year for whatever that's worth.
Definitely.
how dare you?
Low bar, but definitely.
Don't
Very,
even
very
wait.
good.
You're saying the word. You're saying the
Oh.
M word.
Actually, it's actually not. It's the second best because Retro Bowl, which is also on mobile in addition to being on Switch, is my favorite mobile game.
Oh, nice.
And Retro Bowl was like, where did I put that one? I mean, that's like at 14. It's in my top 15 just because I
Wow.
put so much time into playing it and really enjoyed it.
Wow. I didn't know that.
My
That's
boys,
crazy.
my boys didn't grow up on Tecmo Bowl, but they picked up on Retro Bowl and they got hooked on it big time. I mean,
Yeah.
old school pixelated football. They
Well,
loved
that's
it.
pretty fun. That's
Yeah.
pretty fun.
That's pretty fun. Okie dokie. All right, guys, what are we moving over?
Why don't we start with the obvious?
What's obvious to you?
Well,
God of War,
Horizon,
And Elden Ring.
Horizon.
Blade, The Plague's Tale.
Okay. Plague Tale. What did you say? Elden Ring. I missed because you guys were all talking.
Elden
what else did
Ring
you
for
say?
sure. Yeah, 1000%.
Xenoblade.
Xenoblade
And
Horizon.
Horizon. Yeah.
Yeah.
and Horizon. 1000. Yep.
Oops.
Plague's Tale.
Plague
Yep,
Tale.
that's
My
right
bad.
there.
My bad. Horizon. Okay.
Sifu.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we got a lot of cheerleaders for that game.
Yeah. We got a
Or at
lot.
least for the
of
lower. They put it into like a separate.
You guys all
You
have
know,
this top
lower.
10?
I do.
Yeah, I think a lot of us.
Absolutely.
do,
I'm the
yeah.
only
For
one
me,
who
I was-
doesn't care about that game.
With three of us. Yeah.
I'm also on that train there, Derek. I don't hate it, but it's not one of my favorites.
Oh, I thought you liked it more.
I do like it, but it's like it's like 15 basically for me. 15, 16.
Okay.
Like, I like it a lot, but it's not one of my faves.
I say we just move Gotham Knights over now because all of us that have played it
Yeah.
love it too much.
Yeah, I
So,
agree that
Maybe
has to
even
be
in
somewhere
a
there.
separate, more middle tier, since like four of
Yeah,
us like
yeah.
that game.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I would love to make a case for Neon White to be on our top 10 overall list.
I feel like it has to be, honestly. I really do.
It might be more like Sifu, where like there's a
Yeah, it might
couple
be
of us who
low,
love
but
it.
I really want it to be on the list. Like,
Maybe
really.
Do
we'll
it.
put
I
it by
did buy it and play it, and I didn't play it beyond like the first 10 levels because I was like, this is dumb. But
It's
like,
not dumb
I
though,
don't.
but yeah.
I do think you would
It
enjoy
is
it. I
dumb,
think you would
but that
legit
doesn't mean
enjoy it
can't
if
be on
you
your list.
if you play it till you get into the groove of the real meat of the game. I really truly think Derek would like it, but I could be wrong.
I mean, I totally clicked for me like immediately, but again, the combat is, I think, just not for everyone. And for me, I was like, oh, okay, I actually don't mind this. And then obviously the vibe and
Well,
everything.
I don't get in. I'm not into like the time loop. Like, well, you got to do it really fast. I'm like, I don't care about that stuff.
Oh.
It just more annoys me.
Okay. Let's see.
Midnight Suns is top 3 for me.
Well, then,
Wow,
dude,
top 3. Yeah,
let's
it's
bring
up
it.
there for me in my top 10. Absolutely.
Yeah, so it might be worth putting in a lower. Yeah, like right there exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Shredder's Revenge.
We're at-
Yeah, where are we
We're
at?
at 9 right now.
Where are we at with Ninja Turtles, everybody? And I know Dan, you played some of it too, right?
I really
Better
enjoyed
have.
it, but like I'm looking at what's a couple of spots below it, and like I feel very passionately about Diofield.
I think
But, like,
Derek and Dan really
Yeah.
like that game, and I like it enough where it
As
was in my
fall-
top
yeah.
10 for a long time this year. But it did
as
fall
far as
out
like
of
a
it.
small game, yeah.
But
Yeah, so like
there'd be
this is
stuff I'd
funny
fight
because
for him.
I think Gotham Knights we all enjoy immensely. So like that's an obvious one to make the list somewhere. These four have like
Yeah.
like little pods of passionate fans.
Pods of
amongst our
passion,
five.
yeah.
Yeah.
Good
Well,
job.
so does
Good
Shredder's
job,
Revenge
Tim. I
though,
love
because
it.
Passion
more.
pods.
Hold on, because more of us played Shredder's Revenge than Diofield,
I agree with you. That goes in the same little
And,
bucket
like,
right here.
and all of us that played it.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
Derek being
nobody
exception,
played. Yeah,
like, really loved it.
Diofield. Nobody
Like-
played Diofield and didn't like it. See, I didn't care for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles
Yeah, but-
too.
You're
But
outnumbered.
we can have that conversation.
There's a higher number.
No, I'm
of
just
people
saying,
that
like there
liked
is still a
Teenage
difference
Mutant Ninja
between
Turtles.
comparing.
Well,
those
does the Quarry fall in the same bucket as Gotham Knights, where we all immensely enjoyed it enough for it to make our shared list, or is it more of like a but let's make sure we give it a good proper
I
honorable
feel
mention
like
sent
that's
off?
honorable mention. Like we can like
Okay.
it, but I don't.
I
feel
like that's a
top 10.
sacrificial. Like we all loved it, but like if we're talking about like making the hard choices and making sure enough is getting
don't wanna lose out on a
across
darling.
all 5 people,
Well, maybe
that's one to sacrifice.
Well, maybe we
if I
make
had to
it like maybe the Quarry is like a fallback if we can't agree, like we're at a stalemate on one of the
Like, it's a
titles
10.
or whatever. Yeah, like it's like, well, we can't agree on so and so.
Everyone-
Let's just do 10.
Are we
Quarry.
unanimous that Gotham Knights is above the Quarry?
So Dan's the only one
Yeah.
who didn't play
Yeah.
Gotham Knights.
Right. Yeah.
The rest of us, like, is that all in our top 10?
I have
Derek,
Gotham
is that in
Knights
yours?
above.
It's in. Hold on, sorry. It's in
Tim, what's in
my
yours?
number
above mine.
5. It's
Yeah,
number
it's my
5.
number 5 as well.
My
Yeah,
Gotham, Gotham
it's
Knights
like
is number
6 for
8.
me.
It's number 8 for me, and
Wow.
Quarry is 11.
Wow.
So like, Gotham Knights sounds like a pretty shoe-in for
it
middle
also
level
helps that I was
entry.
playing
Yeah,
a lot over
yeah,
Christmas
absolutely.
break, so I was like relaxing and having fun. Like timing of when you play a game makes a difference too. So
It does. It
One
matters.
100% makes
It
a
matters,
difference.
yeah. Yep.
okay, cool. What else do we have?
Wouldn't
that-
you agree? Horizon Forbidden West and Horizon, whatever the other one was called.
Zero
the
Dawn?
first one.
Dude.
Yeah.
The timing of that killed those games, and they still did well,
Yeah.
but it killed those games. You're right. Let me just shrink this down a little bit for the sake of being able to see it. All right. Anything else that we want to fight over, or if you feel like maybe we're really leaving out, let's say top 3 for you personally that you're like, I would at least like to say this is my top 3, and then we can decide if it should move over.
All my top 3 are in.
Same.
Yeah, same here. And I will say, I'm just gonna bid farewell to Kirby and Pentiment. Kirby's my number 8, and Pentiment is 10.
Okay.
And I love those games so much.
It's
Just
a
wanted to
shame that
shout those
Kirby.
out.
It's a shame that Kirby can't squeeze in there, but
It can
You like
swallow
Kirby too?
everything, but can't squeeze in here.
Yeah.
Why don't you bring over?
Are you a big fan of Kirby too?
Yeah, let's bring it
I
right
re-
here near Teenage, because it might kick out something like Ninja Turtles. Like I could
Yeah,
see
that's what
something
I'm
that-
saying.
I
Yeah.
played the demo and then I even bought it because the demo was good. So
It's so fun, right? It's just
I would agree that that game's kind of like Bayonetta 3, where it's like if people were fighting for it, I wouldn't be like, nope, that's trash. I would be like, no, I support it.
I mean, it's almost similar to like with Sonic, but like Kirby is higher quality. Like I was shocked by
Yeah,
what was
I
in
would
front of me.
agree
Yeah.
that Kirby is higher quality. I think Sonic's just more of the surprise.
Well,
Yeah. But I was
Every
surprised
Nintendo
with
game
Kirby
wins a
'cause
Sega game.
It has like a Mario quality to it, where it's like,
I
they like
definitely
really
agree
put
with that
effort
too.
into
Yeah,
it.
because I would not have gone into this year saying, guys, Kirby's gonna end up in my top 10, like at all. Like that's not a reality I thought I would exist in. So like
Yeah.
it's a really great game, and it's just wholesome fun on top of all the upgrade systems that they have in place.
Yeah.
The only ones that we aren't currently considering that are in my personal top 10, I didn't even talk about Symphony of War, the Nephilim Saga. It is
I like that game a lot.
a
Yeah.
wonderful strategy RPG with a great Fire Emblem-esque story. And I think, Kyle, you and I have talked about this a bit, about how
Very good.
it's just a great example of how an indie developer did it right. And they made what feels like a game that like a Square dev could have made. You know, like it just
All
feels
it was
it's
missing was
really
voice
good.
acting. Everything else felt like so high quality and
Yeah.
so like, man, it was just a very confident and competent game.
Yeah. So that one's on my top 10. Mario plus Rabbids is in my personal top 10. I have it at 9.
makes
And
sense.
I didn't play enough of it.
Really love it. Won't fight for it to make our shared group because it's only at the bottom of my personal one, right? So it's hard to really push for that one. Although I did like it. And then Vampire Survivors, I have at number 7. It is to me, it's just like pure video game. It is pure like arcade upgrade, go back and play. Like it's just like a ridiculous loop that has no business being
one of the
good.
most addicting loops of the year for sure.
I only have 3 games on my top 10 that didn't look like it's getting pulled over, and that's number 6, Dying Light 2.
Okay.
Number 9, Asterigos, and number 10, the Callisto Protocol. Which, by the way, the fact that that's at number 10 is a huge surprise for me.
Nice. Anybody else have some that are being left out, but you're letting go of them? Of your list?
I mean, I'm not like super far into Sonic, but I mean, I'm just shocked by how much I am enjoying it. And that's again because we saw that IGN preview. We were like, what did they do? They're releasing this in a few months. Are you kidding me?
It was the first time a developer went, no, you guys just don't get it yet, and they were actually right.
We didn't. By the way, that must have been hard to hear. Like you show off a game and everyone collectively says, "Are you sure you're ready to release this yet?" Like that must have felt pretty bad. But
yeah,
we still stuck the landing.
They did a good job. It is fun. It's genuinely
Lego Star Wars is like the best version of a Lego game. Like it's really great.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. It's insane.
And it
how much
doesn't
polish
have
and
the
budget
right
went into
that
game.
it
It's
has
crazy.
to look as good as it does. Like
Yeah.
the reflective
Beautiful.
surfaces and stuff. It's like what?
Voice acting is great too. It's not like cheap knockoff, whatever. Like and I can say the same for Midnight Suns. Like it doesn't. I'm surprised at how much quality stuff went into these games that really should just be like fun at the end of the day. That's it. Just fun, mindless. That's it. But they're great. They're beyond that.
Gran Turismo 7 was in my top 10. That's just a great sim racer. But boy, what a flavor of video game that's only there for some people. So it's like. Yeah, that doesn't have the appeal of a Forza Horizon, where it's like that game is all more about the fun. And Gran Turismo is kind of more about like living the sim, So
that's
just
my
I just
number
wanted to
12.
shout that game out.
Yeah, it was really good, really really good. In fact, I don't know if you know this. If you go and log back in, like when it launched, it had like 36 or 40 cafe missions. They've like doubled that.
Oh, I didn't realize they had more cafe stuff.
Like I announced in our Facebook group, I beat Gran Turismo 7 because I beat what they had released as like, your kind of your story. It's not really a story. And then I think they pretty much released a patch where they doubled the amount of content.
Cool. The cafe stuff was really cool. Really good way to learn about cars if you care about that at all.
Yep. Any other honorable mentions send-offs before we try to trim off a few additional honorable mentions in this middle?
Holy crap!
I would
sorry, but at the time that we're recording this, the Jacksonville game has been happening. Yeah, and they were getting whooped by Rams, and then they came back and won. No, it's the Rams, is it? Oh, Chargers. You're right. Sorry.
No, it's the Chargers.
And they came back and won at the fourth, literally with minutes left. That's so insane. Wow.
They were ruled out of contention because they were like 2-7 or something, and they've been on a crazy roll. Yeah.
What a tear, dude. That's sorry for sports talking.
That's all right. No, I love their story.
I just wanted to say, As Dusk Falls was another. If you like story-driven, choice-driven games, to me, it's one of the top tier.
Well, and Pentiment's in that same bucket, right? Where it's great story and choice-driven.
Right. Yeah,
so,
and a little bit more gameplay and less QT.
A little more gameplay. Okay.
Definitely no QTs though. Yeah. Well, okay, I shouldn't say definitely no. There's some QT elements. But As Dusk Falls is like entirely hinges on that type of gameplay. Yeah. But it's a great story, both of them.
Okay. Guys, should we take one more moment to hang our heads in shame over Bayonetta 3 not being played enough? Are we good enough with that?
We're so sexist. We are so sexist.
That's what it is, yeah.
We all actually just disagree with Jennifer Hale being Bayonetta. That's really
that's what it is. We're taking Helen aside.
That's what it is.
I was actually pledging funds to the previous voice actress.
God damn it.
Oh, that's how she was getting paid.
Pledging funds. Oh my gosh. Okay, guys, it sounds like by all accounts, Gotham Knights is a lock into so far we've got 6 locked into the 10 somewhere. Yes. Am I crazy in saying that's in the 10?
No,
What's crazy is what people's reaction to this game. That's crazy.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Yes.
It being at number 6, like that feels so right. An Arkham game, of course, or
So-
a Batman game rather.
Last time around, we had, a group up here and then we had a group down here. Let's just do the same thing. We do our best to kind of rank these bottom 7. We don't have to do all of them, but get an idea of what lands where to see what Final Four spots get filled out by these games. So,
Man,
Dan, I'm gonna start.
The bottom tier is going to be tough.
I think it's gonna be tougher than the top tier, honestly, because based on what we've already talked about with these games, I have a feeling I know how it's gonna.
Yeah, I already
shake
know
out.
how those bad boys
With
are
these,
going.
I have
I'm more
no
worried
idea.
about,
So I'm
like,
I'm
who's
gonna.
getting cut? We only have 3 spots left.
We're just gonna go alphabetical because I don't know the best way to do this. Dan, just give me your thoughts. Whether you've got some ranking ideas, something to kick out, something that maybe you want to make another statement about something that should make it, or even, and we got to do our best to also think about us as a group. So like maybe there's a. So anyway, what do you think, Dan? What are your thoughts?
Hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay.
I got 7 here.
Yeah, 4, I think.
Oh, we're talking about the bottom first?
Yeah.
Bottom first here. We need to get 4 out of these up onto this list.
Okay. It's tough because I haven't played, let's see, Midnight. All right, so Midnight's the only one I haven't played at all.
Okay.
And then Neon White I've only played a little.
Uh-huh.
I don't think the Quarry belongs here. So if I'm gonna look at it,
I would kick the Quarry.
I would kick. I think we can all agree to kick.
You
the
think
Quarry off,
so? You think we can agree on 4 before we go? Okay, you know what? We all played in the Quarry. Why not just replace whatever?
I mean, I like the Quarry because it's like.
You think we'll all be able to decide on a 4? That's
it's a backup.
I argued for putting it there as a backup, basically.
And I agree with that. It's
I think it's a good backup.
For example, Marvel's Midnight Suns, just as an example. I know Jeff has been surprised at how much he enjoys it, and it's one of Kyle's faves. I think it's going to be in our top 10.
Game. Yeah, I want that game in the top 10. Even if I haven't put a lot of time in it, I've put enough in it
perfect.
to know it's top 10.
I was just going to say, I'm the only
amazing.
other one. But I thought it was just 3 of us, but it sounds like there's enough for us to say, okay, I think that one's in then. So that's probably likely in somehow.
So
that's that's my number 7, and Kyle has it highest of all of us for sure.
Then so I would pick Seafood, Diofield, and Kirby if I were to just choose these are the 3 I'm picking.
Gotcha.
I would choose those 3.
I love that.
Okay.
Honestly, those are the 3 I would pick, even though I don't like Seafood that much. I feel like out of all the games left, it's the one that I would get into maybe later if I decide to play it.
I've got Neon White so far above the rest of these.
Dude, me too.
I was going to say, even though it's not in my
top
top 10, I was going to say Neon White, Sifu, and Diofield, because Neon White, I think, at least has 2 huge cheerleaders, which...
I think these 3 have passionate opinions. These 3 we're all like, these are great.
Yeah,
but, no one's going to be sad.
How I see
Tim
it.
just nailed it. Yeah,
that's a great point. That's a really great point. Yeah,
that's a good balance then.
Yeah. Oh, good job, Dad. You're just so great.
That was the fastest way we've ever done that. That's crazy. That's so
well, he has 37 kids, so he knows how to do this.
Can we stop getting
That's why
along?
he's the
Can
diplomat.
we start fighting, please?
All right, well, fuck you, buddy.
Sure. Dan's like, I got you covered.
Okay, that legit hurt my feelings. Can we take it back a little?
Is that one? That's the thing.
And I'm not raising my hand. I'm not doing it.
All right, guys. So for those of you listening, we just moved over the Quarry, Kirby, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles over to our kind of honorable mention or consideration column. Those are off the official list. So that leaves us with, and I'll go alphabetically here: A Plague Tale, Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War, Gotham Knights, Horizon, Midnight Suns, Neon White, Sifu, Diofield, and Xenoblade. Those are our 10 alphabetically that we now need to come up with the ranking.
That's a good ass 10. I want to eye fuck that for a second. That's really
good.
That's a quality 10.
Wow.
Go ahead, do it.
Guys, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say, based on the fact that we as a group picked it as favorite story, 7 out of the 10, I think, best performances, best music, and I think it's best visuals, or it was second with best. Why would we not already let's put God of War at the top and see where everything else goes? Am I crazy?
I think Elden Ring and God of War need to go at 1 and 2. It sounds like, and maybe that's not where it ends, but I think that there's enough fandom, especially for Elden Ring.
I agree.
That those 2 need to be.
Here's why I don't agree with that, and I appreciate you saying that because it's one of my favorites. It's in my top 10 of all time now. I love that game so much. But let me just, as a group, push back and say, there's 2 of us who love it. There's 2 who liked it, and 1 that isn't really into it. So I have a hard time thinking of it as an automatic 2 above, as a group above like Horizon and A Plague
Hold
Tale.
on. Am I the not that into it or?
No, you're the
No,
like.
that's me. That's me.
Oh, okay.
Dan and Kyle both like you went between like and really, really, really like maybe not quite love.
We covered the whole spectrum. Yeah.
Am I way off?
Are
Like
we,
it feels like.
No, you're right. I thought what you said was accurate, but I'm speaking
I
for two
didn't
people
think
when I
either of you loved
really
it.
liked.
I didn't love it, yeah, but there's a lot of things I do love about it.
Now, if you guys are going to tell me that out of nowhere, this would shock me that like, oh, well, it's actually my number 2 to 5 range. I would be really surprised. I feel like for both of you, it's like in your top 10 if you made one.
Let me just say this, and I don't want this to be taken as ammo or anything like that, but like if you hey, Kyle, make an objective best top 10 of the year list. What's number 1? It's Elden Ring. That's if you're asking me, but like, hey Kyle, what's your personal one? It's not my number 1. So it's like those are 2 different answers. But like
that's fair. Yeah.
And the reason, and we can maybe get into the reason of why that I say that later, and I'm sure it's the same reasons why y'all are going to champion it and stuff like that. So.
Okay, so then let's just do what Tim said. Let's just for sure move God of War. Nobody's going to fight. I'm not going to fight against it.
Yeah, this is a pretty unanimous in terms of nobody's going to be like, well. Hold on a minute, dude.
Ooh,
like,
you're gonna put God of War at 1.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's my number 1. So.
I've talked a lot about it's my number 2,
me and Tim,
and it's not like it's way behind. So like, I did recently look at what are some of my favorite games of all time, and I've got a huge list of games, and God of War 2018 is in my top 25 of all time. I haven't really worked in Ragnarok yet. I don't know where it goes. I don't know, like, do I put those as like a pair, or is it? Well, did I like it? But I don't know yet. So I don't know where it ranks. But dude, it's one of the best games ever made. And so I have zero problem with us as a group saying it is our pick for best game of 2022. And then now it's a matter of like, where do we rank the rest of these as a group? I like Kyle.
It doesn't matter. We don't have to rank them. Everybody already tuned out since we spoiled it. They already know who won number 1. So.
Kyle, cares. Kyle, I like the idea of like stepping back and looking at it and saying like, how do I balance out my personal preference from just an objective thought on like what was actually the best video game of the year. I like that, and I remember doing that with. I'll use this example again. I think it was 2019 with the Outer Worlds. Wasn't that Outer Worlds?
Yeah.
That game was, and I looked at my list again. It's like number 9 on my list that year. It's not because I hated it; it just wasn't my personal favorite. Like if you asked Tim, what are your favorite games of the year? That one wasn't up there. And I thought the same things you guys have said about Elden Ring, where it's like, it just didn't click for me. It wasn't that fun. I didn't think the combat was that fun for me personally. But objectively, I looked at it and I was like, yeah, that's probably one of the best.
Well, that's how I feel about Sifu. Like, I know that if I actually sat down and gave it a shot, like truly gave it a shot, I did try to replay it, that I could probably like it more than how I feel about it now. But objectively, I've played it enough so that I can say objectively, it's not the game that's bad. Like, it's not a bad game. It's just me going, I'm not in the mood to learn this system and get good at it. So therefore, I quickly just said, I don't like it. But objectively, I know it's good. So I don't have a problem with it.
I'm kind of in agreement with what Tim said initially when he mentioned Elden Ring not being automatic number 2. He kind of swayed me on this because I did want to weigh objectivity as much as we could in the list. But then I was like, as Tim described his feelings on why Elden Ring is not automatic number 2, is that this is our list, meaning it's our subjective opinion.
Correct.
Together in what makes the best list. So if it, I'm not saying Elden Ring is ruled out for number 2 because of that. I'm just saying,
but
that's
you can
what we should
still be
consider
objective
first.
with your opinion.
Yep.
But I get what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that I think are pretty clearly towards the bottom, just because of the lack of support, are probably Midnight Suns, Neon White, Theofield. Are those towards the bottom?
I think so
The lack
for
of
this
support?
list, just because all the other games are just higher rated. I mean, I think more people like Sifu. Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe that's way off. But I feel like that's where those go.
I think Sifu should be down there with them too. Honestly, sorry.
Well, I think it might be at the top of those 4. I mean, it's not like it's down, right? That's like that,
well, how
that
high do you guys rate Sifu? I think that would be the best way to ask. I obviously don't care about it. Tim, you said
my number 5.
Number
like
6.
It,
It's number 6 for me.
Okay, so it's mid Top
It's like a
10 for you
20.
two. Dan, what is Sifu to you?
The way that it's listed there, I would be cool with. Although maybe Neon would switch between Midnight Sun. I've literally not really seen anything. I've at least experienced some.
I don't
Neon
think
White.
Xenoblade should be in this bracket at all. It should be like considered for top 5, just based on how Derek and Kyle feel. And
Yeah, that's the only game that
Yeah.
I have an issue where you guys are putting it.
I hadn't moved it yet. But I see what you're
Well,
saying.
But you know what, Tim? Their Xenoblade is our Neon White.
yes.
That's what I will say. I think we feel
That's why
strongly. We feel so strongly about Neon White the way they feel strongly about Xenoblade.
That's
Yes,
why I don't
but
think it-
objectively,
that's why I don't
Kyle
think
and
it's
I
top
are
5. See, that's
more
the same
right.
reason why I am willing to kind of like let go a little bit of my grip on Elden Ring, which to me is like, this is so silly. How could it not be number 1? In my head, it is. But then as I think about it, I have to hold it more loosely and go, no, that makes more sense as a somewhere in the 2 to 4 range for our group. Like for me, that's where my head goes. I don't know if that's right or not. I feel like Xenoblade belongs in this group with the ones that have a lot of love because it has a ton of love from a couple of people.
Okay, I see.
Sifu probably goes above it based on how much Kyle, Dan, and Jeff love that game.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
would shit on Sifu until it drops below.
But maybe it's like this. Maybe
Xenoblade
it's these two
Chronicles
together.
3.
Maybe it's
Keep
like
your poop in your
Xenoblade.
butt.
Maybe it's Xenoblade just
once.
above Sifu, or maybe Gotham Knights needs to get out of the way.
I would put me personally, and again, it's only just because I haven't played it. It would be towards the bottom, like for me.
Yeah,
But that's just because I haven't played it.
It's a mid-tier game for me, but like I feel like it's mid. Like I'm just guessing. Again, anybody can speak up. I don't think Gotham Knights is like a top 4 or 5 on everybody's list.
Let's just do this real quickly then.
Passionable about it.
Kyle, Gotham Knights.
my number 9.
What goes higher, Gotham Knights or Xenoblade?
Xenoblade. Yeah.
Dan, based on what you've heard
Definitely.
of Xenoblade,
Definitely Xenoblade, yeah.
and Jeff.
Yeah, Xenoblade,
Okay,
just based
all right.
on how they've described it.
That's pretty easy then. Okay.
Yeah.
And then what about same thing with Gotham Knights and Sifu, Jeff?
I have Gotham Knights above it. Just one spot though. It's just like
Derek?
they're really not right next to each other.
Gotham Knights.
And Dan
I would pick Sifu.
and Kyle.
I'd pick Sifu.
So that's pretty close. So these two might belong right beside each other because I'm Gotham Knights over Sifu, but these might belong kind of beside each other.
Dude, everyone is furious about this right now that's listening. All 2.5 people. All 2.5.
Why?
Why are they talking about Gotham Knights?
Oh, because of Gotham Knights. Because of the Gotham Knights.
Okay. Let's talk about.
I think you do have that 5, 4, I guess, and then God of War above it. I think that is our top 5, if I'm guessing. Like, I mean,
These
that's
right
kind of not in that order per se, but like I do feel like that's kind of where we're at.
Well, I don't want to assume too much about A Plague Tale Requiem, even though I personally loved it. It's in my top 3 for this year. I had it at number 3.
Same here, dude.
I have it edging.
Oh,
out.
sorry, just kidding. It's up top 4, but it's
have
up
it
there.
edging out. I have it above Horizon Forbidden West, but that doesn't mean everyone feels the same way. It's totally fine if you think that's crazy. But I have it just above.
That's where I go. Oh, hold on a minute, dude. Because I
have Horizon.
I have Horizon above it, and I have Neon White above Horizon.
And Dan, what do you have with Horizon? Is this your number 2 game?
Yeah, I mean, man, I wish I had played because Xenoblade might have been my number 2 because you guys know I love RPGs, but it would be Horizon. Would be number 2.
I never told you to buy that game though. I didn't tell you like 100.
I mean, I'm not gonna just buy something because Derek
shut up.
Alpha Teague told me to do.
So Horizon might need to go above A Plague Tale here. Kyle, what do you think about that?
So.
Yeah, I mean, I am very aware that Plague Tale is very loved here. It's not my thing, but that's just from the first game. I've never played the second game, so I can't even speak.
It's not even
that game.
close for me. Horizon
but Horizon is in the top. It's in my top 4. I think it should be top 3.
Horizon is going to be fighting for a number 2 spot. Then I don't think
I
A Plague
agree.
Tale is. I think A Plague Tale is going to be down here, trying to fight with Xenoblade for the 4 or 5.
I don't know. It sounds like Plague Tale should be above Xenoblade from just the amount of people who love it.
Oh yeah, the number. Of people
like because it sounds like it's on 4 of the 5 of ours top 5s, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm overreaching on that.
I'm just trying to group. I'm not necessarily ranking them. So I was thinking like Xenoblade and A Plague Tale are going to be fighting for 4 and 5. Horizon and Elden Ring are going to be fighting for 2 and 3. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
That's where I'm at mentally. Yeah, that's where I'm at, picturing it in my head. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's start
I'm
with
I'm the only the one that would be off from you guys, I guess.
what tell me what you're thinking. Go
explain.
ahead.
Oh, Elden Ring would be 5 for me.
But you haven't played Xenoblade. Have you played you played a Plague Tale? You have a Plague Tale above it?
Yes.
So you liked Plague Tale more than I realized then. I didn't realize that.
I am a story snob, so
It's got a good one.
It's got a really good
Oh,
story,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
Elden Ring has really cool atmosphere, and like obviously if you're
Lore.
looking for that stuff, the story. It's
One of
like,
y'all
oh,
need to
that's
just come over and play that game so I can watch it.
what the Plague
Plague
Tale.
Tale. Yeah, I would love that. That's how I played.
Do you just not like the way
Hellblade
it
as
plays,
well.
or
I just don't like the way that it feels and just its
Okay.
kind of lumbering like stealth system.
Well,
Like, I
let
come
me
from
tell
a
you
different
something
type of stealth game.
about YouTube,
The-
dude. YouTube has
Yeah,
second-
I know. There's Let's Plays. I get
The
it.
second
yeah.
one did improve it, Kyle, but I mean,
yeah,
And Derek is a big backup of that because he didn't sound like he
Yeah.
really liked the way that the first game played, but
Oh,
was very enamored by the way.
I hated the first one.
I loved the
I
first
think
one,
I,
and
I
it
think
still
he ba- I
felt
think
like
he
a
ba-
double A game.
I wonder if there's a world where I watch the first game get played and then I play the second
Play the
game
second.
because like that would be something that I could probably
And-
wrap my head around.
and I know I haven't played Xenoblade. I know the type of gamer that I am, and I know that once I get to that,
Yeah.
like it's just aesthetically the combat, the story, the music we were
Music,
listening to earlier. Like I know for me it would be above Elden Ring. I just know being who I am, it would.
Okay.
And that's
Yeah.
not, again, it's not a specific knock to Elden Ring. I just know that I would like Xenoblade more.
Well, I know that, and don't take this the wrong way, but I know you kind of have it out for Elden Ring a bit. I think you've been a little annoyed at how much love it gets, and that's totally fine. Like I've been annoyed by games that get too much
Are
love
you
a
are you
lot.
sure you're not confusing him from me?
No,
because
because Dan's played it and
No,
finished
he
it,
said-
and I'm
he
I
said
know,
he
but I
is.
don't remember
You know
him
what?
talking so negatively about it. I don't remember
Oh,
that.
he always bashes.
So let me
No.
let me tell you what I've heard,
Oh,
Dan, and you
God.
correct me. This is what I've heard.
yes.
You
Go
don't
ahead.
think it's a very fun game. It doesn't have a story
True.
that you care about that drives you forward. You didn't even you didn't find it that good looking. Remember the visuals? Like you didn't think it looked you thought
The
the design
cliffs,
was
man.
good, but you didn't think it looked
Yep,
so like
he's
I've
fired.
heard you say negative things about it at every category. So correct me, help me out. What do you like about Elden Ring? Do you think it even belongs in the top 5?
I think it's a really well. We were mentioning exploration, because I did add it on my list of best exploration, because it reminds me, like I said, of those older RPGs of being like, oh, I'm gonna go on a side quest to get like the best weapon in the game or to fight the actual strongest boss in the game. Because like we all know, the main boss in RPGs are never actually the strongest. It's always the random
Yeah.
side dude who's off in the corner, like, oh, this
Ultimate
guy's
weapon,
whooping my.
right?
That's
Yeah,
true.
exactly.
Yeah, ultimate
Like,
weapon. Yeah.
So for me, it's just it's the design of the game and how you approach it and you explore it, and you're finding all these nooks and crannies, like Derek mentioned, like, oh, I see a door over there, what the hell is that? I'm going in here now. I'm taking an elevator down 30 seconds to a full minute, like real time, and I'm in this cavern thing that's like, and it's insane. Like it's mind boggling. Like I don't know how that game exists. Like it's mind boggling.
I like that, and I've said this before, not just with Elden Ring, but just to give From Software some props. I like that that they create games in a day and age where YouTube exists, walkthroughs exist, professional walkthroughs exist, 100% completions exist, and yet these creators and developers can make a game that still have secrets and mysteries that people don't figure out.
Yeah.
Or that are easily missed, that can change a playthrough completely. And that's what I love about them, is that they are one of the few developers that can create worlds and gameplay that you never really always get to see everything. It's they can keep secrets, is what I'm trying to say. There's a mystery to their game that, unless you want to sit there and watch, I'm not exaggerating, 1,000 hours worth of walkthrough videos, you're not going to see everything in Elden Ring, and it's crazy that exists.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's again the side, like literally you just have what you see like on the ground floor, so to speak, and then you get to a point where you're like, oh, there's like this entire like almost like world, so to speak, underground, and when you look up, it's like it looks like stars, but it's like whatever, like minerals or whatever, like embedded in the ceiling of the cave, this massive open cave that's underground, like, and it looks literally like a starry night, like it's like, but you're underground, like. It's crazy. Like you mentioned like the actual visual, like the actual quality of the visuals. I think Plague's Tale is better, but the design of what's going on in Elden Ring is like more unique in fantasy, and I like that. So I like the actual like the designs going on there. I just think the actual like fidelity, I guess, of Plague Tale.
Do you feel like you did some side stuff but mostly mainlined it through to the end?
Oh, I definitely explored side stuff. I just didn't spend as much time. I would say definitely Tim and Derek spent the most time. Like you.
So, like for
time.
example, did you do the Halig tree and go fight Melania?
Yes, I did. I beat her. It took me many times, but yeah.
That's awesome. That to me, that's like the most important of all the side stuff. But there's lots of other, like the consecrated snowfields. Did you go up to that area?
Like,
and then there's
even getting
there's
to her.
There's
like the invisible stuff, right?
Yes, the invisible
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the last one I wanted to ask you about was the Volcano Manor. Did you get there where you're tasked with and beat the guy who pulls a big sword out of his throat?
Yep.
Yeah. So like to me, here's a good example of where people say that it's got poor / no story. The whole story around that guy Rykard is fascinating, but if you don't care about it and you don't pay attention, then it's no good. I'm not saying you did, but like a lot of folks would totally miss it.
I mean, there's like 100 and something hours of like lore videos from like one Souls lore master on YouTube. So it's like there's story.
No, there absolutely is story.
But like, I just wanted to give an example of that one because basically he refused to fight for the Elden Lord, like all the rest of them, right? Like Radon and the rest of them fight, but he refused to, and he decided he's actually going to absorb all the tarnished who come to him to become a stronger and stronger weapon. And so he gets consumed by this giant serpent, and he's trying to consume any tarnish. And so he uses his little servant girl, who's also a snake, but she's taken on human form, and she's really struggling with that, to go and bring tarnished in to help to join the Volcano Manor, but he really wants to consume them. Like that's the whole storyline of this, and it's a very dark story, and it ends very sad, like most things in Elden Ring, I guess, ends pretty sad. But like it is a fascinating piece of like this dark fairy tale. That's how I looked at Elden Ring when it was all said and done. I was like, this is like a dark web of fairy tales. They're all strung together.
Now, are there characters speaking all of that, or is it more like you meet a character, they say the dialogue?
That story that I picked up on just from playing the game, and I don't read item descriptions. I don't read all, like that was just me talking to characters. Now, did they lay that out for me that plainly? No, I had to I pieced it together. By the time I beat the boss and talked to what's happening, there's a scene after the boss is done. I kind of had pieced together like what had happened. I was like, dang man, that's pretty messed up.
Yeah, that's the thing that's tricky about that game, and it's honestly it's tricky with all games, open world games, right? It's a very tricky balance of like having that story kind of be consistently like in your brain, and like depending on how many side quests you weave in between things, like you're like, well, what's on here again? Like, what's the deal? Like, that's a tough thing to balance, and especially with that game. Way it actually tells you the story, like you meet a character, the way that they're actually speaking to you is very, very interesting, very kind of like fantasy, like kind of like tones, the way that they speak. Like it is interesting when I'm listening to them talk, but then like I go do things and 10 hours later it's like I don't remember what that dude was talking. I just don't like, I don't remember what he was talking, but it was interesting when I was listening to it, so admittedly.
Well, and it's because it is purposely done in pieces, and they don't always direct you, so it's basically they do the opposite of what most modern day AAA games do. Like if you're playing Horizon Forbidden West and you go talk to a character, it updates your journal and it tells you where to go when you
press this button to track this new side quest or whatever.
You get a GPS marker that goes right
where this game says no, we don't hold your hand. You need to pay attention to us. First of all, we speak gibberish. They don't speak regular English. They speak gibberish. We're not going to hold your hand. We're going to talk in riddles. You need to piece together our riddles. And then also you need to figure out where they're telling you to go or where you could potentially meet this next character, which will then continue the adventure. Plus, they do everything in like timelines, meaning like you might have to meet this character on before a certain event happens at night only. So you could completely miss the plot, miss the storyline, miss the weapon, miss whatever, because you simply beat a boss out of order. So that's the type of stuff the game does that I said is annoying to a lot of players, but I also think is really cool because that's what brings the mystery to the game is they don't spell it out for you. They say figure it out on your own. If you have no interest in figuring it out on your own, then you find it annoying. If you have interest in mysteries and stuff like that, like I do, I like all that stuff. I like being
So
like,
what you're saying is Control was your favorite story of 2019? Is that what you're saying?
Pretty good story.
That was
Pretty good story in
mystery.
that game.
Because what the heck?
Because that required you to do research similarly to how you're describing it for Elden Ring. But with
Yeah,
Elden Ring, it's
yeah.
not annoying for some reason. That's very interesting.
You got to go back and read the journal, and control a lot.
Yeah, I never felt like when I played Elden Ring, there was a strong through line for me, this tarnished character that here, like, this is what's driving me forward. I have an emotional drive. Like, that doesn't exist. Like in Horizon, there's an emotional drive.
Yeah,
In God of War,
sure.
there's an emotional drive.
Yep.
In Elden Ring, no, you're basically brought back to life because you're dead and you are now a slave to this thing you have to go do. You have to restore the Elden Ring and sit on the throne as Elden Lord. You don't know why you're being told to do that.
Yeah,
So you
that's the difference between this and Control. Like Control, I'm not playing Elden Ring for the story. I'm playing it for the gameplay. I don't care how they tell me the story. I like the mystery of it all. Control, I was playing it. Yes, I enjoyed the gameplay. I thought that was super fun, but I was playing it for the story, and it
Way to
was
distract
that
us with
was a lot of
Control.
gibberish. That was a lot of gibberish.
Yeah,
Too.
it was.
I would
it
actually
was.
describe Control's like to me it was equally intriguing story wise.
Yeah, they do a good job of being
Yeah,
very
I agree.
mysterious.
It gave
There's
me
a,
just
there's a,
it
almost
gave
a
me just
Souls-like
enough-
aspect to how it tells the
Yeah,
story.
it gave me just
Definitely.
enough little feeding of story and dialogue to be like, wait, what did that mean?
A little
I
more
didn't know.
cutscenes and guided like dialogue,
Yeah, but I
like
didn't know what
in
the hell they were
general,
talking about. I
like
didn't know what the
weaving
hell
It
they
stuff
felt, it
together
felt
was
like
up to you.
now you guys know what those of us that watched Lost as it aired on TV felt every single week. Now you know. Because when you binge it, it's not the same. It's like, what the hell was that about? Like,
So I use those examples because that's commonly referred to as the weak point of Elden Ring is the story. And it's totally fine. I
I've
totally
seen
understand that. But
Yeah,
It's
I
all about how you want the storytelling. And
I
they're
have never
totally
seen
different.
a game in any genre have as many gameplay options and approaches and do them all really well and really balanced. Like I have tried so many different, I know I use the word builds and it can be annoying, but I really have like, let me try my attributes in a different way, try a different set of armor and let me dual wield. Let me use the shield and a spear. Let me grab this great axe and just hold it with two hands. And it plays totally differently and plays super, super well. And so I feel like just overall as a video game, very few games have stayed at that level of excellence while
And
still
be
giving the
balanced.
player that
Yeah.
much freedom, not just freedom to explore, because that is massive, but freedom to play it how you want. You can be a complete mage character and just have a full-on wizard costume and just cast
Right.
spells from a distance, and it works, and it's amazing. The only weak spot in the gameplay, in my opinion, is bows and arrows. That is truly not well done, is the bows and arrows aspect. So, but the rest of it, I think, is just done brilliantly. So I wanted to, we hadn't really dug into overall Elden Ring, why I think it is truly the best game of the year. Those are the main reasons why. I think if it finishes at around the 3 spot, it's not a problem. I just think it deserves to be above Horizon Forbidden West personally, just because of those elements I just mentioned. I think it does all the things that Horizon does. I think it does them a little bit better, except for a strong narrative story with the main character I cared about. Horizon does that better by far. So there you go.
Well,
That's
I don't need to repeat it. Everything you just said is exactly how I feel. That's why I have Elden Ring at 2, or I have it at 1, but I have it on our list. It should be 2. But I don't hate Horizon Forbidden West. I think that's
Not
my
either.
number 3 or 4 game. It's
My
4. I put Xenoblade Chronicles 3 ahead of Horizon.
Okay.
But yeah, I feel very strongly about Horizon is a very good game too, but I prefer Elden Ring.
All right. So anything to add in between those two games, whether it's Jeff on Horizon, Kyle on either one, Dan on either one, for 2 and 3.
I mean, I think, and this goes back to what was the best combat? Was that the category? I think what you're saying with builds, not annoying, Tim, so you don't have to apologize. It's literally what that game is. There's like what 1,000 weapons, like plus, like I mean, there's so many things you can equip in that game. That's literally the reason, and to make all these different sort of classes or builds. it's Horizon is just more fun to me, like sliding around the way that she does and shooting that bow and how it slows down and you're hitting all the different like parts of these robo dinos and having to tear away at their weak points and using different kinds of ammunition for different kinds of robos.
My aim is bad sometimes, by the way, and that makes me annoyed.
Sure.
I'm like, I looked so cool and then I missed that shot like an idiot.
Yeah, sometimes that feels pretty bad.
Yeah.
You want more slow-mo time, so you're like, oh, let me just make sure I have like the exact shot. And it's I don't know. It's just like more fun for me. And then again, the story aspect. I actually really like the story of Horizon. I think there's really some really excellent elements outside of everyone's thoughts on Aloy specifically. But I think there's some really strong moments, especially in the second half of the game. Like you mentioned earlier with the character death. And then there's a character that you meet that she butts heads with a lot. But then they have a moment of like, they have a moment of like sort of like finally coming together and be like, oh, I get you now.
No, he's talking about the character who kind of lives in the basement for a little while and you go to talk to every once in a while. He's not talking about.
Oh, okay.
Trinity.
Yeah. That particular one, because she's just frustrated with her not understanding what her deal is.
Of course, she's frustrated with her.
Yeah,
it's like looking in a mirror.
Sure,
yeah, I know, right? Yeah,
sure. But yeah, it
wink,
just
wink.
there's just really strong moments in the story for me, and then again, I think the combat just is more fun. I absolutely 100% appreciate the insane, completely insane amount of depth of Elden Ring. Like I absolutely appreciate and acknowledge that. I just think Horizon just is more fun for me personally.
Okay.
The moment to moment gameplay is more fun.
So I think it comes down to, because we know Jeff would pick Horizon.
Yeah, because I don't have any experience with Elden Ring.
So I think it comes down to Kyle. Like, Kyle, would you want Horizon at 2? Because right now we're at a draw 2-2. You got Tim and I for Elden Ring, Dan and Jeff for Horizon. So Kyle, if Kyle says Horizon needs to be 2, then that's where it needs to go.
Yeah.
So, Jesus.
All the pressure on
Horizon,
you.
I know. Horizon's above for me, all right, because that's just the kind of game I like more, and it's a funner game or whatever. But I think, and maybe this is me talking myself into it, or maybe this is me just throwing it out there as a point and seeing how other people feel about it. Culturally, in gaming, Elden Ring made more waves than any game this year. Just in terms of just like what people were talking about on Reddit, how many like YouTube videos there were, like how much content that was created outside of just the game itself. And I know a lot of you guys, whoever did play it, didn't play it even like with other people, or that's not really how you experienced it. But like that's how I did, and that was such a big part of it. And even though maybe y'all didn't play with people, y'all were still engaging with those YouTube videos and secrets and stashes and build videos and everything like that. So like even if you weren't playing with somebody, you were engaging in the greater community of what this game was doing. And if we want to throw around sales figures and stuff like that, it's one of the best selling games of the year, one of the best selling new IPs of all time or whatever. People got on board with this game. Now I'll also say I don't find this game fun to play at all. If anything, it enforced I'm never going to play a From Software or a Souls game ever again. But those are like my qualms with it, because I have so many other positive things to say about it. And that's like riding the coattails of my better playing friends, like while they drag me to see things. And when I would get online to go to my grind spot and like finding a little thing off the beaten path, when I'd get a little adventurous, being able to share it with them, like I was telling you earlier, like that stuff I remember more than some of the story beats in Horizon. You know what I mean? Even though Horizon's story was great for me and everything that I really enjoyed about that. But like there were moments in gaming for me when I was playing Elden Ring, I was like, oh, this is like the most memorable thing I'm doing this year. So for me, in the greater list, in the communal list and everything like that, when I'm thinking about where it should be and how I feel about it and how those feelings should maybe be a little amped up a little more, because I know there's so many people who love that game here, or at least a couple. I think like Elden Ring probably has to go to number 2 in my opinion. But if anyone wants to make a counterpoint for Horizon, in like my list, Horizon is higher for me. So
it's almost like a tie, honestly, because we all love Horizon. I don't think any of us dislike it.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone would objectively say Elden Ring is clearly a bad game. But no one loves Horizon the way that a couple of us at least love Elden Ring. So that's where it becomes this weird, like nebulous tie. And so,
Looks like that win is always off in the horizon. But they just never get it. They just never get it, you know.
That's what it looks like. Yeah, I will say this too. I actually was really close to uninstalling this game after 3-4 hours into it.
Which one?
Yeah, Elden Ring.
Ah, okay.
I even told
Oh, yeah,
Derek
You
that.
came
I was
around
like,
at some point, yeah.
I was
remember there
like,
being,
Derek, I
a
don't know, man.
turning
And I even
point.
said, if you follow along on our podcast at all and you listened to early this year, I was like, yeah, it's cool. It just seems like open world Dark Souls. It's not quite what
I didn't like his opinion back then.
And I stuck it, and I don't know what it
Shocker.
was. I don't remember that there wasn't a specific moment, but like there was something about gritting my teeth and getting better, honestly. And
What you're
and that was-
saying that Elden Ring has forced itself onto you against your consent is what you're saying to me.
that's what I'm saying. I'm trying
It
to
You
tell my
got
raised you.
story.
Stockholm syndrome.
I'm trying to share
and
my
we're like,
truth
you know
right
what?
now.
I actually like this. Yeah.
I'm trying to share my truth. Yeah, no, but it is one of those things where there's a little village of soldiers that you can use to kind of grind for some experience at the beginning to get stronger and learn whatever combat you want to do. There's a save point there. You get your
I
horse
did that
there.
part. I did that part at least.
And so I was like, let me just do that round a few more times and somewhere in that loop of doing that and then getting a little more brave and going out a little farther to face off with different enemies. And there's something about venturing out that all of a sudden the Zelda likeness of it mixed with Castlevania likeness of it and all those things just started to click. And I was like, what is this game?
Telling you your mental state. I'm not talking about you, Tim, and I'm speaking in general. Your mental state dictates your like for FromSoft games. What I mean is, if you have no confidence and you're scared of the game, you're usually going to turn into a hater. But if you'll like fight through it and you'll slowly build that confidence, and then you start to kind of get what they do and you figure them out and you start to get good. That's why people say get good. It became like this mocking joke, like people are being jerks. It's actually true. Like if you get good, you start to build up your confidence, and then your love for the game becomes like extremely passionate. It really does. Like you start to go, oh crap. Now I understand why it is a community that why people say the stuff they say. That's what that community is all about. Like it is all about getting to a place where you're confident in. Like I don't get scared to play FromSoft games anymore. Not because I think I'm great. I will openly admit when I suck at games or I think I'm not smart enough to play a game like Boulder Gate. But for me, like now I go into them and I'm like, no, I know I can play their stuff. I know what they're all about. I know what they're doing. I can beat them. And I think that mental state and that confidence is what can really bring you to a place where you truly love those games.
Yeah. I think you're right about
My
that.
brother, I just checked Steam just to see. He put 397 hours into Elden Ring.
Wow.
That's it.
Yeah. I know, what a noob.
That's it.
Yeah, he loved it.
That's at least 2 or 3 builds.
So what you're saying is we need to fire you and put your brother on the fire.
Pretty much.
Got it. Dan,
Dude,
you're
he's a-
gone.
this guy just
still.
and he's a
swinging around the
dad.
firing flag.
He's
Dan,
a
you're
dad
gone.
too, so
Dan,
you
you're
could
gone.
bring
Okay,
back
sure.
Fathers of the Grind with him on here because he's.
Yeah.
All right, so
Grinding daddies.
I've loved hearing the passion for both, of course, Elden Ring, Xenoblade, Plague Tale, Horizon, God of War. Like it's so fun to hear the passion for each of these games. I think when you add in, and Kyle, you made some great points, the cultural impact. Not that we have to consider it, but I like that you brought it up because I do consider that when I think of a list like this. So I think it's worth thinking that element through, as well as just the fact that it's the highest rated Metacritic game with that many reviews, I think, since Zelda or Persona 5, maybe.
Was Persona 5 or Breath of the Wild? That makes sense.
It was those two. So like, there's something to be said for the general, you said, the cultural impact.
You can
too.
be objective in your subjective opinion. So he can say, I like Horizon better, but I believe Elden Ring's the better game.
I also think Horizon and God of War share a lot of similarities.
I do too.
And so I like the idea of giving a game like Elden Ring, which is totally different from both those games by a lot. I like the idea of giving it the edge there too. I don't know. Does this make anyone mad if I do that?
If anyone's
No,
mad,
not at
we can go with the number or the ranking system or
And
whatever.
Does anyone
I'm insane with anger.
And is anyone upset with our 4 and 5?
Well, you got
Xenoblade?
fired, so it doesn't really matter.
By the way, you listening, I put Elden Ring at 2 just to see what everyone thought. And then Xenoblade and Plague Tale, is that we're ending with this order of these two, or do we not really get into this?
We didn't really get into that, and I'm totally, just because it's just Derek and I, like A Plague Tale seems like the more loved game of the podcast.
Derek, how much farther ahead is Xenoblade than a Plague Tale for you?
It's
Are they like close in your list?
I mean, I'm gonna lie and say they're not close at all. No, like Xenoblade's 3, Plague Tale 7.
Oh.
And then
Oh.
Dan and Jeff, what are your thoughts on this? I mean, the fact that more of us have played it and loved it, is that alone enough to? It's essentially 4 played it and loved it, and 2 played and
Yeah.
loved this.
Yeah.
So
I'm not mad about this. Because
About
again, like I love
Xenoblade?
JRPGs, but I also just really love the story of Plague Tale. So it would have to be something where I would had to have experienced Xenoblade and be like, all right, well, what's the deal with the story, and like, do I like the combat here in the world? Like,
I feel like
Like,
it's
I
more
I
of a sure
can
thing
honestly
like
say this is not me fanboying out. I have no problem saying I'm biased. I'm 100% biased. If you play Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and I'm talking more to Tim and Dan, I'm not saying Jeff couldn't like it. I just don't think it's a Jeff game. The story, the characters, everything, like, I can guarantee you will go, oh, I get why Kyle and
Oh,
Derek
yeah.
are, like, crazy about it.
I'm not
Because
arguing that at all.
it's
Yeah.
I'm more just
actually,
not
like,
wanting to
a
pay $60
legit-
for it.
Yeah, it's not worth paying $60 for. It's actually got like a really to me, it's not a copy and paste JRPG story. I'm not saying it doesn't have tropes and elements of JRPGs we've seen before, but the story for me was like, for the first 20 hours, like, I don't know what's going on, and you know what? I don't care. I'm just playing this game because
There's something really intriguing beyond all the like nebulousness, you know. Yeah.
I mean,
And
I
then
really
I
liked
started
the
paying
first
attention.
one. Like, I
Well, this
liked the
one-
first one a lot.
First
Yeah.
one's really good too.
Did you play
Yeah.
Definitive
This
Edition,
one's
Dan?
way better.
I
The-
have it. I just haven't started it yet. I was
Okay.
actually contemplating maybe streaming it, but then like the thing with a game like that is like I'm gonna be streaming that like all year. So it's
Yeah.
like that's the tough thing. It's like, do I
Yeah,
really
yeah,
want to
yeah.
like do I want to dedicate like a time slot of each week to
That's
that game?
tough.
It's like, no, I just want to maybe just do it on my own. So
Yeah.
but yeah.
So really just thinking of it as like 4 people loved it versus 2 people loved it. That's
Yeah.
why I put a Plague Tale
I
above
agree
it.
with that, and that's
Yeah.
like hurts me a lot. But like, I think that makes the most sense.
Yeah, I hear you.
I just
And
think there's
then-
a lot of love for A Plague Tale, and it's like it just seems no doubt to me.
I
the amount of
have
love.
changed my opinion on Plague's Tale. I actually think it's dog shit.
No, it's too late. You're already on
Dog
record
poo-poo?
saying you like
I
it.
wouldn't move those up right away.
I'm
Xenoblade
gonna-
Chronicles 3 got up there off the love of 2 people. Neon White can do the same thing. That's what I'm saying.
Uh-oh.
Two different level of video games, but I understand what you're saying. Yeah,
Neon White is literally my number 2 all year. So
yeah.
Wow.
And Xenoblade's literally my number 1.
Wait a
so.
minute. Well, that's why Xenoblade's staying there. He's talking about getting Neon White above some of these other ones, is what he's
Yeah.
fighting.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel
He's,
like
he's not, just to be clear, Jeff's not
I think that
suggesting we move
he's
Xenoblade.
saying something right here, though. If there's 2 people who love the same, because now we're talking about, well, did Journey not deserve, Game of the Year,
Mhm.
or whatever, just because it's a small game. Like, if you want to open up that can of worms, just don't think about Journey, but just in general. Like, it's not about the size of the game; it's about the impact
Oh,
personally,
sure,
or whatever.
Sounds
So you
like
have
my
2
girlfriend. Carry
You
on.
have 2 people who love
God.
Neon White, and it's in their top 2, top 3, top 4, or whatever.
Yeah.
We need to talk
right.
about it at least being the next thing or at or above Xenoblade, right?
no,
I feel
not
like
above.
that's-
Not above. I don't think above.
Okay.
No, we're talking. He was just, I think, making a case for.
Okay,
Let's not move
let me
Gotham Knights
just
and
say
Sifu up.
this. Yeah, I'm not worried about him wanting it above Xenoblade. Let me just say this again. It's not the same thing because yes, you have 2 people that absolutely love it, but you also have, and you might not like me, but I still matter. I don't like that game, and I bought it and
doesn't
played
matter.
it.
I still
It's
don't.
not good.
Well,
It doesn't matter.
So
What if I played
that-
an hour of Xenoblade and it didn't connect with me and I didn't say anything? Like,
It doesn't matter.
You said something,
Xenoblade,
but yeah,
hold on,
that's how you feel, and that
Xenoblade-
counts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is an 80-hour game. If you played an hour, no, your opinion is invalid. Neon White is not an 80-hour game. It does not have the plot or storyline that's going through it.
No, but
like,
playing the first 10 missions
It has
doesn't.
a
is not,
plot. It has a big.
It does have a
It's
plot.
actually
That's a good
really
point.
Okay,
good
I
story.
understand that, and I'm not
Yeah.
saying
No,
that
but what I'm
you
saying
guys
is what
can't
you
like the
played-
game. I'm saying I've played enough to know that I don't like the gameplay, which is the selling point of the game. It's not the story. It's the gameplay. It's the
Yeah,
loop.
I do think you took too small of a bite out of it to be able to say that you
I'm
dislike
not
it. But
disagreeing with that.
Yeah,
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it does matter though if
No, it
there's
does.
a game on
But-
this list that somebody doesn't like it.
to add on to that,
matters.
Dan has played Neon White and likes it, but I don't know that he would say this needs to go above Dealfield and Sifu. So we need to take that into consideration too, because Dan has played some.
All
Neon
right.
White.
I mean, we're using different logic for two different. Okay, that's all right. It's whatever.
Dan, what am I way off base there? Is it like you're like, yeah, it's good, but Dealfield and Sifu would go above it currently?
I think Neon White can go up there with Sifu and Gotham Knights. I'm saying though, let's not say it's the same thing.
It is
that,
the same
two people love
situation. It really is.
It's not.
No, it's-
because nobody dislikes Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Nobody
sure.
dislikes it.
Nobody.
Well, again, I didn't play Xenoblade. I just know that
That's why I'm saying nobody's played it on the podcast that disliked it.
It's fine. Yeah. Whatever. I need
Dan,
to
what were you gonna say?
No, I was just saying it's similar. So Xenoblade, I haven't played at all. I just I love that genre, so I have a strong feeling that I will really enjoy it. But a strong feeling is not a definitive statement. And then Neon White, I've played a couple of hours or an hour. Well, a couple of hours because then I went back in and destroyed you guys' time. So
Unreal.
just throwing that out there.
yeah, it's kind of dumb actually how crazy.
He's using
fast
like a
those
turbo
times-
controller, so
I
like,
know,
goes
it's
quicker or something. Yeah.
This guy got a Game Shark or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm plugging a Game Shark into my PC. It doesn't.
I don't know,
have
dude. You
doesn't
tell
have
me,
slots.
dude. You're the one who's doing it. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Mods.
But I mean, I really enjoyed what I've played of it. Like the actual, like speed of the combat is really fun. The whole card system is not like weird or clunky like I was like maybe concerned about.
I forget that they are cards. Once you get into the rhythm of playing the game, they just are. They're like
you're
items.
just kind of
Yeah,
using
yeah.
them and things are happening. It's like you're shooting things and you're using it to jump and whatever.
The fact that you said cards, I literally had a moment. You said it earlier tonight, I think, and I was like,
Yeah.
They use cards? Oh yeah, I guess they are. They're cards.
Yeah.
I just don't think
They
of
call
them as
them.
cards.
They call them soul
Right.
cards too in the
Yeah.
game. Yeah. They're short.
But yeah, and obviously the aesthetic is very anime, which I love anime, and the voice acting seems really solid.
It is very anime. Yeah.
But then it's like I haven't played Gotham Knights, but it's like when I think of Gotham Knights versus Neon White, like what do I like? I would put Neon White above Gotham Knights. And not to say that Gotham Knights is like a shit game, 0 out of whatever.
You hate
saying-
it, Dan. Just say you hate it. You're
Just
a
saying,
hater.
like the type of person that I am, I think I would get more enjoyment once I finish it out of Neon White over Gotham Knights. But
So Dan and Kyle, what you've played of Neon White, based on how much you both really, really like Sifu a lot, does putting Neon White above Sifu, is that going to keep you up at night, or like, are you going to fight against that?
I mean, it's not going to keep me up at night. No.
it's not. No, it's not gonna get. So for me, it would go Sifu, Neon White, Gotham. That's what it would go for me.
Okay.
But you guys have
Tim,
all of you except
Tim,
me. have played it.
where is Neon White for you? I don't think I heard you when you said it.
It's number 5.
Oh, it's 5. I would have thought it would have been higher. Okay.
So I've got my top 5 are Elden Ring. So that's my number 1, and then I've got a bottom
Right.
4.
They're all
kidding.
trash after
I'm
that.
kidding,
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Sure,
So
sure,
it's
sure. Yeah.
I've got Elden Ring, God of War, Plague Tale Requiem, Horizon barely beat out Neon White. I had a hard time ranking those two because
Yeah, it was tough. Yeah.
I've got them pretty close. They're so different. How do
I
you
just
compare them?
consider they are, but like I just considered at the end of the day which game I wanted to go back to like right now, and like it's always going to be.
You know,
Neon
if
White
we ranked these
every
in the
single
summertime,
time.
because Neon White was my summer game. So like if we were to rank these in July, I would probably be like, no, Neon White's my number 2. Like it's not even close. Like I probably would have felt that way. But because more time has passed and I've spent more time with other games and just looking back on it, it's like, no, that was one of the best games of the year, but it's probably number 5 as I rank them. So
I see.
having this right beside Sifu, above or below, not that big of a deal to me either way. Sorry, I had to pull up my other list.
I see.
So I don't disagree with the Sifu, Neon White, Gotham Knights order. I think that's probably about right. I don't know. Because Jeff, you have Sifu in your top 10. Kyle and
Yeah,
Dan
it's in my
probably
6.
both
Yeah,
have
it's a really good game, and Gotham Knights is 5. So like we're talking about 3 games that are very close to each other in my 10.
Yeah, if anything, for me, having Sifu above these two is like, no, that's not my thing, but I understand it because you guys all like Sifu a whole lot.
Yeah.
I did like it. I just didn't, love it. Then that leaves us with Dio Field and then Midnight.
It sounds like we should just leave that as is, honestly.
See, I was gonna say it seems more people have played.
I think Marvel's Midnight has to be higher because Kyle has it higher. I have Dio Field like at 7 or 8. I don't remember exactly. 6 or 7, I think. So, and
I was
got
thinking y'all would
Marvel's
fight.
higher.
I was thinking y'all
And
would
then
fight harder
Jeff-
for Dio Field than Kyle and I and Tim would fight for Midnight Suns.
No, see, right there, you just said 3 people that would probably put Marvel over Dio Field, so we're already outnumbered.
Haven't played Dio Field though.
Yeah, the thing is, I super enjoyed Dio Field. Like, I really liked it. I like the music is really excellent and the voice acting is really, really good. I think it's a good kind of base to build on.
Right.
I think there's definitely like improvements that need to, or like things that need to be added to add more depth and like layers to that. But it's just again, because what's the Metacritic? It was like in the low 70s.
70s, yeah.
Or is it
Dio
high
Field?
60s?
I don't think it made it into the 70s for Dio Field.
Yeah, so it's like, and to me that's insane. Like,
so both Gotham Knights and Dio Field are really
anomalies.
I don't know. Yeah, they're the ones that are like critics. What the hell, Like those are the ones.
Well, that's the only reason why we like them is because of critics. They're actually trash games.
They're actually trash.
For our 2 superhero games,
they're right next to each other.
I have Gotham Knights ahead of
DC versus Marvel.
Yeah. I do have Gotham Knights ahead of Midnight Suns personally, but that doesn't mean that's where it should go. I think Midnight Suns is amazing.
That's where I have it too, but we're talking 2 spots. Like Midnight Suns.
Well, it's also one of Kyle's top 3, so I wanted to give.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the collective enjoyment is probably more on Gotham Knights.
Like Gotham Knights.
Yeah. Whereas like Marvel, maybe again, like 6 months from now, when people put more time into it, be like, the game really sat well with me. But like, I think Gotham Knights, people put the time in immediately. People like that game, so.
Okay.
Plus, it's sticking it to mainstream media.
Yeah.
Actually,
number 3. Who cares?
Take that.
Just as a reminder, Gotham Knights did have Livin' La Vida Loca.
Oh, no, don't.
If you guys want to
if
you want to drop it,
dang it.
Or just remove it entirely.
It is my least favorite part.
Move it, put the quarry over or whatever. Who cares?
All right, bring Vampire Survivors over. We're getting Gotham Knights off.
I'm on board with bringing that on over. But no, it is one of those things that Livin' La Vida Loca is like the mic drop to move to make that last minute move. Like, don't forget that there was that moment in that game. You guys remember that?
Yep. All right, it's out of the top 10.
It's a 1 out of 10 moment.
It's a 1 out of 0 out of 10 moment.
It should say something to you, the listener or viewer, that Gotham Knights does have a moment where you're doing a battle scene in a prison yard and they're playing some weird, dumb version of Livin' La Vida Loca by Ricky Martin. And even though that exists in the game, and it's very highly featured, it's there, we still like it a lot. So that should tell you a lot.
And that's like in the first 2 hours of the game. So
a lot of it really sets a mood that you don't want
to have. A lot of people will be like, no, after that. But like, if you get past that, dude, you're in for a hell of a game.
It never does anything like that ever again.
Yeah.
Like, not even in the same field of weirdness. Yeah.
Right.
That's so weird. Why did they do that? I don't
know, man. I don't know.
Couldn't tell you, dude. She's living La Vida Loca, bro. I don't
know. Was everyone high and stoned at the same time when they put that in? They're like, this is gonna be
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah. One of the writers.
I don't think higher stoned people like that stuff, to be honest.
Dude, I just heard this amazing cover of Livin' La Vida Loca, which
no one. You know who said that ever? Nobody.
Zero people. Zero.
That was somebody's daughter on the staff. They're like, my daughter just did this new version of Livin' La Vida Loca. We have to put it in here. Yeah.
You owe me. That Harley is so crazy that she would like that version of the song. Is that what they're saying? Because that is not. Yeah. No. There's no way. There's some intelligence to her. She used to be a doctor.
She used to be the doctor.
There's not.
But so Harley Quinn is crazy, right?
Yeah.
Living La Vida Loca. Loca is crazy.
Life.
Is it?
Yeah. Living La Vida. Vida is life. Loca is crazy.
Dan's bringing culture.
Shut up, white boy.
All right, let me ask you real quick, Derek. What's your top 3 for this year? That as of right now, as of today, I know it might change in the future, but what is your top 3 right now
for
2022?
It's Elden Ring, then God of War, and then Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Daniel, what's yours?
So
So you have a top 3, but maybe beyond that you don't have.
yeah, it would probably be God of War, and then Horizon, and then and probably Diofield.
Sony Pony.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
Sure.
I thought Sifu would have been up there for some reason. I don't know why I thought that.
Maybe like
Jeff.
4th or 5th, yeah.
Oh, okay. Jeff, what's your top 3 this year?
God of War, Neon White, Horizon.
And Kyle, what's your top 3 this year?
Xenoblade, God of War, Horizon.
All right, and
And
mine
we all
is
were represented. We're all
mine
good.
is Elden Ring, God of War, Plague Tale. So if I hadn't heard our whole conversation and I just heard those top 3s and saw this list, I'd be like, yeah, that's probably about right. Like just based on that alone. So I just wanted to make sure we weren't leaving someone out in the cold, feeling horrible about everything. But whatever.
I mean,
I feel so cold.
they'll get
So
over it.
here's, I believe we've landed on our top 10 of 2022. Another reason why I'm kind of like, oh, this is kind of sad because I like doing these, and now I think this one's over. Crap, that's too bad. I think we're done.
We'll just do another random top 10. Well, next week we can do top 10 for 2023 so far.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
sounds
we can do, yeah, right.
Let's do top 10 games
best
that Derek
redheads. Number
didn't
1,
play enough.
Aloy. Number 2.
Top 10 games that Derek didn't play enough and yet made a definitive statement about. We'll do
Yeah.
a top 10 of those.
I have
Now,
no problem.
Number
saying
1,
it.
Neon.
Yeah.
So Sonic Frontiers has a song called Undefeatable, and yet we're letting it be defeated. I think
Oh,
we
it got defeated pretty badly.
need to reorganize this entire list. I mean,
I would have never slept if that movie made a top 10.
Well, at, well, at
game,
number
rather, excuse me.
at number
Never slept.
10, we've got the Diofield Chronicle. At number 9, Marvel's Midnight Suns. Number 8, Gotham Knights. Number 7 is Neon White. Number 6,
Overrated
Sifu.
trash.
Wow.
Oh, Sifu's overrated trash. That's mean.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
it
can
is.
play
It's super
that.
overrated.
Number
All the
5.
3 people who worked on it.
Number 5 is Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Number
How do you
4, A
exist?
Plague Tale Requiem. Number
Like-
3, Horizon Forbidden West. Number 2, Elden Ring. Number 1, God of War Ragnarok.
there we go.
Good year, everybody. Good job.
It was
The
okay.
adult.
I feel like this is the worst year of gaming ever, for sure.
Yeah.
There's absolutely nothing positive to
I
sing
feel
about.
like no one got to play anything, and it was just a bad year, you know?
That was
All right, guys,
honestly
I
like
think
pulling teeth. So
That is another joke that we're gonna have to let go.
But
I
that
think
dies with 2022?
it dies.
No,
It dies.
if we're gonna kill everything, we're not even gonna be able to say anything funny at all.
I've never been funny.
We're
so
killing
it's
too
changes for me.
I just like telling people they can't say things anymore. I just think that's fun to be like.
So
Oh,
we have to
hey,
be original. I mean,
as far as my predictions go,
yeah. What'd you predict?
I haven't opened this since apparently I did this on New Year's Eve. Number 10 I had is Sifu. I had number 9 Neon White. I had number 8 Midnight Suns. Number 7 Gotham Knights. Number 6 The Quarry. That's the only one that didn't make it.
Wow.
Number
It
5
almost did though.
Yeah, number 5 Xenoblade. Number 4 Plague Tale. Number 3 Horizon. Number 2 Elden Ring. Number 1 God of War Ragnarok.
Dude, you nailed it. Top
You made the
5.
top 5, yeah.
That was fun.
This is actually the top 5 that I saw in my head after our last couple of episodes. I was like, I think this is where it's gonna land.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
It did end up
definitely.
landing where I thought. But there you
I
go.
wasn't sure how hard people were going to fight for a Plague Tale. I'm glad y'all, because I remember being there and all of y'all loving it so much, and if suddenly it was going to be like 6 or 7 talk, I would have been like, you guys, as the person who
guys
was
are
literally
faking
the
it out,
fly on the
faking us.
wall, like let me remind you, y'all loved that game. So for
Yeah.
whatever reason in my head, I thought y'all were like not going to show up for that game. So I'm glad that y'all.
We're here for it. We're here for
Yeah.
Amicia
Yeah.
and Hugo the whole way.
Somebody's
Um,
got to be that poor kid.
For real. For real. All right.
God's sakes.
Oh, and before we go, should I
Come
just
on,
go ahead and announce that Kyle and I and everybody, anybody else is welcome to join.
Are a
that's
couple.
here. Are
That's right. Yeah.
we're making
Coming
long
out of the
distance work,
closet.
man. We really are.
Yeah.
We're gonna try to get together next week and do the first episode of Current Cinema, which is a spinoff of this pod.
Yeah.
We're going to be
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about all of the most pretentious movies on the planet that I don't feel like I could talk about here.
I
without
can't
Dave
wait to talk about The Fableman, which I really don't want to watch. So.
You sound very excited.
Oh, man.
Hold on. Can I? Let's see.
You should watch War
I would
Horse.
actually really like that movie, probably.
You
but
probably
I
would.
It,
Yeah,
it felt like an easy
Especially
go.
David Lynch in it. His part's amazing.
Yeah, that's why I'm
There we
here
go,
for it.
right?
Look
There
at
we
that.
go.
Yeah.
That's the logo.
Although,
that
I
is
don't know
the
why it's
logo.
showing white. I don't know why it's showing white there, but
The
probably a-
White ain't
Because you're
right.
racist.
White ain't right.
I think you did a background-free version
It's
of
like
it.
a transparent
It's like-
background,
Yeah,
so it'll fill in with white.
Racist.
but yeah, it's
Racist.
Dan made that after saying that his friend, his very talented friend, made the current gen one. He was like, "I'll just try to make a current cinema one," and he freaking nailed it. So good job.
yeah,
I
he's
like
a very
it.
busy dude, and I
Right.
just like kind of kept forgetting to reach out to him. So
I mean, you
That's
nailed it
awesome.
with what you got. So I mean,
Right.
No, he doesn't like you anymore, Dan. That's
and
the
you're
real
fired.
answer.
Yeah.
it's literally
Yeah.
best friends, but that's fine.
New year, new me.
Yeah, you're fired, by the way. Dan.
Okay,
All right, guys. Next week we'll be
Okay,
back.
Trump.
Back
you fight.
to a normal episodes, most likely normal length episodes too. We've been going over 3 hours, but that's to be expected with these conversations. So we'll get back to just under 3 hours.
I was
Next
gonna
week.
say,
Wow,
so
a
2 hours
huge
and 45
change
minutes.
of 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Oh, here's a great thing about the current cinema podcast. It's going to be an hour long.
Yeah.
Welcome back
We'll
to
see.
the hour-long podcast.
Yeah,
We'll
we'll
see.
see if that actually
Yeah,
happens.
we'll
Yeah.
see.
Go look at the show notes.
Who's there
Let me-
keeping you
let
and
me
I in
ask-
check on that?
Go look at
Are
the
we
show
gonna-
notes. It's so short.
Are we gonna cut? Are we gonna cut from our show like cinema and movies and
No.
shows?
No. What we're doing over there, what Jeff has said, because this is all his baby. I'm just there because we like talking movies. It's really specific movies, deep
Okay.
dives type of thing. Whereas like being able to check in with like TV shows and movies that we're watching every week, like that's a current.
Well,
thing.
I was just thinking. Oh, okay. Like
Yeah.
to cut the shows down. Got it.
All right. Well, that does it for our Game of the Year debates from 2022. Thank you guys for listening and watching. Thank you guys for participating. This was long, so it's time to go and take a break, pee break, whatever you got to do.
I'm gonna go play Neon Light or whatever it's called.
In 2 weeks, if you end up loving that game, just keep it
I
to
hope-
yourself.
I hope
Don't
I
tell
do.
us.
I hope I
To
do.
yourself.
I wouldn't be able to handle. I wouldn't be able to handle that.
I
Just
actually really
don't
like
tell-
that game.
don't
Shut
tell
up,
me.
Derek.
Shut up. You're not allowed.
Actually, my favorite game of the year. Fuck Elden Ring.
Could you give me remote access to your computer so I can uninstall it for you? Thank you.
Oh man. All right. And on that lovely note, see, we get along, everybody. We get along great.
I said I wanted to fight with somebody, so I'm glad we did.
I'm glad.
did.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad it was who I thought it would be. Me.
Of course. Of course.
I mean, I was told I was fired like 37 times by the schmuck over here.
Well, yeah,
Who
there's
thinks
the
we're getting
long
paid?
war and then there's the short war. You know.
I mean, at this point, that's just pillow talk between you two. I mean, he's fired you so many
Pillow talk.
times.
True. It's true.
I know, and you're still here.
All right.
You
See
don't
you guys.
listen.
Peace.